speaking too much. Yeah, everybody cope different. Yeah. Maybe I'm doing too much, but I don't give a fuck. Ice in my cup, whole gang in the cut. What the fuck? Ice in my blood, whole thing in the blood. Going up, shawty blow me up, bringing on my phone, pick me up, pull up on me now. I'm way too driving drunk. I'ma take another trip and I'll be alright. I'm just trying to keep my shit together. I've been just doing whatever I think will make me feel better. Yeah, this shit keep me up all night. Yeah, have another one and I'll be alright. Probably be up until the sunrise. Hate the way I'm feeling, but it's alright. Another round, I'll be out of my mind. I smoke this thing to get me out of my mind. I swear this shit has got me out of my mind. Better be showing me love. That's all I need from you, baby. Yeah, show me love. Freezing in the summer. The season been changing you. Stay cool. Cover bits of my hate on you. Cause nobody hates you. She want that pay-per-view. I gotta get paid too. Make sure you're straight too. Show me your love. Keep it on fire. I don't need nothing else. Baby, you're something else. Treating me like I'm someone else. I know you know way better, baby. You can't find no better. That's why I settle. Bad bitch, she belong in a kennel, average. Put that shit on a pedestal. Ride like a bike, she pedaling. Eh. She need to take it like medicine. I ain't no average pedestrian, so I let you know that I'm better than. You know you can't find no better, no. I'ma go autopilot on that bitch. They sliding on that bitch, gliding on that bitch. Better be showing me love. That's all I need from you, baby. Yeah, show me love.
We are back, baby. Better than ever. Kind of. What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of State of the Election. I have missed doing this so much, but it's been a kind of crazy last couple weeks for me. I haven't really been able to stream much or kind of plan it out as I'd like to, but we are here. We are back, and I'm excited, man. I'm excited. Bob, how are you doing, brother?
I am doing excellent, man. Yeah, we're back after a little bit of a break here. Lots and lots and lots of stuff that has been going on in the political sphere.
I get a job for 2 weeks, and sons of bitches go crazy in the political sphere. Go figure. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I mean, we're 9 days out. I mean, it's it's getting down to the wire here. So yeah, everybody's we're pulling out all the stops here. We're going full force
Absolutely.
into election night.
Absolutely. Well, with that, before we get started, just a couple of kind of house cleanup stuff. We go through. First of all, if you're watching, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Talk to us about a friend. We try to be as civil as we can and come from different sides of the aisle. We want to be a show for everybody. If you're a Trump supporter, if you're a Kamala supporter, if you're in the middle, we want this to be kind of a space where anybody can come, no matter your political ideals or stance. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. We are not going to be on X this week. We'll be back on X next week. But yeah, share us with some friends. Get in the chat below because today is going to be a fun one. And I look forward to seeing some of your guys' thoughts in the chat, as always. Another thing also, I do have a short film that just released about 2 weeks ago, or about a week and a half ago. A small little short film called Stab, based on the Scream film universe. So if you're a horror fan, it is spooky season, and you got 15 minutes. I highly, highly suggest that you check that out. We just surpassed 2,000 views on YouTube, so help us get a few more, and let us know what you think in the comments of that. And then, big news, election night, baby. We're live.
Oh yeah.
We are live. I am so excited. We may even have a couple guests, have a couple other people to commentate
Ooh.
and spread us out like a little bit. But I will be that night having a little bit of on the rocks and enjoying myself as we see where the hell this thing is going to take us. This could end in one night, or it could take us for weeks afterwards. So
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy, man. I mean, I don't know how much validity there is to these, but I've already seen a couple stories come out that it may take some certain areas longer to count votes than others, and we may not find out results for days.
oh
That's a little
god,
wacky to me because I don't know how we've been able to do this
right.
for the last however many 100 years, and get it done in one night. Um,
I think I mean it's a very weird thing with COVID. Right, the big thing was the vote should have been counted before uh,
sure.
election day. Right, that's one of the things why it took so long. And
Yeah.
um,
We shouldn't. I don't think we should still be employing these COVID standards
no,
today,
no,
since we're beyond that. I think we
we
need
shouldn't.
to.
But the fact is, a lot of people kind of I think got used to that like voting from home type thing. Sending
Yeah.
in your ballots and all that type of stuff. And so I think you're all going to see a big turnout from at home ballots and those types of things
Sure.
because
Well, even
that kind
early
of got
voting, there's
look
been good turnouts on
anyway.
both sides right now, so it's good because I mean,
Exactly. And
when you
any
go
way you
to
can simplify anything, people are going to go for it. The regular
yes,
general people, they're absolutely. If I can vote from home without ever having to leave. Fuck yeah. If you're not thinking too much about it, yeah, that's a very attractive. You know.
well, I get that. I definitely get that part of it. I just think though, in terms of in terms of making everything as un uncontested as possible. I think we got to come up with some sort of like system across the board here that just I don't know, that can get us back to where we were pre-COVID, when we used to be able to tell you who won the election that night instead of days after, because that's
Right.
just and I
And
think
even if we
that's
didn't have all the counts, it was kind of like, well, we know, right? We
we
can.
had an yeah we had
Right.
enough to make the determination that whatever this candidate was going to receive the 270 they needed in electorals to
Right.
win.
Right.
um and with everything that's going on now, and with how there's such division between the parties, I think that only when you have these type if and if you have these type of delays, this is what lends itself to people shouting out, "Hey, there's some
Sure.
bullshit going on here," and then that's going to lead to a lot of infighting, and then more people are going to be, stuck on that than what is actually going on with the election here. I mean, so I don't know. At some point, we got to get back to just being able to do it in one night, counting the tabs, or make everything paper. You want to vote from home, fine, but I don't know if we'd be better off with paper over electronic or what here. But at some point in time, we got to figure this stuff out. But for
Yeah.
right now, um, as far as I've seen, a lot of the early voting turnouts have been really good on both
Hmm.
sides. So
Yes.
that is really good, because back in 2020, when we had the election and they were doing the early voting with the pandemic going on, um, I think a big key mistake that Trump made in that election was kind of discouraging the Republican Party from early voting. Um,
It's weird. He kind of does it
in the
both. He
mail-in
goes,
ballots, like he
don't
didn't
do
like to
it,
use
but
mail-in
then he
ballots.
goes, right, but
Well,
then right,
now he knows that if this is going to be the system, you need to do these things in order to, you know what I mean, to curb a lot of people who might not, like you said, who might not want to leave the house.
right.
And this is a way to do that. So good on him for this time actually embracing it, whether he likes it or not, which I'm fairly certain he absolutely doesn't.
Yeah.
But
Again, you
he's at least
simplify any.
embracing it
This is
though.
like literally anything. It's not even just with like you simplify anything like that. People are gonna absolutely. I saw this thing like on fucking Amazon, right? That's like a bread slicer, type thing for the crust or whatever. I'm like, you can take a fucking knife and just right.
Oh,
But anything
absolutely.
that like that with that attract, it just that you once you get it in the mind of somebody, like, oh, that's a simpler. way of doing it.
True, but I see the problem in depending on the U.S. Postal Service for anything. Not to mention today, I believe we had 2 outdoor ballot boxes that were set on fire.
Yes, I did see that.
Um, so
That's wild.
like,
That's wild.
yeah, like this is what I mean when with stuff like that.
Well, that's the thing too. They shouldn't be having like ballot boxes in the middle of anywhere. They
Not
should have
unaccompanied ones. Yeah, no,
right.
that is just
You should.
whoever thought
They
of that
should.
is
If
dumb.
being honest, they should be probably at the location where everybody's going to vote. You can go drop it off, and it's got
Yeah,
supervision and all these types of things.
yes.
They shouldn't be just like
And this goes along to I think with like the voter ID stuff. I don't see that as a problem. If you have an ID, you can vote. Mostly everybody has an ID. I
right.
don't know anybody in my life without one. And to hear, especially coming from Democrat people, especially Kamala and her side, where they're talking about, well, it's harder for people in rural areas. There's no Kinkos down the road for them to make. What are you talking about?
There is, so it's kind of weird. It's exaggerated. I'll give you that. It's
Yeah,
absolutely exaggerated.
yeah. Is like
It is
Billy
an
Bob
issue.
in the backwoods got a
It
way
is,
to do it?
well, look,
Probably not, but
it
was
is
he
an issue,
voting
yeah,
anyways?
where, okay, right, somebody loses their ID, they got to go pay for it, they got to go get it. Like, yes, it's over exaggerated, but it is still an issue. I think the very easy solution is there should be no, unless you're fucking losing your ID every week, and that type of stuff.
That's
There should
okay.
be there should be absolutely no charge for you to go to the DMV and get a free identification card with proof
A
of
voter ID,
address
yeah, just
and
a
proof
voter
of
ID,
right.
absolutely.
Yeah, any type of. I mean, they have. Yeah, like I said, it's what do they call it now? The real ID, right? If it's not,
Something like that, or even
it's
something that,
it's literally just you've proved that you live in a certain place,
yes,
and all that type of stuff, and here's an ID to. So as long,
strictly
but
just
even
to vote, yeah.
at the same time too, right? Okay, well, what does that mean for homeless people or for somebody that's kind of going from place to place or doing, so there are
There,
circumstances that need to be
sure,
looked at and kind of
absolutely.
we got to find some sort of way to I think for the most part there should be absolutely no charge for going and getting
No,
identification with the right.
absolutely. I agree that. I agree with that. 100%.
Yeah,
There, yeah, and I think that would just I mean anything we can do to curb anybody having any notion that somebody's tampering or getting
sure,
involved with or setting ballot boxes on fucking fire or stuff like that, which is just outlandish and crazy for whoever the fucking idiot is that's doing this. Um,
absolutely,
but again, I also blame the whoever's in charge of putting these ballot boxes out there for just leaving ballot boxes that can be tampered with out in the open.
sure,
You
yeah,
just
yeah, agreed.
you're inviting
Yeah,
some
I don't know what the
idiot,
thought is behind that. I mean, like I said, they should be at probably the locations where you can go and
some
vote in person.
yes,
In that way, there's supervision around and all these types of things.
yes, yeah, because you
I
just
know
can't have
here
somebody
in
standing outside for hours watching a
right
ballot box. That's
here in
dumb.
Vegas, right, they do a lot of voting, especially like on election day, happens at schools, like at actual like
Yes, you have to go
high
to a
school.
school
So
or a church
right,
or something around here. A lot of our churches do our voting stations.
right, you put one of those in front. Yeah, nobody's gonna go fuck with that in front of a church because a church or a school these have constant security, constant cameras, all these types of things.
Something, yes.
But you leave it on the fucking sidewalk in the middle of nowhere.
That's what I mean.
Like
You're inviting
yeah,
bad shit to happen. And again,
absolutely,
like you know, no matter I think no matter the outcome of this election, one of the either I firmly believe here that either side, whichever side loses, is going to scream a foul.
sure.
I really do. No matter who it is,
Mm,
I honestly do.
okay,
I
but
think
here's my thing. I think you may be right. But even like okay, right? Because Hillary Clinton screamed foul too, to a certain extent. She
yeah.
didn't take it to court. She
Well,
didn't do all this. She didn't do,
no,
It's
no.
sure one side or both sides might scream foul, but one side will absolutely do more than the other. Because
I don't think so here.
even
I
with
think this is
Hillary,
going to be. I th-
her whole thing was since I won, the general election. But we have a democracy, we have a constitution, we have these things in place. It was a peaceful transfer. It was she submitted that night. Conceded that night. I lost and blah 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 and all these. So yes,
Absolutely.
you are
The
correct on
only
that.
problem is they spent the next 4 years calling him illegitimate, saying that Russia interfered in our elections,
Right.
that made him to be. So
That was
they
that was
spent
proven.
4 years, as compared to one day of people getting unrestly and unruly and breaking into the Capitol, and then him just leaving office like he was
4
supposed to.
years. Okay, well, hold on. 4 years of a
4 years.
democratic process of going like you said, they went through and they said,
Impeachments and
there was
lawsuits,
there
and
was no evidence of the Russian stuff. So
there's no
again,
evidence of
yes,
anything. They accused him of for the first 4 years.
drawn out and stuff, absolutely, but democratic. That's our process.
It's not democratic to make up lies to try and get your
to make up misinformation.
Yeah, when you're saying that Russians are interfering in our election, and you know that blatantly to not be true, when you have the FBI spy on a political opponent's campaign, that is not democracy. That by no means is democracy. This isn't
At the end of the day,
this isn't Joe Blow on Twitter, like the guy who said Tim
day,
Walz was molesting kids on Twitter. It's
why
not
is
like
it not
that.
democracy when at the end of the day he was proven innocent?
Because of the fact that they literally his entire presidency was marred by that. That's why
it was marred by. I mean,
yes, literally everybody was. He's a Russian plant. He's a Russian plant. We got a Steele dossier. We got this. We got that. None of it happened. Hunter Biden's laptop isn't real. That's Russian disinformation.
Until it was proven wrong. And now I go against any Democrat.
That's not a democratic process, though.
Well, why not? It was Trump's democratic process to say the election was stolen, right? He caused January 6th, and he did his. And he did his.
You can't blame him for January 6th. You can blame the people for January 6th, but you can't blame him. He said peacefully. He wanted people to peacefully and respectfully protest. You can't blame him for what other people did. You can't.
Peacefully and respectfully. It's a weird. He did the same thing, going back and forth, peacefully and respectfully in one sentence, and the other. We're gonna march down this thing and take back what's ours.
Yeah, we're gonna peacefully and respectfully march to the Capitol.
The man knows what he's doing, as I said before. He knows that
he can know what he's doing, but again, you can't attribute what other people do to somebody's thought process.
He knew what those other people were going to do, so absolutely,
there's no way to know.
So he was so dumb that he thought that if I say this, people are going to actually go for it 100% and listen to me.
No, why would wait? Again, you guys can't have it both ways. You can't say that what he says, he knew that they were going to riot, but at the same time start screaming, well, why didn't he say anything to stop them from rioting? So if they weren't going to listen to him before, what makes you think they'd listen to him now? That's what I'm saying.
Why did he say come down to the Capitol in the first place?
Because every time he held a speech, that's what he did afterwards. We're going to march down to the Capitol. He would walk from wherever he was holding a speech to the Capitol with all his supporters. Every single time.
What do you expect when you keep calling for this and doing this on a set a specific date and do all that? What do you expect? Again, I don't think he's stupid. He knew exactly what was going to happen. He knew exactly. Yeah, some people are going to fucking go and do all this. And you know what? That's kind of what I want. That's kind of what I want.
Okay.
A little. Like I think that's.
Then would you say Kamala and Biden knew what they were doing when they left the borders open? When they repealed 96 of
no, I think it was stupid.
Executive orders.
I think it was pure revenge. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with that. It was purely out of revenge. I don't agree with this whole revenge tactic on what one person did in president before. Like Biden did it. Trump is claiming he's going to do it. Trump did it in 2016.
Trump wants to put back everything that he took off. So I guess that's actually I wouldn't call that revenge. I would call that just installing what worked the first time.
No, at the same time, it's going farther than that too. And now I'm going to put away anybody who's claiming this or doing that. And I mean, he had a whole cease and desist tweet about
that he doesn't want people to fuck with the elections. Now I don't disagree with that. And if you do, there should be a penalty.
So then where's his penalty?
Hey, this rule's put in place now. I'm sorry, it wasn't going on until 2020.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying I tweeted.
I
literally quote tweeted that where I was like, okay, sure, I'm all for penalties and all that. Where's yours when you were on the phone going, find me 10,000 votes, find me this, get me this is and claiming for up until literally today, this man still believes that the election I wouldn't even say he believes it. I think he 100% knows he lost that fucking election. just like we saw in that Apprentice movie. You don't fucking say no. You don't concede. You don't
But
do.
he ha-
You hold that down until your dying fucking breath.
But he
And
has
he is
conceded. He's conceded the point. He says,
when.
he listen in the same breath and in the same sentence, even in the Joe Rogan interview, he said, I lost, but I won, but I lost by a small margin, but I
So
won.
he thinks again. That tells you right there. He
Yep.
knows he fucking lost. He won't say it because he cannot. As soon as he says it, all of his voters, all of these, they have nothing to fucking stand on anymore. Because your president said it. He said I lost. So he already knows. Like we're in this.
Yeah,
I
but he
didn't
lost,
lose
but he
thing.
didn't.
Even
That's
Joe
the main
Rogan
thing.
laughed in his face and was like, "No, okay, dude." Like
He didn't
so
laugh at his face. He laughed at what he was telling him.
he
He wasn't
laughed, dude.
laughing at. No,
He
did
sat
not.
there and was like, as
He
soon as
did
he said
not. A
he said I
3-second
lost,
clip of
but
Joe Rogan
he said
laughing.
I lost, but I won, and
Yeah,
Joe goes, like he fucking
he laughs because it's funny.
because even Joe knows, and Joe has said many a times, yeah, he lost that fucking election. Sorry, Joe.
Joe also said he'd never have him on. So
That is true. That
opinions
is true.
change sometimes. Opinions change
His
sometimes.
opinion hasn't changed on that. He's still been pretty clear about
Eh,
that.
Hey,
Joe has
listen,
said he still
time will
thinks that
tell.
Trump lost that election.
Trump said he had books on how he won. So maybe we'll get those
Right.
released. Hey, you don't know.
Before we even get into this, you know what? Before we go any further with this, let's just talk about this for a bit. You and I and a few others a couple weeks ago decided to sit down and watch this film, The Apprentice.
Yes, we did.
Um,
Yes,
which,
Sebastian Stan.
yes, it stars Sebastian Stan as Donald Trump, Jeremy Strong as Roy Cohen. I
Yep.
can't pronounce the chick, but the chick from Borat plays Trump's first wife.
Ivanka.
Yeah, and so obviously, of course, a lot of
Ivanka,
curiosity.
whatever her name is. I
Whatever it
always
is.
mess it up.
But of course, between me and Bob, there was a lot of curiosity for this film and stuff.
Absolutely.
And so one early, I think it was literally 4 a.m. my time. So it was like 7 or 8 for you. It was normal time for
Yes.
you, weird time for me. And everybody was like, I think I'm going to watch that Apprentice film. And I was just like, let's all get in fucking stream and watch it together. And so we did at 4 a.m. in the morning.
And it was
Curious your thoughts on the film and kind of did it change anything on your perspective of Donald? Did it?
No. Here, so the way, and I've seen a lot of people going back and forth as far as like reviews of it and saying, it was either um,
Too
nothing they
much
didn't.
or not enough or
Yeah, exactly. A lot of it, but I thought it was. I liked the way it was shot. I thought Sebastian Stan was like so good,
on
like
point.
really so good. I like if he got a nomination
I
for
wouldn't
this
be mad.
performance, not at all,
I would
because
not be mad.
he I didn't think it was a good casting at first, just because he's so good looking and such.
True.
I wouldn't, but I guess he kind of has like that early '80s Trump look, which is where this film is kind of set in between like the late '70s to like mid to late '80s, going into the '90s before it ends. But
Right.
overall, I really enjoyed the film. I did think it was going to be.
More
I
of a
thought
hit
personally it
piece.
was not really a hippies, but just like I guess I was thinking that the story would be more of all this stuff happening, but from like his POV to the point where like the story itself would have over exaggerated parts or stuff like how he would tell it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was kind of hoping for, because to me that would just be pure comedy gold. As like the entire movie just keeps getting crazier and crazier as you go along because he's telling the story of his life. But overall, I thought it's a decent movie. It's nothing to like write home about. But at the same time, it's not bad. Everything about it's a very competent movie. But as far as nothing in there changed my opinion on him, and I don't think many Trump voters would watch that and be like, oh
Yeah.
well, that's it for me. I'm not going to vote for him. And I don't think anybody who is a Democrat would watch that and be like, oh well, I'll vote for him now. Um, you know what I mean? So it's kind of cut down the middle, where it's not taking a stance. It's just kind of
Which I like that.
So did I. I like that too
I
because
appreciated that.
yeah, it was absolutely all in fairness, I believe. But it just kind of presents this information to you, and it's kind of like a do with do with it as you may type of situation where we're
Right.
just telling you the story. How you come out thinking about it afterwards is that's up to you. They're not really telling you, well, you should do it this way, because he has some moments where there's sympathy for him. You kind of see how his explore kind of how his family life was growing up a little bit, being his dad being kind of an asshole to him and his brothers, kind of disowning the one brother because he was
Pilot.
a pilot. Wouldn't even tell his friends about him. Wouldn't even mention because he was so disappointed that he
You're
was a
an
pilot.
embarrassment.
Yeah, and just not in business or whatever. But it presents it in just a very concise way that like I said, you're able to make up your own mind. Most of it, I would say, is based on most truths and fact that everybody knows about Trump. It takes a liberty um, with a little bit of kind of
I would
verified
say
but
with
not
one
verified
scene.
information. Yeah,
With
with
one
only one
scene,
scene.
yeah,
Yeah, I
which
mean,
is yeah,
I don't know much about Roy Cohen, so from what I looked up afterwards, a lot of that was um, on par with who he was.
yeah. He
So
came
I'm
out,
not. I
or it was pretty much known. It was very, in fact, not pretty much. It was very known
Yeah.
that
So
that he would have sexual relations with other men,
yeah,
and those types of things.
yes.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I think I found a quote after. It was from Donald. Yeah, after Roy's death, where he said, "Roy was not a gay man. Okay, he just liked very strong men. Okay, and um, yeah, Roy
I
was
guess
gay.
so.
Gay AF.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
mean, I would say there might be
taking it up the ass. Gay AF. I can say
yes.
that as a gay man.
Now there might be two scenes technically that they take. It might be that scene. I don't know
Yeah,
if
that scene. Well, we don't know for sure if Trump
when
walked in
yeah,
on
yeah.
Clinton. Yes.
I'm sure he learned
But
about
it
his
was known.
sexuality.
It
Yes, but
was
it
known.
was
Yeah.
known. That just might have been the way they showed that he kind of, this is
Right.
what
Put two and two
maybe,
together. Yeah.
yeah, maybe
Figured
he
it out.
did walk in
Or
on it, maybe
even
he didn't, but
they had like even in Roy's first initial meeting with Trump, he kind of hits on him a little bit and says, "You're very
yes,
good looking,
rubs his leg,
guys." Right? Yeah. Touches
even
him and does all that.
ask
Yeah.
him if he's a gay person, but not in the most politest of terms.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Um,
So he
yeah.
kind of comes at him, yes, a little bit to see kind of where he's at, I
Where he's
think,
at. Yeah. Yeah.
to kind of give him a test to see, what he's all about. But
Am I gonna get in this guy's pants? Probably not. All
yeah,
right.
but I mean, I thought like the way it showed their relationship, the way Trump, from how this is telling it, took after him and learned from him, and not really only learned from him, but kind of, you
Became
know,
him in a weird
became
sense.
became him and surpassed him really,
Yeah.
to the point where it's the student becoming the master type of thing basically.
Yeah.
Once I was the learner, but now I am the master, like that. Like
Right.
he took what he was taught from Roy Cohen about business and how to attack business and how to work your way through the system basically, and lean on politicians, lean on people to get your shit done, and so you can ultimately win. And
Yeah.
I watch it, and everything I see in the movie, I can believe, because I can picture it in my head, and I can see Donald saying these things. I
You
can
can
see
see a
him.
lot of it in Donald today. You do. You
Yeah,
see a lot of it in Donald today.
absolutely. And you know what? I think that's and we can. I don't want to get off this. We'll get into it, but I think that that's the qualities in a weird way that a lot of people appeal to him towards, because of that kind of
I think.
ruthless
Yeah, I
fighting.
agree.
Um, you know, I hear, especially with what's been going on recently, the talk around the town here is, people saying, listen to how he talks and stuff like that. Would you want him to babysit your kids, or would you invite him over for dinner? Well, no, and probably no. But that's not what I'm hiring him for. I don't need him to be, my dinner date. Um, I need him to do this dirty job of being president and to get us back on track here. And I think with the lessons that he learned from Roy Cohen and that he was able to cultivate over decades of doing business, however he was doing it, good, bad, and different. Um, he's definitely not the worst businessman in the world. He's definitely not the greatest. Um, and I would assume everybody in that type of industry is just as ruthless and cutthroat as almost as he is anyways. He might even be he's I'm the best, there's nobody
Yeah.
worse than me. I'll cut your throat, stab your back, I don't care.
Well,
But
yeah, not everybody came from Roy Cohen. Like, I mean, look, he's a different breed. He's
yeah,
a different breed.
it did. And what's crazy is a lot of the mannerism and a lot of the way Roy Cohen spoke, you could see that Trump picked up on
Yeah,
all of that. Um
it's
and
the
what?
greatest. It's going to be the biggest. It's over
Yeah,
exaggerating things to
yeah.
get what you need and all this. That's
And
yeah,
and it's stuff that he does outline in his book later on when he writes The Art of the Deal. That this is how you have to do things if you want to be quote unquote successful in that world. And maybe that's true. Maybe not. I don't know because I have no part of that world, so I couldn't speak on that either way. Um, but just showing how he kind of evolved from where he was when he first started, when he first met Roy Cohen, as just a guy who kind of admired all these New York big shots, right? He's going into a restaurant or club or bar or whatever where he knows all these people gather, so he can basically watch them, see what they're doing, see who they're talking to, and it just so happens that he catches the attention of Roy Cohen, who asks him to come over, and that's how their friendship starts.
yeah.
And it's I don't want to say it's like a from a humble beginnings type because obviously even at that time Trump and his dad were running apartments and stuff like
He
that.
knew what. Yeah, yeah. People knew who Trump was, and
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, he was known, but he's not what he is like now. He's known now or what he ended up becoming at some point in New York or anything like that. But he was known a little bit. But to see how he comes from this this kind of just lumping around and working for my dad and to how he's just trying to get something for himself basically and do these things and just learns from this guy that the best way to do that is to just be the absolute ruthless person you can be. And
Yeah,
as the
just
movie
lie your
goes on,
way through
yeah,
it. I mean, look, I do agree with Cole here. Where he said it's sad that people aren't going to watch a film because they think it's a hit piece or they think they know everything and stuff. There's some really good storytelling that goes on and stuff. I do agree. Like, I wouldn't say it makes Trump sympathetic, but you understand where he comes from and you understand why he is the person that he is. Um,
I mean, I think
he doesn't
there's a
have a
few
lot
scenes I
of.
think people can sympathize him with. I think especially the scene between him
Sure,
and his dad
you
at
can
Trump Tower.
sympathize with him, during the scenes, but overall, he's his own monster. He created I think that's the thing. Like, it's not a sympathetic thing because by the end of it, you're not fucking sympathizing with him at
Well,
all. This
no,
guy's a
no, not
fucking
by the end. But I mean,
but
it's
you
the stuff in the
understand,
middle that
and sure,
yeah.
the dude had a tough father, and
Well, not just that, but I think it's the loss of that humanity that you're seeing, and there's parts that he himself, as the film is depicting, that he's struggling with, um, because he's trying to create this brand and this persona, um, but there's still like life things going on, especially in his
well,
life.
it shows a man. If I'm being honest, I thought about this back then. I kind of wrote it down. It shows a man with absolutely no foundation. He has no foundation to stand on, and if he does, it's made of sand. It's going to be wiped away really
Mm,
quickly. He will go with whatever he needs to go with uh, to to get what he wants, and that's it's a man with no foundation. It's kind of weird. I'm not a very spiritual person or any of this, but I immediately thought back to that Bible verse of Jesus talking about like a man with sand as your foundation for a house. It's going to get washed away. It's not going to be able to withstand any sort of pushback or any sort of this or that. He doesn't have a moral code. His moral code is go with what gets me to the top. and that was taught to him by Roy Cohen. Like you said, there are moments in there where he goes, I don't know, and then it's very easily pushed over. Um, you know, and
Well,
any
sure,
a
but
man of that type of stature for me with no solid foundation to stand on, a wishy-washy, just kind of whatever works for me or what gets the vote. That's not a person that really knows what they're doing. It's a person that continues to have to, and his Trump's legacy has shown that he's not been able to hold a solid business for years and years, or successful business. He's gone bankrupt several times. He's had to, bail out with all the he's not,
sure, but
like you
that's
said, the best businessman
yeah,
that he likes to that.
but you can't make it sound mutually exclusive to him. It's not.
It's not mutual. No, no, no. Sure,
No,
there are others,
it's not.
but
He
at
still
the
is
same
one of the
time, there are
richest
others that
people in the
follow.
world. So he
Sure,
might have
not
had
to
65 bankruptcies or whatever it is, but like he's done some things right. Some things have worked. He's been able to make money in the business sector, and that's what that's about. That's because again,
to
at
a
that
to
point,
a certain extent. I mean, TV saved him a lot, becoming a TV celebrity with Celebrity Apprentice and all that.
sure,
I mean,
but that
so
show didn't run 12 years because he needed it to. It ran 12 years because they wanted him because he was a ratings hog. They even wanted him to still go when he was considering running for president, according to himself, anyways.
yeah, no, absolutely, it was a successful show and everything. But at the same time, the creator of that show, and main producer, said we only helped fuel what Trump is because a lot of it was stage stuff, and it looks at it. He said Trump's office doesn't fucking look like that. It was a fucking set and all these other things, and so
Well,
they
sure,
employed him. That's
sure, it's a
the thing.
TV show. It's entertainment.
Yeah, absolutely. But he's saying I felt bad because I fed into all of that, not knowing
Yeah,
what it was going to lead to.
that sounds like
Uh,
a guy still trying to get a producing job in Hollywood to me, if you ask me.
he's doing just fine. He's doing just fine.
Because he said the right things apparently.
No, his
If he would have said it in a way of yes, I helped Trump become the president of the United States and I'm proud of that, I guarantee you the only thing he'd be producing is YouTube shorts.
no. I mean, he could probably be doing just fine too if he was a Trump supporter.
Now come on
There,
now.
people like
Seriously?
why not? There are plenty of Trump supporters that are doing just fine. Dennis Quaid
Who?
and all these others.
Wait a minute, wait. No, because last time we've had conversations, you said people like him, Dennis Quaid, Zachary Levy, well, of course they're Trump supporters. They got no career.
I never said that. Dennis Quaid. I said Dennis Quaid has no career.
Didn't you? I believe we had this conversation
I
about,
never
especially
said no.
when Levy jumped over.
I take that back. Now Levy doesn't really have a career, if we're being honest. Like
Well,
he
no,
had,
he made
he
that
had
fucking Purple
Shazam.
Crayon movie.
Yeah, exactly. And then but Quaid, no, Quaid and some of the others, no, not it. But Levy's also kind of in a different category where, to me, Levy just seems like a very bitter person, a
Do you think
very,
he's? Do you
very,
think he
very,
believes
very
in any
bitter
of this, or
person.
do you think he's just trying to
Bel-
ride? I don't know what kind of wave, but
I know. I think he does. I think he absolutely does believe a
you think
lot of it.
he holds like
Absolutely,
some right leaning and conservative
absolutely,
like viewpoints?
absolutely, absolutely. At the same time, if you notice, ever since Shazam didn't blow up or become a big hit,
Well,
he's been
yeah,
a very bitter person. And so he's bitter towards Hollywood. He's bitter toward he keeps saying this. Like he did a whole video the other day where Hollywood's not going to be here. And, why did you Trump supporters come out? Because it's not like we're going to be here in a few. Like, what are you talking about, dude? Like and
Well,
he complained about
that's what I mean. Do you think?
it's a not conservative town and stuff. You really think Chris Pratt is voting Kamala Harris? Some of these other really big actors. At the same time, it's not an actor's fucking
No,
job
no,
to come
true.
out and
No,
tell
no.
you who you're voting for. I don't
Now,
mind if you do. I know there are some people that
sure.
go like, I don't want to hear it. I don't mind if you do, but it's not your job.
Now here's where I agree with
Like
you because I think that shouldn't be allowed at all. At all.
I don't what
No. If you are a celebrity of any influence,
that you shouldn't be allowed to
you shouldn't be allowed to
see.
publicly back a candidate.
I disagree with that. I do disagree with that. I think you should be able to because look, as a creator myself, right? when something is going on that I'm passionate about or that I believe in, I want to use my creativity towards that. Okay, whatever that is, whether it's a filmmaking or
Okay,
this, with me doing my like kind of stuff on Christian nationalism. I'm talking to a lot of experts
okay,
on that and those types of
sure.
things. Like, so yeah, when I'm passionate about it and those types of things, I do want to give my fucking opinion and stuff. You don't
Yeah,
have to like it or agree with me, and at the
no,
same time,
true.
I don't have to. I should not expect that I'm going to have the same audience after, or that I'm going to
No,
appeal to everyone.
understandable. But I'm talking about a level that we are not at, or most likely never going to attain.
Sure.
When you pay, especially when somebody is paid, like who just had a fake concert? Oh yeah, Beyonce. Not even a concert. When you have to pay somebody $10 million to speak on your behalf for 3 minutes, that should not be. That's what I mean. Like stuff like that.
Why?
Paid it because you're buying somebody's.
Well, okay, sure. If you're
You're
paid
you're
now,
buy you're buying influence.
sure. If you're
You
paid, but
you're
like at the same time too, like a
yes.
lot of people are volunteering to. I don't, I don't think
Now
that
here's
they.
my question. It's funny to me that all these Hollywood people come out for her, especially right now, especially all the people that are kind of tied and linked to all the Diddy shit. That's what seems to be the most funniest to me, because we've heard nothing from Leo DiCaprio at all, and now all of a
He did
sudden,
come. Yeah.
that's what I mean. And now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he wants to endorse. Um, a lot of these people are kind of popping up um, and endorsing, and it's kind of weird. It just the timing of everything, and the amount of just celebrity endorsements that she keeps garnering, for really, I don't see the reason, but whatever, however they want to do it is how they want to do it. But it just, I find it a lot of funny that a lot of people that could potentially um, be involved with some nefarious acts at some after night parties,
Well, but at the same time,
seem to be wanting to just
that's a,
support total Democrats.
the
Just
FBI is already investigating all that. So that
yeah,
Kamala's got like nothing. So I mean, look, at the same time, okay, sure, you got Leo, but you also got Bryan Cranston knocking on doors here in Nevada. You think he's part of the Diddy stuff? Like, I mean,
no, I actually think he's just an idiot. To be honest,
well, there you
honestly, he is
go.
just like one of the most just white guilted fucking. Oh my
I
God,
agree.
we own
I do agree
slaves.
too. He does
Everybody
have
did, you asshole.
he
Shut
does
up.
have some extremist views that I do not agree with.
I haven't
Uh,
heard any extremist views of his. I just hear him whining all the time about white people and how bad we were
right.
200 years ago.
Yeah. He with
It's
that for
like,
me is extremist. That's already
okay,
because
okay, if that's
like
what you get, that's fine. I don't
Bill
know if I would
Maher
consider that an extreme
Bill
position,
Maher
but
confronted him on that, like on his podcast,
did
and told
he?
him straight up. Oh yeah, he told him he's like, you really don't think things are better than the 1980s or 60s or whatever,
Yeah.
and all this other stuff. And yeah, I completely agree. He takes it too far and
No,
stuff.
no. Do I think he was at a Diddy party? Probably not. I
Right.
don't think so.
That's what I'm saying. You got a bunch of people coming out. A lot of people are
But
just
there's
coming
a
out
lot
now
of
because, but there
known
is
people that were
there
at those parties that are
but
supporting this candidate, and that's a little weird to me.
there is this, and this is what I disagree with. Right, this idea of um, because you do have people that are just not saying anything or whatever, and now
Yes.
you've got this pressure from both sides.
Hmm.
Obviously, now Zachary Levi and some others, and people on the left as well, Dems on
Hmm.
the left calling for that, like, oh, if you don't say something, you're contributing, blah blah blah. No, it's not your fucking job if you're a celebrity to say anything. If you don't want to, you don't have to. That's
You
perfectly fine.
shouldn't say that if there's
If you want to, then
children and people being
that's
sexually
your
assaulted and trafficked.
free right. Say what?
Is that what are you talking about something else? I thought we were still kind of on the Diddy thing, unless I misunderstood you for a
No,
second.
no, no. I'm off the Diddy thing. I'm off.
Okay, because I was gonna
I'm
say
off
that's
this.
horrible. Why would nobody tell
No,
anybody about
no, no, no. I'm not saying that.
My bad,
I'm
my bad,
saying
my
I'm
my
saying
misunderstanding.
on the idea from both sides, this pressure on both sides that you
Yes,
need to
okay.
endorse a candidate. You
Yes.
need
I
to
okay,
endorse
yes.
somebody, or you need to
Yeah,
say something about this election
I
because,
agree.
like a bunch of people came out last night at Trump's rally saying it's the most important election of my lifetime. All these types of things, right? There's a lot of pressure Zachary Levi, and same with the Dems, right? That's why you've got Leo and all these people coming out now that there's pressure going. You have to say something, right, to be on the right side of history or whatever, blah blah blah. And so now that I think is incorrect. That can fuck off.
Yes. Yes.
If
I agree. Now that I'm on the same page with you.
Yeah, if you want to say something, and you want to give, that's your right. That's part of that First Amendment. No matter who you are, celebrity or not, blah blah blah. But the fact that there's a pressure from both sides,
Absolutely.
now that it's like you're a villain if you don't, or whatever, and all that.
Well,
that's wrong.
Saying that and being in that position, then how do you feel to segue into a little something else here? But how does that make you feel then about like the? I know the Washington Post has one.
We're segueing. We're segueing.
We have a segue.
Okay, we're segueing.
You call that human rights, China? I call it human wrongs. Kamala, Sundays on TNT.
It's a.
I have to fit it in every show, bro. I have to.
That's the best. But since you feel that way, do you think that like the Washington Post and I know there was another newspaper,
LA Times.
LA Times, yes. They both didn't endorse either candidate. They just decided not to endorse. And regardless of what the reasoning is it not okay for a newspaper to endorse or not endorse a candidate? Is that one of those things that you think that if you want to say something, sure?
Sure, yeah. I think you want to, but I think the fact is, I think with the Washington Post is the pressure is from Jeff Bezos, the owner.
That's what they're saying, and
yeah,
I kind of see that, but at the same time, I don't know if he really cares.
Well, I believe it. I believe it. Look, yeah, absolutely. Those types of people have that power and all that.
Oh yeah, they have the power. I just don't see him from his huge yacht in the middle of the ocean being like, "Hey, don't endorse anybody."
Because look, if I'm being honest, I think Bezos is absolutely for Trump, and the Washington Post is not. They said they would endorse Kamala, and so. I think what we're looking at here is this, and again, not thing I like or I'm a fan of or agree with. There's a lot of fear going on. There's fear going on in some of the news of being, what to say from the Dems or whatever from the right. It's kind of like people are not wanting to be. Now, Bill Maher made a great point in that, like, I don't think the newspapers endorsement is going to change anybody's fucking mind, right? It's a newspaper. We're kind of out of that age and all that. But it's kind of been like an American tradition, right? That these big newspapers endorse a candidate and stuff. And so the fact that they're either afraid or being pressured by, whoever to not, I think is that's not good.
Now let me ask you: would this be a story if these papers hadn't always endorsed a Democratic candidate?
Washington Post hasn't always. They've typically endorsed a Republican. They've endorsed Trump.
LA Times though has traditionally, I believe, endorsed Democrat for like the last however many elections. So I mean,
I don't know the details.
An issue? I don't know that either. I wouldn't imagine there's a right-leaning person running that. It's in Los Angeles. I would have to assume that's such a liberal newspaper.
I don't know.
It's not. I don't know, but I mean I guess that's what I'm wondering. Is it because again it's obviously nobody on the right's going to get outraged that a Democrat isn't being endorsed. So
sure.
It's the left is going to be the ones that are why aren't you doing this? Well, this is bullshit. You're yada yada. So. That's what I mean. I just don't know if would there be any care if it was the New York Times that's always endorsed a Republican and all of a sudden they're go Kamala or they don't endorse Trump or anybody.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's not that I think that like I said, it's not going to change anybody's opinion or anything. But
no, absolutely not.
What's holding them back from doing it? Because like I said, it's kind of newspaper. It's old school. Yeah, it's kind of tradition. Even here in Las Vegas, right? We have our Las Vegas Review Journal. They endorsed. In fact, they endorsed Trump twice. This year they endorsed Kamala. So it's it's weird. I don't know why that tradition happens, but maybe it's because they want to be more. Bezos literally quoted and said today that it's because he wanted it. He felt it was less bias. You know, but again, that's kind of the tradition. I don't know why you would break that after so many years of doing it. It does feel more of a personal thing than, like obviously staff and editors have said that they would endorse Kamala. The Washington Post was going to endorse Kamala. And so I do think that is a little interesting, but I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't read into that too much. I think Bezos probably does think that, like, he's trying to make it less biased.
Maybe he does, and I think isn't that supposed to be what news is an unbiased?
Well, kind of, but not really newspapers, right? Because newspapers always had editorials, always had these kind of things.
Sure, you have opinion pieces, but
yes. are
But
this
when the opinion
CNN,
becomes
this
fact,
isn't Fox News.
True,
this isn't,
okay.
MSNBC or whatever, News Nation, or any of these types of things that, like, we're claiming fact. We're not claiming editorial. Part of the reason Tucker Carlson was outed from Fox was because they were like, okay, we got a whole hour dedicated to mainly editorial stuff that he claims is fact. Maybe not the best place for this unless we say, it's that. And so, yeah.
All right. I mean, so, but I guess the issue I'm seeing is that people, Democrats feel like a non-endorsement is an endorsement for Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I mean. It goes to what you're saying with the pressure and stuff, because that's what a lot of people do. The minute, if you have any sort of Democratic affiliation, especially right now in the climate we're in, and you make a critique or say you don't like something, or you don't get on the Trump bad, Democrats or Republicans bad bandwagon, you get fucking chastised like you're a child. We could just look at the week that we were off. You have Obama out there scolding black men because they're not falling in line and voting and getting on Kamala's side. Then a week later, you have Big Mike come out and scold everybody as she does, like they're her mother for the same thing. And it goes into the fact that the Democrats right now are wondering why are we hemorrhaging male votes? Why are males not coming to us? Why are we not appealing? Why don't they like Tim Walz? That's why. It's shit like that. And it's just
well, look, and yes, I agree. She's still
because it falls in line with that pressure you're talking about. Because you're pressuring people, and I don't think that's a way to garner votes or get votes or appeal to any sort of demographic you're trying to reach.
Right. No, I agree, and yeah, that's what I'm saying. The pressure should, and it's weird. Now we're starting to see it from the right, with Zachary and Elon and a few others, like going like, "Hey, Trump supporters, if you're Trump, stop hiding, come out!" Right? The future depends on it, and all that type of stuff.
I don't need him to come out publicly. Just come out at the voting booth. You could pretend to be a liberal all you want.
Zachary Levi and even Elon and a few others said, like, Zachary was like, I know there's a bunch of Trump supporters.
There probably is.
Hollywood. Like I said, I don't doubt like someone like Chris Pratt or some of these other guys, right? Big Hollywood figures.
Is. But me personally, I don't need them to do that.
Right. Well, that's what these. But
I could care less what Zachary wants by any means.
The right is starting to call for it now, and all these types of things. Even Trump goes and says, "Like, there's a lot of people that love me. They don't talk about it. That love me, and that type of thing." Like,
no, I know because he tells them all at almost every rally especially if he's in swing states, he does this, and especially in front of Catholics, he does this, and any sort of demographic that is not.
And you are seeing
known for showing out.
People come out for him. That it took 8 years.
Well, yes,
it took 8 years.
But there's still
Zachary, Dennis Quaid, Elon. All of these guys didn't support him until now.
No, Megyn Kelly. She was not a supporter of his.
Yeah, and she
And
got
now
absolutely destroyed by Bill Maher this week. I don't know if you guys have
I
seen.
don't know if she got destroyed.
She was
No,
speechless.
she
That's how
was
bad
not
it was.
speechless. Get
She was
out. I watched that
speechless.
interview. She
She
hit
was
him back
speechless.
just as he was
How?
speechless.
How?
He tried changing the subject when she started hitting him with facts. Okay, let's get off of this and then go to something else. And then like, no, dude, no. Don't tell me she was speechless when she's
She was by the
getting
end of it.
him
She
to
was because
no.
his end of the day thing was, look, I get it. Yes, you have some worries. I have those same worries as well. But is that really going to deter you from the democracy at stake here? From what this guy says that he's going to do, what we're basing off in the past? How many advisors left? How many fucking generals? How many people are coming from his own cabinet have turned against him and said
So
like,
what?
do not like. You're going
You
like
want
yes again,
do you
and
want to know why
I'm
these
not
people
saying
are
that those are things are not to
no,
worry
it's
about. They should be
no, it's
addressed
fine.
and worried about
But do you
on the
know why
left.
all these people are
But
jumping ship? All them people that jumped ship from his campaign and that are now endorsing her. Do you know why that
sure,
is?
why?
Because they're looking for spots in her cabinet. They're looking for appointments. Why do you think
You
she's going
think she's
around?
going to give what was it?
Wait a minute. I'm sorry.
90% of his cabinet or like 80% of his cabinet that have now said, nah, do not vote for this guy. He's
The
got bad
president
intentions
the
and all these
president
types of
makes.
things.
I'm not
Like,
going to go by Trump's number that he said on Joe Rogan because I think he was off on that, but he might be right. But the
listen, Trump
president
also
has
said he appeared on The View the other day on Joe Rogan. So,
yeah. Listen, listen. Sure, that was a flub, absolutely 100%. But let me tell you this: Kamala flubs pretty much almost every interview and question she gets. This guy has been going
she's
non.
been getting better. With time,
No,
she has
no,
gotten
she has
better.
not been getting better. She's
She
not.
has.
Did you look at the Club Shay Shay podcast that she did? Go look at the
Actually, no, I
comment
haven't watched
section.
that one yet. I haven't
Go look
watched
at
that.
the you don't even have to watch it. Just look at the comment section. She's getting destroyed.
Oh, no.
Destroyed. Listen, this is where I go to see what the political climate is because Twitter's one thing, and I don't trust much of what I see on there because I get a lot of both sides on my feed from um, Democrat sides and Republican sides. But what I look at is I look at these. This is the biggest like we were talking about earlier, how since times have changed in this election now, you know, these politicians have to start getting, used to the fact that if you want to appeal to younger audiences, you have to get involved with the things that they're involved with and that interest them. And right now, the biggest thing that interests a lot of people is podcasts. Everybody listens to
Absolutely.
some podcast somewhere about something.
Absolutely.
Again, Rogan being one of the biggest. Again, Kamala went on Call Her Daddy, which
And Club
I didn't
Shay
think was
Shay,
such a great image. Club Shay Shay. So
Howard
this
Stern.
is Howard Stern, yes, which was another terrible. Fucking this lady.
Well, I'll be honest. Howard was the one that pissed me off in there, not her. I thought she did actually really well, but when Howard was going there, like, I hate when they make fun of you on SNL. What do you think? And she's like, I think it's funny. I
Yeah,
think
but
it's
he's
fine.
he's been a
It's
bitch
up to
for like
you.
a decade, and I don't know why she went on him because he's just a kiss ass, irrelevant. No, he's not what he was.
Yeah,
He's not
he's
what he
not.
was.
He's not.
If she's not asking her if
Absolutely.
she takes it up the ass, like I don't
But
care.
but I thought actually she did really well. Was kind of like pushing
Well,
back on the kiss assness of kind of
well,
like, don't make
well,
a bigger
but
deal
here,
of things than need to
sure.
be, and like,
But
I was
here's
like,
my thing
hey,
with
good
that
job.
though. That's that's purposeful because that's the feedback she's getting from her interviews. She's getting every interview she does.
Well,
Even
look,
the CNN interview she just did with Anderson Cooper, which she fucking bombed to the point where even CNN had to say on their afterward, they which are all pro her, had to say this was shit because she can't answer a direct question. The only time she does good in any sort of setting is when they're literally sucking her asshole and just silver plate handing her questions and being like, please answer this. And then she doesn't even do that. It's so infuriating how she dances around questions and then her campaign wonders
she does.
why does
Yes,
nobody care?
she
Why
does.
do
Look, okay.
it's
Again,
bad.
I agree with Bill Maher on a couple points that he made this weekend, in that like she needs to start saying these things. Why do her surrogates have to make the great points for her, but she can't say it in her interviews and those types of things? 100% agree with that.
Not only that, she still won't distance herself from Biden or distance herself from bad policy decisions. And she's been asked now at least 6 different times what you would do differently. Do you regret anything? Blah, blah, blah. When did you know about Joe Biden being cognitive or having some issues? How long? She's getting asked these questions and not answering them. And then what? And again, and then what? Well, why are we not? Why are we not blow? Why is everything so close in this race? This is why. You're not helping undecided voters by not answering
Right.
anything. And when people right now are thinking, well, the economy's shit, groceries are too high, and somebody asks you a question like, you know, inflation, stuff that cost inflation. Do you think that was a bad decision, or what could you have done better? Should you have closed the
Right.
border? Man, no, not really. I think Joe was a great guy, and I was there for a lot of the decisions. And no, I wouldn't take anything back, or I wouldn't change it. She got asked
Well,
by
again, I
freaking
think what the
oh
Dems are trying to do, and I don't know if I agree with it or not. I think what they're trying to do is separate themselves from the Republican Party of the civility. We already know Kamala disagreed with Joe on a lot of shit before she became his vice president. In the debates and all these other things, right? There was a lot of disagreement there. Um, we know there are rumors of some contention happening behind the scenes. In the
yes. Did you see
Democratic.
the New York Times lip reader
Right.
disclosing what
Well,
Joe Biden?
listen, I will tell you this: I don't believe any lip reading
Oh,
at all.
I believe
I
that.
don't believe
I could
not
buy it.
one of them.
I'm buying
And
it.
that goes for on both sides. Anything. I don't believe any of the lip reading shit. I think that
No,
is the
I'm
most
buying it.
bullshit,
They were
most
definitely talking about
bullshit
that. Nope, that was
profession
true.
that might exist.
It's true.
Um,
That was a.
the
They
fact
were
that
talking about.
Dr.
They were
Phil
talking about her.
had a professional lip reader on his phone. I was like, "Fuck you, Dr.
No,
Phil."
the New York
Um,
Times were the ones that hired a lip reader to translate
yeah,
what was going on.
it's
And
stupid.
listen, I full-heartedly believe that they were absolutely 100% talking about her and the bullshit and
I
why it's not
look.
going so well.
And if maybe they were, and look, there has been some rumors of content and stuff, but at the same time, what I'm trying to say is there's a civility, right? She's not going to come out and start bashing him and doing all this and
You don't
all
have to
the
bash
same
him.
thing that the fucking Republicans do and all that. He's still the president. She's going to respect that. She's going
Is he?
to do all that, and I mean, for now, yeah,
Is he?
until
He.
fucking
Well,
for
wait.
2 weeks,
He's goofball. No, he goes all the way till January, but he doesn't leave until January. He's got time. He's got like months
right? Well,
before
again,
they.
so he's still the
Yeah.
president until then. He's
Yeah.
still so like. And I'm sure once if she gets elected, he'll be willing to start allowing her to do her shit and blah blah blah. Like the liberating thing. I don't. But
No,
look, I do
it's
think
true,
there is
folks. It's true.
contention. I do think there is contention in the Democratic Party on that too. But I think there again, it's a civility thing where it's just like let's be civil. Let's not fucking. Because I mean, look at the
You
Republicans.
can
They're
be
always
civil.
constantly bashing each other. They're always
That's
kind of
fine.
going after one or the other, and it's like
Hey,
it's this weird thing. And I think the Dems are trying at least to move away from that. And to be honest, the Dems have moved away from a lot of the mistakes that they've made over the last since 2020. Bill Maher made a great point. Like we don't want to go back to 2020 and all this craziness and blah blah blah. And I think that's what some voters are undecided voters are afraid of with Kamala. I don't think she's there yet. I'm sorry, and I think that's the thing for some left
nowhere
voters
near.
as well. She's not extremist enough. She's not hard enough on Israel, and she's not
Well, she
big
is
enough
because she
on all
doesn't.
these.
She won't answer questions on extreme questions,
Well,
like at
no,
all.
but she's made very clear she stands with Israel. She is old school Democrat in that sense. She stands with Israel, and
I
for
don't think.
example, like
Then why are so many
younger
Jews going for Trump?
there are a lot of younger leftist voters that don't want to go for her because she has not made a clear statement of like, yeah, Palestine's in the
Because she
wrong
isn't.
and
Yeah,
blah 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 and all that
she is.
stuff. Like
Listen,
she has said multiple times, we stand with
sure.
Israel as Americans.
Her
We
and
stand
Joe
with
also
Israel.
told Netanyahu not to go into the territory and start any battles, which was the
Yeah,
territory that they killed the
and
Hamas, the same territory they killed the
and
Hamas leader in, by the way. So
and
good
Trump
way to
and
go. Because she
and
studied the math.
Netanyahu have been, doing some illegal talking behind the scenes to stop
If it was,
whatever.
believe me, if Trump was doing something illegal, there would be charges the next day, sir. I
There
don't know
would.
what.
Oh,
Are you
this
kidding
man
me?
does so much illegal shit.
If he
I
again,
mean,
then
look
how,
again. He
how can
literally
you?
said it like a day or two ago that I am talking to Netanyahu almost daily.
Yeah,
He's a
he's a pre-
fucking civilian. He has
yeah.
no business in dealing in foreign affairs like that. And it's pretty
Did he
obvious
say?
what he's talking to Netanyahu about.
You
You
don't know
really
that.
don't think he's going there saying, like, don't do anything, don't make any deals, wait until I'm in, blah, 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 blah. Like, yeah,
So
that's
what? He has
fucking
no power,
illegal.
right? He has no
That is
power. No, it's not.
illegal. Yes,
No,
it is.
it's not. He's a private
Absolutely
citizen.
it
You
is.
just said so. He's a private
Yes, he's a
citizen.
private citizen dealing with foreign affairs.
No, he's
Illegal.
not.
In that
What?
sense, absolutely. He's a
How so?
private citizen running for president in a campaign,
Mhm.
trying to deal with foreign. This isn't the first time. He did the same thing with the the border bill, telling all the fucking Republicans don't vote for it.
Because it was shit.
This is like, no, really. If it was
Yes.
such shit, then
Yes.
why did so many Republicans go with it? It was a conservative bill. It was written by a conservative. If it
About
was
five
shit,
Democrats sponsored the bill. It was a bill that was posed at the
and
beginning of this year.
who wrote it?
Who wrote? It doesn't matter who wrote it. The problem with
It
the
was
bill
a
was that
conservative. You realize too.
if
You're
conservatives
calling
wrote
it
it,
shit.
it
You're
is.
calling it shit. But
It
guess
is.
what? That is
Because it was
absolute
shit.
bullshit. Why is
It's
it
not
shit?
bullshit. I'll
How
tell
is
you why
that?
it was
How
shit.
is it
I'll
shit when
explain.
both
Calm down.
sides
I'll
for the
explain.
first time sat down
What is that?
and
It doesn't
conceded
matter
to
if
some
both sides
things?
concede it because
They
of how the
conceded
bill
to
was
some
written
things.
up.
They gave up. That's called bipartisanship. That's what
What does that mean?
democracy is.
What? No.
That's what
Okay.
this country should be.
Listen.
And Trump was the one that said, "Shut it the fuck down."
Yes, because you know what? When the bill stated that you had to allow in 5,000 border crossings before any of the emergency actions would even kick in, before they sent the 1,500 border agents to the border, before they sent any money, before they sent any sort of necessities that they needed to prevent that.
Yeah,
So
that's what
wait, no, that's
the
stupid.
Democrats got that.
Why would you want that? If we have a border crisis, why would you keep allowing almost a
Dems
million
got-
people
the
to come
Dems
into the
got
country
that. The
each month?
Republican. You realize again, this is the bipartisan. You may not like
Yes.
it. I probably disagree with some of the things
Yes,
too.
and guess what?
But
Just
at the
because
end
it's
of the day,
bipartisan doesn't mean it should go
this is-
through. That's
this
a
is-
terrible thing. So let me ask you:
Well,
if
it was
both parties
mostly
decided,
conservative.
so if there was
Besides
a,
that,
so let
it
me
was
ask you:
mostly
if there was a
conservative.
bipartisan bill that said you could own slaves again, is it good because it's bipartisan?
Okay, so you're gonna go with the extreme.
Yes, because that's what this is. This is an extreme. If you're trying
This
to
is not
say
the extreme.
it is, all they had to do was shut down the border. They didn't have to write in stipulations that allowed 5,000 illegals a day, not just one time and then it kicks in, but a day. So one day, if you could have 4,999 illegals cross the border illegally, and they can't do anything about it. The next day, 4,000, they can't do anything about it. They have to wait till it hits that day, 5,000 crossings, before they say, okay, no more. That is terrible. It did nothing. They tried. This bill has been going around for over a year. And it got shot down. Just because everybody yes, this bill was
You didn't go over
introduced.
for a year. Nope.
Yes, this bill was
Talking
introduced
about-
in
We're
March.
talking about two different bills here. That's
No.
not over a year. It was introduced this year, in the beginning of
Yes.
this year.
March. Yes, it's almost a year. We're almost at the end of this year. It's almost
It's
a
within
year.
the same year. We still got like 6 months till March.
Yes, and you know why it's dumb? Because it didn't need it to be a bill. They could have done this in 21, 22 without doing it. Doesn't make any sense.
Nobody is saying that they couldn't have. I agree.
Exactly.
A
So,
lot
which
of people
means
have said,
they
yes,
left
I
it a
agree.
problem for 2 years while saying it wasn't a
Why,
problem.
when the resolution is presented, shut it down. When you have again written by a conservative.
Doesn't matter. None of that matters. It doesn't make a bill good, though.
No, it doesn't make a bill good. But again, this isn't fucking slavery bill either, and this
No.
isn't as exaggerated as you're claiming it to be. I'm sorry.
I'm not exaggerating. That was how the bill was written.
Both got things they want. The Republicans got a lot of money that they wanted, a lot of stuff into extra security, all these other things, blah blah blah. The Dems got whatever that 5,000 thing is, and all these other things that they
That's
wanted.
not my part of it. That's still terrible. You're letting 5,000 people in
It's
who are unvetted.
a solution. At the same time, it's a solution to whatever is going on now. Like you said, we've got the open border, so we need some sort of solution.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Executive order, it shut down. That's it.
and
That was the
modify
solution.
it and do all the- I don't know that is again the exact solution either.
It is. It
I've
is.
been clear
Trump
about
had
that.
90, 96 executive orders involved with the border. Biden comes in and undoes 94 of them, and then leaves the border open for 3.5 years. Then, when she gets elected, or she gets selected, I should say, to be the nominee, now it's a border crisis. Now we're going to take care of it. Now we had a bill, but Trump killed it. Dude, you had 3.5 years. Her and Biden had 3.5 years. And this is the problem, and this is why people are jumping ship from them. Because of the fact that they lie just as much as Trump does. When you sit there for 3.5 years telling everybody there is no border crisis, there is no border crisis, there is no border crisis, everything's fine, violent crime is down, no, inflation isn't up, no, none. When you lie for 3.5 years, then come out at the end of it saying, well, I have the solution for all this. What lefties love to do is project. They really do. Because as she's been going on TV every week now saying that, well, he's just running on the solution. He's running on the problem. He doesn't have a solution. I have it. If you have the solution, why wasn't it put in place by your administration for the last 3 years? It's absolutely asinine. And when people keep hearing this shit, people get tired of it. Because you know what? As much as people care about the abortion issue, which is mostly obviously a women's issue, which is the only real demographic she's actually leading him in, as every other demographic has gone mostly on his side, and they can't figure out why. It's because of dumb shit like that. Stop lying and say, you know what? We made some mistakes. We're closing it down. End of story. Nobody gives a shit if he would have used an executive order to close it down. Nobody would have complained. Nobody. If they would have admitted we have an issue and we need to fix it now, rather than later. It's so hard for her because she's been in office. She's the vice president. She doesn't have all powers, sure. But she works with the guy she's number 2 to the guy that does. And again, she doesn't even come out and say, well, I made suggestions that he didn't use, or I did this and he didn't like it. She's saying nothing. She doesn't take responsibility, which is why people don't trust her and don't know her. She flip-flop on every policy that she's ever had or stance that she's had. And right now, go ahead.
Already, okay. Let's shut this down. The 5,000 a day thing is bullshit.
It is not bullshit. Look in the bill.
It's not in the bill. So what they would do would be a catch and release policy. Instead, immigrants who tried to cross the border illegally would be detained immediately with their asylum claims decided while they were in detention. People would be removed immediately within 15 days if they failed their asylum claim interviews. The bill does provide exceptions from detention for unaccompanied minors and families, even if they cross the border illegally between ports of entry. Those migrants would be placed under community supervision. What that looks like would be at the discretion of the Department of Homeland Security. So yeah, this whole 5,000 a day thing, no. It's a catch and release thing. It's on discretion. They have interviews within 15 days of putting in detention, to make sure that are you really here for asylum or are you whatever. If they're not, they're sent back. So and that was something that sounded off. I knew Trump had exaggerated that. I'm not seeing anywhere where it said. So where did this 5,000? So okay, the 5,000 figure comes from provisions that would shut down the border entirely if a certain threshold is hit. But those are border encounters, not crossings. As noted above, no migrants trying to enter the U.S. illegally would be allowed into the country unless they passed asylum interviews or were being held under government supervision. Under the new immigration bill, the Department of Homeland Security could close the border if too many migrants were showing up with asylum claims. Yeah. After negotiators conferred with the Border Patrol and officials of the Department of Homeland Security, they crafted the legislation to give DHS the authority to close the border if they reached a 7-day average of 4,000 or more border encounters. A 7-day average of 5,000 or more would mandate a border closure. If the number exceeded 8,500 in a single day, there would also be a mandatory. So even in a single day. So again, and not only that, the bill would give that power not to the fucking president, to the fucking DHS, the Department of Homeland Security, and Border Patrol to shut it down if there were really problems.
But there are really problems. You can't say if there were problems. There are problems.
The exaggeration here too of like this 5,000 a day would go. No, if that were the case and it hit 7 days of that, yeah, we're shutting the border down. We're doing all this.
Yes,
blah, blah, blah.
which means if people are crossing and it doesn't hit that threshold, they don't do anything. Basically, they stick with their standard bullshit, which means then people can potentially get in.
After their asylum interviews, after they're held in detention to a certain extent,
yes. And let me ask you, where are they being held? Here or where they came from?
Now that I don't know the specifics.
Chances are they're going to be held here, which again puts more of a hurt on. Okay,
but under supervision, you think you're held here, go free? Like
no, but who pays for that? Yeah, we do. We do.
Okay, yes, but at the same time, we're a country of migrants. Again,
listen,
you
can say that all you want. That's not necessarily
I'm sorry, that's
true.
part of where our taxes go is to border security and all these other things and blah blah blah. And guess what?
What?
If those people,
what did you say? Border
security and all these other things. And guess what? If those people can add to but we're also an asylum type country. Look at where we came here seeking asylum. We might have done it the wrong way by slaughtering a bunch of people, but we came here seeking asylum.
No, my people didn't come here seeking asylum. My people came here because they needed help building buildings and bridges and roads.
Americans came here.
That's what
American, whether it's you or me or whoever. Americans came here seeking asylum from the British government on its strict laws over religion and other things.
Who granted them asylum when they came here? I'm sorry, this is news to me that we came here seeking asylum.
The British the king said, "All right, go get the fuck out of my country." And honestly, he was hoping we would die.
Okay,
that's how stupid he was. He thought we would fucking die.
That's not the same as somebody.
And we ended up becoming the country that we are.
Okay, but nobody was sucking off of people's benefits back then like they are now. Like, this is the issue. We have people in this country who can't eat, who can't clothe themselves, who can't afford a house. And instead of helping them, we're helping people we really don't need to be helping. Don't need to. Just because they show up, don't mean we need to help them. I'm sorry. Sometimes you say no.
Yes, we are helping some people that we shouldn't be helping.
We're helping a lot of people that we shouldn't be helping.
We're helping a lot of people that we should be. Elon Musk was fucking one of them. He was here fucking illegally working on a visa before he should have been, and then his visa was approved. So again, we cannot say like all of these people are horrible people.
But he went through the right process.
We are letting and so are a lot of people.
Not.
So are a lot of the Haitians in fucking Oklahoma, where their bosses, their companies are coming out. Their bosses, their actual managers are going on interviews and going, "These people work harder than the people that live here and were born here."
Sure, if I could get cheap labor, I'd say that too. Who wouldn't say that?
Okay, cheap labor. At the same time, they appreciate it more, and they're able to do something with it more. They're able to live that American dream more so than our spoiled asses, who are so. Those are the facts. Like, I'm sorry. Like, yes, there are bad people. Absolutely, there are people that need to be stopped and all that. But at the same time, if we didn't have the migrants in this country contributing to our economy, working the way that they are for the most part, and this is for the most part fact, migrants who come to this country work harder than Americans who live here. That's just the facts. It's a benefit to us as a country. You really think we're gonna go out and fucking American?
Here's the thing. You're talking about people who are already like
people's lawns and doing all the hard labor. No, they're all in fucking towers with suits and all this other stuff. Like, we need kind of both. That's great. We need them. We need the others as well. And I'm sorry, Americans have gotten to a point
we don't need 20 million plus of them. I'm sorry. I know so many people in my own circle, personally, that are white and that they go,
I'm too big for McDonald's. I'm too big for fucking. They have no jobs. They have no any of this. They are too in their head. That's too much for. Whereas I know a fucking Mexican kid or a black kid or any of these others that would go like, I need the money. I'll work for it. McDonald's. I'll get a second job. I'll do this. I'll do that. I'm sorry. That mentality is not inbred into current American culture, and so we need that. We need our businessmen, our high executives, our billionaires. We need them. I'm not saying we don't need those people, but we also need our migrants and all the people that are willing to do the hard work, dirty work, the jobs that, I mean, again, who else would be fucking working at McDonald's and your favorite fast food restaurants and all these other little jobs, packing your groceries at the store, doing all these other things.
So what you're saying is, so you're claiming that's only immigrants and black people work at grocery stores, grocery stores at McDonald's, and low-paying jobs is what you're saying?
There are some Americans that have a good mentality and that are willing to work and that do those types of things.
See, here's
absolutely. But you don't see it commonly, not in today's culture. And I'm talking today's generation and culture. The Gen Z world, they ain't doing that shit.
You don't know that. You don't know that. Again,
I went to school with them.
So what?
I'm not that old.
What do you think? Like, your generation is so special because, like, you guys have lazy people? Like, no.
I'm part of the millennials. I don't claim Gen Z, so I
have lazy people in my generation as well. It's no different. It happens the same thing every year. There's always kids who don't want to work.
Not to the level of. No, I'm sorry. No, millennials do not.
Let me ask you.
Level of that. No way.
Is McDonald's screaming for help? Are they saying we need immigrants because we don't have Americans who will work? No. So
they've got workers.
Yes. It's not like we're at a job. We have more jobs than we have people. We have more people than we have fucking jobs. And inviting 20 more million to come on in and say, hey, just come on in. We'll give you this. We'll give you that. We'll give you this. When the poor guy whose just legs got blown off in Iraq can't get a fucking penny. It makes no logical sense, and it's doing more damage than it is good. I have no problem with people coming in legally, and I don't mean legally by I touched an app that gave me a date to just show up and I got flown in and dropped off at a New York fucking hotel. No.
That was legal.
Where are they now?
It was legal.
Yeah, but it's broken. It's broken.
I'm not saying that, but it was legal. You can't call them illegal.
That doesn't make it right.
We can call the other ones illegals because they actually came in. But I'm sorry, even if it was broken, they're here illegally. I may not like it. I may not disagree. I may disagree with the system and all that type of stuff. But according to the American government, to our laws, they are here legally.
No, we know that's not true. We know that's not true. Unvetted people who were just dumped in cities and states and municipalities and never to be heard from or seen from again. That's not a legal immigrant. I'm sorry. They took no test. They're not acclimated. They're not doing anything. They're just taking our shit and running away with it and running amok. And nobody. And here's the thing.
And not all of them are. But that's the thing. Not all of them are.
No, but nobody's. See, here's the problem. Nobody's talking about the ones that are doing good, that are doctors and nobody's talking about them. Nobody is. We're talking because they're not the fucking issue. They're not the issue. The ones that have.
So you're saying we can't say they're all.
You could say that most of them now that in the last 3 years, do you think they've been sending their best people over here? It is 100% true that countries have been dumping all sorts of bad people here. All sorts have been coming here. You have other countries now that are realizing that this mass immigration policy is so dumb that they're now trying to get people out of their countries because they can't handle it and because they're getting overrun. We don't need to be doing that here. We don't. So again, when we're talking about people immigrating here wrongfully and not the best people anyways, that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about the guy who took the time, who came here in a legal process, an actual legal process, through a port of entry, not because he touched an app and said, I'm an asylum seeker without any proof or anything, and just came here. There's a big difference. And that type of...
Again, I'm not saying I agree with it. Like I said, I don't agree with
exactly. I know you don't agree with it.
But at the same time, what am I to say, right?
It's not illegal because you know how long it takes you to get citizenship here?
And yeah, I know, like 5 minutes. Well, I mean, on the app, yeah, but
No. On the app, it takes 5 minutes. But when you're actually trying to legally migrate here, it's about a 10-year wait list almost
Right.
to get your citizenship.
And that's
You,
also ridiculous.
yes, but guess what? You have because you have to go through classes. You have to learn American
Yeah.
history.
It
These
takes you
people aren't
10
doing that.
years to do that?
Well, because I believe the process is just really slow.
Again, yeah, that needs to be. So,
Because again,
there's
because
an
the
issue with
backlog
our
of legal
immigration
immigrants,
process.
people try to immigrate legally, is so deep. And that's the issue because it's not fair to
Well,
those
okay.
people.
Okay,
The
so at the
doctor who
same
wants to
time,
come from India, that's not fair to him because
right,
he's been on the list for 3 years and now
or
Pedro
somebody
just gets to come over.
like Elon, right, that really contributes to our society and stuff. Like again, there needs to be some sort of update. This bill gave it
Yes.
that. It said within 15 days, you cross our border illegally, we're going to interview you, we're going to background check you, we're going to do all these things, and if we feel that you're safe to come in, you can come. You can come in, but still under supervision. You're not free to roam. You are under some that the Department of Homeland Security would come up with and plan and do all those types of things.
And
I
I
do
think
want to
that
take
just puts
what's
more stress on DHS and the border. It doesn't do
that's what the
anything to.
DA just wanted. They wanted that. They asked for that in the bill.
Yes. And exactly. And this is why I listen. They're trying to get these people over here because I firmly believe the reason a lot of this is happening, and you could call it what you want, but this is an import of voters, if you ask me. This is what the DNC is doing. They're importing voters because I feel like 2016 really showed them that they can't trust American people to make quote unquote the right decision and elect the right people. That's a 100%. And the best way to curb that is by getting people you know are going to vote for you, giving legal status to people, allowing them to vote, stuff like that. And it's just, again, a lot of things need to be done with the border. A lot of things need to be done with the immigration system itself. I just don't think this one bill was the answer because it doesn't. It doesn't. I don't think it did anything to attribute for all the people that are here illegally that need to go, and it definitely doesn't do anything about helping the
So
missing
here's what
minors
I'm.
that we can't find or have
Who's
no clue where
who?
they're at.
Which of these immigrants are voting?
Which,
Yeah,
whichever ones can get a license. If you could get a
not
license, technically, yes.
necessarily. Nope.
Yeah, you can register. That's all I needed when I had to register to vote. I
Yes, but
registered to
not if
vote,
you're an immigrant. For example, the Haitian immigrants, they have licenses and they're legally living as person. They're not allowed to vote. So I want to know who's
so
illegally voting,
let me ask you this: do you think the percentage of people,
or what
the
illegal migrants are voting? Immigrants are voting.
you can't say that none are not.
Okay, maybe not none, but
You
a
can't say it's a
percentage.
There
A
is a percent.
percentage to
I can't
change the
tell.
election.
I can't tell you what the percentage is, but it is a percentage. It's definitely not. I can tell you that it's not zero. And I think it's foolish to think that illegals don't vote in our election. I
Maybe
think
two
that
to
is that.
five.
That's still 2 to 5%, and that's 2 to 5% that's going in one direction. That's not 2 to 5% split up
And
between
what are
two
those
parties.
5% on? Are they based on mistakes? Are they based on like again? Sure, I
Well,
could see
let me
somebody.
ask you,
I could see
if
somebody in Springfield, right? One of the election people, like busyness of the day or whatever, blah blah blah, saying a Haitian going, yeah, blah blah. They have, but the law is they are not allowed to vote. They have their
sure,
IDs and identifications, obviously, to give to for whatever, but they're not allowed to vote. They don't have
they're
any
not
voting.
allowed to, but again, if they register and they have a New York State ID, and that's all they need,
Where
not
would they
just
get
be.
a New York State ID from?
What do you mean? A lot of the people, especially the people that were housed here
It's the
in New
same
York
thing
State,
in New York. They're not allowed to vote. They have ID. They have absolutely these things that
yes,
can identify them. They're not
okay,
allowed to vote.
yes, you're right. But what I'm saying is, I'm not allowed to drive over 55 on the thruway when the speed limit's posted.
Sure,
Okay, does that mean that I don't go over 55 just because it's
voting's a
telling me not
little
to?
bit different.
Not
You
really.
got you've
We
got people checking IDs at stations. You've got doing all this to do it.
not
Now,
really.
okay,
Not really. Wait,
now
we already discussed this. There's no voter
I'll
ID
give you
laws, and
I'll
this
give
is
you
why
this.
that's a problem.
There are some. Absolutely, there's some. There are some
So
voter ID laws. So yeah.
all I need to bring with me is my registration card. And my name has to match what's on the list. That is it.
Where does the registration card come from? The DMV.
Just no.
And what do
My
you prove to
registration
the
card
DMV?
comes from the government website. All you have to do, especially in New York State, is go to
Okay, well, see, here in
my.gov.
Nevada, it comes from the DMV.
Yeah, ours does not come from the DMV. You
Yeah,
register to vote because
we get it from the DMV. It's a whole thing.
yeah. See, that's what I mean. Each
I have to
state's
go to the
different.
DMV or not. I don't have to, but I can sign up to register to vote at the DMV and all these other things.
I mean, you could sign up to register to vote anywhere here, but your voter registration is coming from the state government. Ours doesn't get issued. You don't get issued a card by the DMV. New York State issues you a voter register card. And that name just has to match what is on the registered list. So
right.
anybody else could take my card or
usually comes from the DMV or those types of things where they have all of that.
No, because I was allowed to put my address in and say where I needed it to show up.
Say what?
I was allowed to input my address to tell them where I wanted to mail it. I didn't have to do what information they had based on the DMV records.
Well, sure, but at the same time, you can get the mailed and stuff, but if you don't have the proper identification, they're going to throw it out when you send it in.
No, they didn't ask for a copy of my license. Literally, I went on the New York State site to register to vote. Mm-hmm. I put in my name, put in my address, and what else did I put in? Oh, you know what? I think I did have to. You know what? Actually, I think I might be wrong because I think I did have to put in my driver's license number.
Yeah. Usually, that's what you have to do. Even if
it's not a driver's license,
it's an identification number, something.
Or just whatever your state ID. I did have to put in a number. Yes. Mm-hmm. But if these people get licenses,
then it's up to the government to check the information, see who they are.
Using your example, so if we use it, so like the Haitians that are in Ohio, they do have licenses, obviously, because they're driving around like playing bumper cars. So, like, they get a license. Now, are they flagged? Is their license special? Is it tagged? So if, like, they attempt to register to vote, does it allow them? Does their state website reject them based on their driver's license, saying, okay, you're a migrant here on a special visa, you can't vote? Like, this is all the stuff we don't know. Like, I don't know.
This is migrants cannot use a driver's license. Haitian migrants cannot use a driver's license to vote in an election.
Does it say is it in place to prevent any of it?
Let's see. The only U.S. citizens can vote. Voter registration forms require signature by the receiver attesting they are a U.S. citizen under penalty of election falsification, which is a felony in the state. So if they do, they can be tried by law and all that type of stuff.
I just don't know if Judy at the polling station is going to really give a fuck. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, that's double checking.
That's what I'm saying. If those mistakes are made, and I'm sure there are. Like you said, it's not 0%, but
it's not 0. But I wouldn't say it's like
such a large margin too, because that's the other thing, right? A lot of those people that they do are also background checked and check to see, like, are you biased? Are you this? They go through everything. Your social media, your fucking personally, they check. They check your life in a
very many Haitians from Haiti on Twitter,
right? Yeah, and so I would, like I said, I'm sure it happens, but I don't think to the extent where it's going to alter the election or do that type of thing. Or
I mean, I think even if it is
25%, and like
that has an impact when it goes one way. If it's
and like I said,
no.
The law is in place where if they find out, so Trump sues and they find out, certain people did, vote or whatever about that they weren't supposed to. Those people are tried they broke the law. They're tried and they're sent back or whatever the law says needs to happen. Put in jail. Yeah, they've broken the law in a big way. So. And not just federally, but Ohio State as well. So that's double the safeguards in place. Here we go. Ohio has implemented safeguards to protect against voter frauding during elections. Workers will be trained to examine driver's license for the Okay, so there is a designation on the back of the card indicating an individual as a non-citizen. So
Okay.
there is an something. I don't know what the fuck it is, but there's a designation on the back of their identification
Okay.
card.
Okay. Okay.
Um, she added the Ohio Secretary of State regularly conducts audits on the statewide voter registration database, cross-checking those records against other state and federal databases that contain citizenship data.
Okay.
So yeah, these are
Okay.
So there are safeguards in place. There are things that just goes. You can't just fucking get away with it. Your ID is not. So their ID is special.
Okay. Well, that's at least good to know.
Yeah.
Not that you wouldn't be able to tell as they come crashing through the polling station.
Right. With that, first of all, we got 7 viewers on YouTube. Thank you.
Hey, yeah, thank you, YouTube. Thanks for watching this, man.
Watching, we really appreciate that. We're at the hour and a half mark, and I think now is a good time to get into the big part. I'm sure what a lot of people have been waiting for. Or
the talk of the town here.
The talk of the town, man. I think this might take up the rest of the show on this one.
Probably we could devote the rest of our time to this. That's fine. I'm fine with that.
Real quick, let's say hi to people in the chat. Obviously, we got Bradley in the chat. What Bradley say?
Bradley.
I've heard almost no admission of fault for what either side has done wrong during their administration. To be fair, they all dodge questions and nothing. That's the game. I agree.
Now wait, though, we agreed earlier that, as stupid as it may be, Trump did admit on Rogan that he made mistakes in his cabinet picks. That's an admission.
Why did he?
Because he had no idea. Because he's not a politician, and it's not like you get a,
He's saying he made those mistakes because those people came against him.
No, he made those mistakes because he took bad advice. He said, and that he picked people because he. Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment.
That is not what he was trying to say.
Is exactly what he said. I'm pretty sure I'm almost verbatim when he said, "I made mistakes on hiring people. I hired people I didn't know.
And they didn't stick with me. I hired people based off of somebody said they didn't stick with me. They pushed back, and now I had to fire him. And fucking it wasn't like.
Would you not fire somebody who's actively just working against you? Like, why would you? Who's supposed to be on your side? Why would you keep somebody
when you're doing the shit that he was doing?
What was he doing?
I mean, fucking
what?
Getting up next to Putin, talking all this shit, behind the scenes about loyalty and all these other things. Yeah, not good signs.
No. I'm calling bullshit because we're not doing that.
I love how
we're not taking unconfirmed General Kelly, who sat on a story for 3 fucking years and decided 2 weeks to come out and say something. We're not taking that as fact with unnamed sources.
Why?
Because they're unnamed sources. If you have sources that say, I heard this guy say that,
he's
then
not
name him.
He's not. Why would he go put that guy's life on the line?
Why would he wait 3 years to tell anybody 2 weeks before the election?
It was what I mean. That's not shocking news. Let's be honest.
Way back when, it's not shocking because it's a lie.
It came out that Trump had the whole loyalty thing that he wanted his people in cabinet to sign. That's not a surprise. This is nothing. This is nothing new. I'm not shocked by this information.
Do you think the president doesn't want to have loyal cabinet members? That makes 0 sense.
Yeah, loyalty to that extent? Nah. That's not right. And I'm sorry. No.
But what was he doing that was illegal? He wasn't doing anything illegal.
I mean, a loyalty contract where it's like, whatever I say and do, you go with me. Yeah, no. I cannot go with that. I go with the Constitution. I go with the laws that this country are based on. Not what you say. Or want to get rid of, or want to change, or do it. No, he said he wanted to, and that's what stopped people from going with it.
Okay, and at one point in time, I wanted to fuck the pink Power Ranger. You could say whatever you want.
Okay, sure, but Trump is still saying that. He is still saying that he wants to get rid of the Constitution, that he wants to be a dictator on day one, that he wants this loyalty, that he respects, Hitler.
Because again, I'm not gonna let you get. No, we're not. I'm not gonna let you get away with lies in this last week.
These are things that he says. What lies have been told?
I'll tell you the lies. The lies that you just said. One, did he say I want to be a dictator on day one? Yes.
Yes, he did.
Hang on, wait. There's more to that.
I'm going to shut down the border. I'm going to be a dictator for one day, which we all know is utter bullshit. I mean, come on, dude. One day
How is it?
I'm
Yes.
gonna be a dictator for one day. I'm gonna shut
Yes.
it down and blah blah, and then I'm gonna loosen up again and be all cool. Oh, come
Yes.
on. Once you've got that much power, the man literally is willing to use the
What do you
military
mean?
against us.
Oh
I mean,
my
like,
God. There
what?
is no way. There is no. This is what I mean. You can't take 3-second, 5-second clips of the guy saying one phrase that the news says, well, no, he's using the military against us. Oh, he's going to send them after normal people.
I'm
No,
not.
he
I
isn't.
watched the whole thing. I watched the whole thing because I don't like
And not
doing it.
once did he say he would use the military against American citizens. Not once. Not once. The only time he said that was if they asked him
It's just
specifically
Project
if things got
48
out of control. Oh, God, here we go again with this. Project 48, 25, 72. It doesn't matter what number you put after it. It's bullshit. Every year, a conservative think tank writes up a plan that they think the
This is
Republican
Trump. No,
nominee
no, no.
should
This
go
is
by.
a conservative. This is Trump's plan on his website. Not a conservative. This is his plan. Not Project 2024 or whatever. This is
You mean
Project
Agenda
48.
47?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, Agenda 47, which is all about closing the borders, tax cuts, making the middle class and everybody else do a good job, bringing businesses and stuff. Yeah, and his tariffs, it's what he's literally been running on this whole campaign. But if we're going to get into that side, we could go again to this lady over here who has how many page PDF is that of her policies? Like an 89 or 90 page PDF that when asked about her
Far more
policy,
detailed.
far more
Far more
detailed.
detailed.
But guess
Talking
what?
about how she's going to do it, how
Guess
she's
what,
going to
though?
get Congress to do it,
Yes.
how she's going to do all these other things. I'll be honest.
And-
It took forever. I agree with you. I gave her a lot of shit for it. She ended up
But guess
shitting
what she
on
doesn't
his
know?
website.
Guess what she doesn't know? Any one of those policies on the 89 pages. Because when she was interviewed by CNN,
I agree. Yeah. She needs to see it.
she told people when asked, well, what are the policies? Well, I have an 89 page PDF that you can check on my website, which means you don't even know. You can't name one. Just give me one. One. Name one thing in there. She didn't. She told people to go look at her website. Why? So they could be hit with donate to me twice before you could find her fucking policy page? It's just, listen,
We do have.
he
I do want
could
to
be a
shout out
dictator on day one. If it shuts down the border and starts people digging, then sure, for oil, great.
this
Great.
man.
Here's the
No.
thing. If the very next day, okay, so if when does they go in? January 20th? So if January 21st, he comes out and says, oh, I'm still a dictator, guess what? I will go to Washington personally and start the revolution myself. Because he's not going to do that. That is such, and it goes into the main event here, because this is the guy. None of them have. Not one Democrat in this whole election cycle has had an assassination attempt on him. Not one, except for Donald Trump, who's had 2, maybe 3, but I don't think that was actually a real one. I think they called that bullshit. 2. Now he holds a rally
What does
in
that
New
have
York
to
City.
do with it?
This has to do with everything. Yes, because again, the rhetoric that they're spilling about this guy, even like the stuff you're saying that he's going to be a dictator, this is what causes crazy people to do shit like that.
No, this is
No?
what he said, and I quote: "I'm going to be a dictator on day one. I'm going to shut the border down for a day,
And I'm going
and
to
I'm
drill,
going to
baby,
do
drill.
all of these things for one day." And
Yeah.
I'm not lying here. I'm not exaggerating. I'm saying the exact thing he says.
Yes.
You don't need any other context
But you're
outside
ma-
of those 2 things.
But it's not that you're lying. You're making it sound sinister, like he's going to kill people and throw people
What
in
part of
camps.
saying I'm going to be a dictator does not sound bad to you? What part of that sounds good?
Well, finish
I'm
finish
gonna
the
be
sentence.
a dictator.
Finish the sentence.
don't
Don't just
need
stop there.
I'm
Yes, you
gonna be a
do.
dictator on day one to shut down the border. I'm sorry, that still
Okay.
doesn't work for me. It's still the fact that you're in a mindset of that I'm going to be a dictator. I'm gonna have that power. Absolutely the fuck not. Absolutely
What
not.
do you mean? He can't even be a dictator if he wanted to on day one. It's literally impossible. That's why we have checks and balances. Do you think the House and the Senate would just be like, oh, shit, well, you think the House and Senate would just be like, well, he said he's a dictator. That's it for us.
He's been in court for years saying this election wasn't rigged and all this blah blah was rigged and all this stuff. I think he doesn't believe this man does not give a shit about checks and balances.
What do you mean?
Absolutely, he'll put the executive order in. He'll shut it down. He'll say, "I have ultimate power," or whatever he has to do. And
He
then
doesn't
after
have to
that,
say he has
God
ultimate power. He just has
knows
to close
what's
the
going to
border
happen.
and
I
start
don't
drilling.
trust him. I do not trust him. I'm sorry, I don't.
Okay, then
And
why
I
didn't he
don't
do this in his
trust
first 4
anybody.
years, though?
I
Why
don't
didn't he
trust
do it the first time?
anybody
Why
that
is
would
he
say
just
that.
going to do it this time? I don't understand how he didn't do it the first 4 years, but you're going to get scared now in this possibility of a second
I
term
was
because
scared.
he
Listen,
said
no,
this.
I was
And no,
scared
and
back
nothing
then
happened.
that it would
You
turn
guys
into
didn't lose
this.
rights. You didn't get thrown in jail. Nobody attacked anything. The only thing that happened was he got fucking just abused for 4 years between the media and the entire
Oh, poor
government.
baby. He's
What do
doing
you
so
mean?
bad.
What
He's
do you
he's
mean?
gonna, it's not like, oh, come on.
What are you
This
talking
abuse of the
about?
media thing is just like, you act
Dude,
like that
people
that
may you don't think
absolutely
that's you don't think
hurt
that
him or
weighs on
change.
you? You don't
Obviously,
think
he's done so well since he's
what does it
in
matter
Europe and
though?
a lot of other people's like he's winning the election. He's above in
See,
the polls. So I don't see
for the
how this
7
media
people,
thing would
well, not the 7, for the 5 people that are probably watching that probably
for
are
now.
okay, well for the 4 people are watching, I just
We
want
went down.
everybody to bear witness to what is going on here. Because it's Donald Trump, it's okay for this stuff to happen. And
No, it's
that's
not.
exactly what you just said. You said, "Oh, boo-hoo, poor
Absolutely not.
baby." That's what you just
It's
said.
not. But
But you just
also,
said
yeah,
it. But you just
boo hoo,
said,
poor baby,
you can't.
absolutely, because you're
Well,
sitting, because
no,
he's
you
sitting
can't.
there,
No,
and other Republicans are sitting there whining like, oh, the media's going after everything.
I don't care about
Absolutely,
them. I care about the
and
president.
they've been dumb about it
Ted
and all
Cruz
that,
don't
but
affect
it
me.
obviously hasn't hurt him that much. Dude's
What do you
doing
mean?
just fine, apparently, in
You don't
polls and
think
all.
that affects? You don't think that had any effect on the 2020 election?
And also, obviously not.
What do you mean? Obviously not. You don't think that's?
I think
You don't think when people?
so the
Yes,
media wasn't running against him in 2016. They all thought it was a joke.
yes.
They were making fun of him. Everybody was calling this and that. Hillary had her deplorable thing. Left was
Yeah.
doing the same thing. So, yeah, absolutely. Like the fuck, the media can say whatever the fuck they want. He's kind of one of those where, as long as he doesn't feed into it and care too much, it doesn't fucking affect him or his supporters. His supporters don't believe in any fucking thing
No, but
that
that affects
anybody said.
undecided voters. That affects people that are on the fence and sways them to a position. And that's
How?
it. How? Dude, if you're undecided and you come out hearing every day that the guy who's currently running and is in president
I feel
office
like
right
that would
now,
sway you the opposite way.
how would that sway you the opposite way? If somebody told you this guy's Hitler,
I
he's
get
bad, he's a
tired of it
Russian asset.
and just go, okay, there's obviously a bias here. There's something going on.
Okay, fine then. You don't see the bias though now? The whole
There's
thing is biased. There's
there's
bias
yeah,
mostly,
there's
and
always been a
and it's
mostly
heavily
bias.
geared towards him. Again,
At the same
once
time,
again, the guy holds a
Dems.
rally in New York City that the DNC have been at.
Mhm.
Reagan, who else was there? A couple other people were there, I believe. Not Kennedy, somebody else. There's like 4 or 5 Democrats that had rallies at Madison Square Garden. Are those Nazi rallies?
That's not why it was called a Nazi rally.
Why was it called? It was called a Nazi rally when he announced it, dude. Come on. When he announced the rally, before anything happened, before any jokes were even told, don't say it wasn't, because everybody was saying the minute he said, I'm going there, and the minute it got sold out, then all of a sudden it's, let's show you the picture from the 1939 rally, and then let's show you the picture here. This is what's going to happen. So you can't say that's not even true, because it is. It was called a Nazi rally when he announced it.
I mean, well, first of all, I didn't hear. I'll be honest, I didn't hear that. I heard it last night, and I thought it was funny that even the speaker there, claimed it was a Nazi rally. So I
Oh,
was
here
like,
you
cool.
go, because I knew you were going to bring that up. Let me send you the video.
Okay, should we officially go to the Trump rally? Are we officially here at the
We're
Trump
here.
rally?
We're at the Trump rally. I have this video, and I'm going to send it to you. Hang on.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about last night's rally. Let's get into this. This is going to be the bulk of our show here. Things are going to get spicy. These are already getting a little spicy, but listen,
Yeah,
as always,
but it's
I
all
love Bob.
good fun.
I love Bob. I have the utmost respect for this man and his opinions and stuff.
Yeah, there's no animosity here. Let's
yeah.
make sure that's clear. Number one,
Yeah.
there's nothing like
But
that.
fuck
here.
you, Bob. No, I'm kidding.
No, but I mean, this is what
Truly,
debate
truly.
is about, and this is, people need to talk about this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so funny. I was talking with somebody before today, actually, and he goes, I don't know how you can talk about it. How you can, and I said, to be honest with Bob, it's incredibly refreshing. I said, I really look, because, open. It's honest. We can get heated and do all this. And I still have just the utmost respect for you and your opinions. I don't think you're. I know you do a lot of fact checking and a lot of research. I know you do your homework and stuff, and I have a lot of respect for that. I know you're not just talking out of your ass, even though we're not, political commentators or have any fucking degree in political science or any of these types of things. We're just, average Joes talking shit. But I still, I trust you and I believe you and I want to know where you're coming from and those types of things. So yeah.
Well, thank you. That actually that means a lot, and that's very very fucking sweet. And I
Absolutely.
absolutely I feel the same way about you. As we always say on all these shows, I enjoy this just as much. I enjoy the back and
Yes.
forth. I enjoy that we can get into these debates and conversations and talk to each other and get a little bit loud. And it's just that's it. That it doesn't go any further
Yeah.
than that. Nobody, we talk off the show all the time about whatever.
We had to stop talking off the show to save things for
Well,
the
today,
show.
yeah, because we were giving away all the best stuff. But yeah, it's I enjoy this too just as much as you do, and I appreciate that you allow me on your channel here to do this with you, because I think this is it is a good thing. And with all the different things, all the different discourse that goes on in politics, I think there's not as much of this going on, where just two opposite people are talking, and
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, so it's very refreshing on both sides here.
All right. All right. You
Yes,
got
I
your
sent you
video.
the video. I'm pretty sure this is the guy you're talking about, Mr.
Yes.
Baldy here.
Baldy.
I don't even know who this guy is, to be honest.
I may not have gotten weed in my eye, so that's might be an issue. Okay, let's see here. Share screen. Share. Alrighty. Let's see what this man says.
You do this like all of you listen to me, all of you.
Okay.
I'm listening.
Get back and they go, Sid, you want to speak at this MSG thing? I go,
You go, yeah. Why does it do this all the time? It literally
I
works
don't know.
every time before. Because I literally clicked it before, it worked fine, and now
And then you
it's
bring it up here and it just wants to stutter.
I get back and they go, Sid, you want to
StreamYard. You make me pay more, and I don't
speak
even
at
get to.
this MSG thing? I go, sure. Out of character for me to speak at a Nazi rally. I was just in Israel, but I took the gig.
Yeah. I mean, if you're attributing that as an actual true statement, as he's actually saying, and you can't pick up on the sarcasm there.
I get the sarcasm.
Okay.
At the same time, he said the quiet part out loud.
How is that the quiet part out loud?
I mean,
How is it the quiet part out loud when he's making reference to the whole week up until this rally? That's what the left has been calling this.
And this is where we will get into
Yes,
a lot of
and not
stuff
only
here.
that, but if it was a Nazi rally, it's the worst one because they allowed so many Jews, blacks, and every other race and creed in there. They don't know what they're doing. If it was a Nazi rally, they're really shitty at it. He is the shittiest Nazi ever. Hitler
look.
would be ashamed.
I think he'll. Look, I think this. I think, like I said, I don't think all Trump supporters are bad. I think, but at the same time, a lot of those people, you have to admit, are not moderate in this, or not. They're not there, and they lean more towards the extremist point of view and stuff.
I think that's an assumption into people's minds that we can't make on either side. To be honest,
maybe, but at the same time,
you can't say what somebody's state of mind is.
I feel what they believe. But I feel like a good indication, right, was the Tony Hinchcliffe stuff. As soon as he made that Puerto Rican joke,
some people laughed and some people didn't.
The first time where the audience went, "Whoa!" You split, and you had people that were laughing, that were busting, and you had people that were. Now, look, I'm not saying all of those people that were bust cutting and laughing are racist and doing all that, right? But absolutely, Tony knew that joke. He was trying to play to a certain crowd, right? He was testing his waters, and it didn't work.
Sure.
And
But
not
then why
and,
is
and
that
whether
joke the sole focus and not the other 70
because the other ones make sense. I'm sorry, I've stood up for this. I responded to Brian Cranston or whatever because he was like about the Mexican joke, about the baby jokes, and I was like, "Hey, don't fucking speak for us." I mean that for white people everywhere. Don't fucking speak. If we're not offended, all that had context. He had a whole setup, and I watched his whole set, 11 minutes, his whole 12-minute thing. That had a whole setup of immigration and the border and Mexican and his Mexican friend and blah blah blah. It was a whole thing. It made sense. There was context. There was build up. All of these types of things. The Puerto Rican joke came out of nowhere. I don't know if my personal belief is that he didn't write that prior and he said it there thinking it would be funny.
All jokes were vetted and put on the teleprompter and had to be approved.
Sure, because Tony goes by that, as we all know with the Tom Brady roast.
They came out and said he wanted to call Kamala a cunt, and they told him that's
yes.
At
the same time, you really think Tony Hitchcliffe, went up there and stuck completely to the script, and didn't say anything off the chuck, off the hand. Really? You think that?
Yes, because people there even commented that these were jokes that he'd already told a month prior at his show at MSG.
Sure, I don't know, but they said the other ones, at the same time. The Puerto Rican one, I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't. And if it is, then if I were the Trump campaign, I would have said, why? What the fuck is this? I'm not saying, okay.
They can't tell him no because then that goes. They're trying to be.
They told him no on cunt.
Well, you can't. You probably really shouldn't call the presidential candidate a cunt. Just like you probably shouldn't call the presidential
Trump's
candidate
called
Hitler
her
either.
Stupid, mentally ill, all these other things. Blah, blah.
Retarded. He called her retarded.
He has got. They're going to draw the line at cunt.
Well, sorry. Because you're not telling it to potentially millions of people.
And at the same time, he's talking about all these other inappropriate things. Why not? I'm sorry. I think it came more off the cuff, and I think that he thought he was, going to be funny with it or whatever. And look, when you watch the actual clip, he's literally stuttering before it out. It's like he either forgot or was trying to think of something. He couldn't read the crowd. Something was going on there because he's literally going, "It's unbelievable. The world is unbelievable. It's wild out there. It's unbelievable." I think he says it about like 4 or 5 times before he actually gets to the joke of going, there's a floating pile of garbage in the ocean. I think they call it Puerto Rico. Yeah. Oh, you didn't like that one. On to the next.
Yeah, on to the next.
No setup. No context. Absolutely out of nowhere from just saying we're in a weird point of the world. And then there's this whole thing now of Republicans stretching, and going, "There's a landfill problem in Puerto Rico, and if you didn't know about it, you didn't get the joke."
But it's not a stretch, though. They've had an issue since Hurricane Maria.
Guys,
it's been a terrible problem.
This man said there is an island of trash floating in the ocean.
Yes.
So,
yes.
We all know there are actual large, massive piles of trash, like an island, floating in the ocean. It's very well known. That's by California and in between Hawaii and near China. Where the fuck is Puerto Rico in that? Now, you want to go back to the recycling landfill problem. Island. Where's the... Okay, so that's a great joke. Why wasn't it made about Israel? I've been to Israel.
What do you mean?
Guess what Israel's... Oh, no, not about trash. Because guess what Israel's... this is what their residents actually do, and it's weird. There is trash on the side of the road. It's disgusting. As you're fucking driving, there's homes, and then just the other side of the street is just trash.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying, but
we have it here in the United States.
Yes, but it's
no different than trash and stuff.
Yeah,
So
But see,
my
that's no
question
different
is,
than making a
where's the
joke in the
joke?
80s about New York City being dirty.
Where's the joke and what was funny about it? What was the setup? What was all this? I didn't catch it. And I
You
don't
don't
think it
ha-
went over my
so,
head because I was
no,
paying
I don't
attention.
think it went over your head, but what I'm saying, it just didn't work for you, and that's fine. It's fine if it didn't work for people. It's fine.
That's
But
fine if it
then
didn't
for
work for
people
people.
to get upset on behalf of other people and say, well, that was so offensive. And
Sure.
he's making fun of Puerto Rico. No,
Sure,
he's not
just
making fun of
just
Puerto
like
Ricans.
right.
He was making
Sure.
light of the issue that they have there. That they have a fucking garbage problem. And if,
He literally called them trash.
no, he didn't. He said it was a floating island of garbage. That's not talking to the. See
So
again.
the people there, the floating
You're.
island of garbage has roses and all these other things living amongst it. I mean, come on.
That's not funny, is it? That's not hysterical.
That's taking a stretch. Like,
It's not
I
taking
mean,
a stretch.
yes, people are making excuses for him saying a shitty joke that didn't work. That even not only didn't work and was audible to the audience, we can all go back and listen to. Vivek Ramaswamy, Trump's campaign manager, other people in the Trump circle are saying, "Yeah, we don't agree with that." They are distancing themselves from the shit. Tony had to fucking tweet out after and go, "I love Puerto Rico. I vacation there all the time."
That's a pussy move. He should.
That's how fucking bad the joke. So even Tony knew he bombed. There's no defense for the joke. It was a shit joke. It didn't work, and it played to the worst kind of people. And even Tony doesn't like to do that.
It doesn't matter if
he
it
shows
plays
that
the
on
worst
his own show. I have a lot of respect for Tony.
I don't see how you can attribute that because again, you are running on an assumption.
By common sense?
That's not common sense. How is it common sense to think that people, if it's common sense, then why did the joke bomb? Why did the joke bomb? If everybody there is,
thought it wasn't fucking funny,
or they didn't get it.
It didn't make sense. No, it didn't make sense. He's literally coming off a stuttering speech of going, "It's unbelievable. The world is unbelievable. My black friend just carved watermelons. Puerto Rico's trash." Now, on to the next thing.
No, again, that's the problem. That's not what he did not say.
Okay.
That. So why is the black joke okay?
That's exactly what he said.
Why
that
is that
exactly again, setup, context. He talked about, I was with my black friend. He's sitting in the audience. Look at you. He calls him out. He does all these things. The Puerto Rico joke came out of nowhere. It came out of his ass.
Every joke comes out of I don't understand
not
this
every
argument.
joke.
I don't understand this argument.
Just like he does every time.
So you're saying Tony Heathcliff hates Puerto Ricans. That's your opinion then? Is that your opinion?
Not saying, nope, I never said that.
I've
never said that.
Then how are you saying it's inappropriate and racist? How does it become inappropriate and racist?
It was a poorly timed, poorly worded, and wrong place to tell a joke.
Maybe, but who cares?
Work. At a comedy club, it might have worked. It might have worked. Because, A, nobody's in this political mindset sphere of like all these types of things and all that. At the same time, when you go back and watch Tony's speech, it's not a set. This is not a fucking comedy set.
So your problem is so let me ask you, if the joke had a setup.
And he talks about this is the most important election of my lifetime. Yeah. And I'm shocked Kamala would say this and do this and blah, blah, blah. He gets serious. It's not a fucking set. So even he didn't make it clear what the fuck he was doing there. I don't think he knew what the fuck he was doing there. I know he likes Trump, and I have a lot of respect for Tony because he likes Trump, but he doesn't bring that into his comedy, but momentarily. Until last night, I lost a lot of respect.
Oh my God. You think that campaign brought him in to make a serious speech? Are you kidding me? That makes zero sense.
No, I don't think they brought him in to make a serious speech. But I think the campaign was dumb as fuck to bring him in the first place. And I think he was dumb as fuck to say yes.
That's a valid argument, but hey, you know what? So be it. Again, I think this is going to have, unless you're on the left, this has zero ramifications for him.
Not really. I can already tell you 2 of my personal Puerto Rican friends that were full-on Trumpers after last night. They said, "Fuck off." I'm not joking.
So wait.
That's
so
not
they said. So
not
okay. So I just want to get this.
To ask about this. They said, "You know what? I understand and all that, but you know what? The disrespect towards Puerto Rico and this whole idea and this rhetoric that he could that these Puerto Ricans are trash." He goes over there and throws fucking paper towels and like already they weren't happy with that, but they were going with he was better than Kamala. And at this point, they said, "Fuck off."
Okay.
That was the drawing line.
So they drew the line because according to you, a comedian who made an off the cuff, unscripted, out of nowhere joke that didn't hit, they're blaming Trump for? Like he said it?
No, but they're
Yes.
saying if those are the people, if those are the type of people that
If
are
a co-
going to be
wait.
supporting Trump
No,
as
he-
Puerto Ricans from
So if
Puerto Rico, they're
if
going, you know
oh
what?
God.
They woke up and they saw their eyes opened and they saw, you know
Their
what?
eyes open
Shit,
to what?
there's a lot of people out there that actually don't like us and that are for Trump, and
Oh
that's not a
God.
good thing. And I'm not
That
willing
is
to stand by
ridiculous.
and
That's
watch
a
that. I mean,
it's
it's
very
the truth.
ridiculous.
The audience reaction proved it.
Yeah, some people liked it, some people didn't. That happens with almost every joke. What do you?
Not a joke like that. And we
Yes, a
know at
joke
that
like that.
crowd,
A joke like that.
with that group of people, it's not the same thing. This isn't a comedy set. It's a political rally. It's not Kill Tony at the MSG. It's a political fucking rally. The mindsets are very, very, very
Oh, okay.
different.
So it's
Period.
appropriate then. So it's appropriate to have Megan Thee Stallion shaking her ass on stage. That's fine.
No,
at a
that's
political
dumb
rally.
fuck too. Absolutely. But I don't know
That
what that has to do with anything either. I don't agree with Tony going up knowing he even says in his first, I've never performed in front of so many babies and all that. And then goes on to say just like a bunch of stupid shit.
Yeah.
Is like, oh, why the fuck is he here? I'm sorry, I don't get it. Like, besides the fact that like you might have wiggled your way in there because you're friends with Trump and you did the MSG thing a couple months ago or whatever. It's a big thing for clout from Tony. I'm honestly disappointed and lost a lot of respect for Tony because he had no fucking business being there. Absolutely none.
Why? If he's a supporter, why does he have no business being there? That's horrible to say. Beyonce
He
has
had
no
no-
business being making a speech then.
Well,
Nobody has
what
any
was he
business
doing
being
there talking to families at the MSG sphere of Trump supporters and all this, doing a normal set again. He should know his fucking audience.
What
the Trump
business
people
does Liz
should know his
Cheney have
fucking
to be
audience.
thumping for her? Like what?
You're
what does
making comparisons that don't even make sense. You're talking about like an R-rated roasting comedian that is known
Yes.
for his edginess and all of these
Yes.
other things.
Wait!
to
You
come
just said
out
it right
at
there.
Trump's
He's
big
what?
rally
He's
at the
known
MSG.
for this. He's known for
Okay,
this. This wasn't a
okay.
surprise to nobody.
Yeah, no, no. It wasn't a surprise to people who know him. Let's be honest.
Yeah. And the
How
left
many
doesn't know him,
fucking
so that's
people-
why it was a
How
surprise.
many people
Dude, he's got one of the
would at
number
the
one
MSG
podcasts
sphere
in the
knew
world.
he was gonna-
In the world,
and
sir.
brought their families and their kids and all these other things. Again, now I'm not making a big deal of that because I think that's a far point.
He
to
didn't
make.
use
The
any
fact that
profanity.
there and all that. Did he not?
No, I'm pretty sure he used zero profanity.
I think
There
he
was one
did
guy.
use
There was
it.
one speaker. I think the bald guy did. No, either the bald guy or Grant
I have to
Cardone.
go
One of
back,
them
but
said
I
"fuck" or
thought he
something.
did say something.
I don't believe he said. CNN bitched about was the fact that it wasn't even that joke. They were more upset that they couldn't play the joke about Puerto Ricans have so many kids. You know, they're always coming in, they don't pull out, or whatever the fucking joke was. Like, I don't think he said any curse words or anything like that. I know somebody at the rally did, but he didn't.
Yeah, I
don't
could have
think
read,
he did.
but still,
But again-
either way, to do the things that like, I'm sorry, like, and at the same time, I do think it's funny. Like, he made a lot of jokes about other minorities. Never made a joke about white people. Never made a joke about Italians. Never made a joke about fucking anything. Like, you know, and I just expect more.
So is
from
that the
Tony.
problem? Because he's white and
No.
didn't make
No,
jokes about white
That's
people?
not the main problem. No. But at the same time, the
So
opportunity
is the problem
was there.
that he's white and made jokes about Puerto Ricans? What is
No,
the
it's
actual
the
issue here?
It's what he said. It had no context, no setup. It came out of nowhere. The other jokes didn't. And this was just literally calling Puerto Rico trash. Your island of trash.
Do they
That's
not
what
have a trash problem? Yes or no?
Do we have a trash problem? Can I? Okay,
Listen,
just like
all our
just like-
landfills are EPA compliant. They have 35, where only 5 are compliant.
I can show
They
you
send
piles
trash
of
into the
trash
ocean,
here in
into the
Las
water, into the
Vegas.
ground.
I
That's
can
fine.
send you piles of homelessness and trash in every city here in the United States
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
We don't
But
get
they-
that problem either. But guess what? Puerto Rico also has a massive tourism, count and a massive,
Sure.
lots of
but
beauty,
this has been an
just
issue
like the
since-
U.S. does.
But this has been an issue since Hurricane Maria, and it's not an issue that is just like, okay, we have a lot
Since
of trash.
the
Like, hang on, because it's not like we
There
do, where we
and
have a lot of
paper
trash.
towels at people.
So what? He also sent them aid that the Puerto Rican government decided we'll just hide in a fucking warehouse for a year.
He sent them aid
until yes, he sent them
After
aid.
how long?
Which, what do you mean?
After how long? After
After
begging?
he after he
After-
found why were they begging? Why were they begging? Look up why he didn't send aid. Why? Because the government
didn't
was
like it.
withholding it from their people. Yes,
no,
look,
that's
please
not
look
how
it
that
up.
works.
Please look it up. Please look up the Puerto Rican government withholding aid that was found at a warehouse by regular people had to find it. The government didn't come out and say we have this shit. Go ahead. I can wait. You could fact check me on this.
I will gladly admit I'm wrong if it's true. That's fucked up.
It's very fucked up if it's true.
Okay, let's see. New probe confirms Trump officials blocked Puerto Rico from receiving hurricane aid. There was one storage found with government aid, or with some supplies in there. One storage.
Okay, now you're making the argument like the MSNBC lady made when she said, well, there's only 5 apartment buildings in Aurora, Colorado getting taken over by Venezuelan migrants. So it's not that big of a deal because it's only 5 and not all of them. it's a terrible argument to make that it's only one. The fact that their own government was withholding aid.
Okay, no, it's not good. I agree, it's not good. But I'm not going to sit here and over exaggerate too and go like the government was withholding aid under a big thing and all blah blah blah. No, there's one thing that God knows what the hell happened with it, whether it was purposeful or mistaken, whatever. Like there was a lot of aid sent during Hurricane Maria, absolutely, and that was not just from Trump, but from with other people. So they had to find storages for it and do all those types of things. So I know
didn't give it to people in need.
Yes, but at the same time, again, I don't know what the exact specific situation. One compared to how many hundreds? Like I can't over exaggerate. It's not good.
No,
it's bad.
I don't want to say you over exaggerate or that you were. But what I mean is, this is what I mean about these stories about this guy. They'll put in that part that, oh, he's withholding. But why is he withholding? Well, like, don't give me the bullshit. And again, when he's being you can't, I don't understand, like we were talking about your friends, how Tony saying something reflects on him. Why? Because he allowed him to go there? But if it's an off the cuff and they didn't know that he was going to say that, how can he be held responsible for this is what I mean. How come with him, he could be held responsible for what other people do in the name of them, but Democrats don't get held responsible when people do bad shit in the name of them? This is what I mean.
I mean, I think they should. They should. And yeah, there shouldn't be a double standard. I mean, there's a lot of. I do want to point. Bradley makes a good point here. California and San Fran would like a word. They have a government who leaves its entire state he governs covered in shit, piss, trash, and homeless people. How does their landfill problem affect us while we have states withering away as we speak?
Well, I can tell you how. Because of the fact that they are technically a U.S. territory, they have to follow EPA guidelines and regulations. When they don't, and the EPA has to sue them, the entire island, it's a very big issue. And it does affect us because the stuff that they're putting in there, they're technically harming American citizens by dumping shit in the waters, dumping shit underground and burying it, bad materials and other toxic shit. You don't know what they're dumping or what they're doing because
we dump stuff in our own states that are toxic to our own.
But why does that make it? But why does that excuse this? Why does that excuse this? Two wrongs.
Why the fuck are we calling them out when we're fucking doing it ourselves?
But here's the thing,
there's the double standard you're talking about.
It's not a double standard. You want to know why? Because nobody knew about this. No,
so are we, and we do it very openly.
But nobody even knew this was an issue, though, Austin. That's the difference. Nobody knew this was an issue over there until he said it. I guarantee you today, Puerto Rican garbage was probably one of the most Googled things today. If there's a way to look up that metric, I bet you it would be at the top of the search list. I bet you. Because nobody knew about it and nobody cared about it from 2016 to 2024. Now, all of a sudden, because somebody said, well, it's a floating island of trash. Oh
See,
my
and
God.
that's
She's
the last
disparaging
thing
the whole
about,
people.
and see, that's what I'm saying. There was no logic put into this fucking joke. Because let me tell you something, as a logical person that knows about kind of the world and what's going on, sure, Puerto Rico might have some fucking trash, but like I said, Israel's got a fucking trash problem. I've been there. I've seen it with my own two eyes.
Sure, but their trash problem
but
isn't,
at the same time,
isn't like
when you
bringing
come
the
out and
country
you
down.
say there is an island of trash floating in the ocean, as a logical person, I'm going, yeah, there are actual islands type large
Yeah. And I think
masses
it's called
of
Puerto
trash
Rico.
floating in the ocean.
Yes. And I
It
think it's
ain't
called
in
Puerto
Puerto
Rico.
Rico. It's between California and Hawaii and in China.
Then this
So
is
where
then
the
I
fuck does Puerto Rico come into this?
because
Besides the
see
fact that they have
then
some trash on their island, just like America's got trash on our continent, fucking Israel's got trash, and they're gonna. Don't even get me started on fucking like Afghanistan, Lebanon, and all those other places.
would you be offended if somebody said there's a floating
It is
continent of trash in the
no,
ocean and it's called the United States?
no, because
Okay,
no,
then you
I'm sorry,
can't get offended. Then you can't get offended
I
at
wouldn't
that.
be
I'm
offended,
sorry.
and I'm not
I'm sorry.
necessarily offended at the Puerto Rican joke either. I'm
You
just
are.
asking what's funny. No, I'm not.
What's
Where's the joke?
Oh God.
I don't
What's
see.
tell me?
Where's the joke?
I see that you don't
Based on
see it because
logic
you're
and context,
because
I
you're
don't.
not looking at it as a joke. You're taking it as a statement of how somebody feels
I
about
looked at
people.
everything else as a joke. Why did I separate this? Because there was no context. There was no setup. It was in
Doesn't
the
have to be
middle of
context.
fucking stuttering
If you
spat
want
that
if you
he
want my
had.
opinion, and this is my opinion, and you cannot like it or agree with it, which I'm sure you won't, but I think you're jumping on the train of people getting upset because of the
No,
fact that you're not upset with any of the other jokes or anything else that was said that night. It didn't offend anybody. Everybody's
how
picking
am I
on
jumping on that train when everybody else is criticizing all of the jokes? I
nobody's
literally defended the
who's
black joke.
criticizing
I've
who's
defended the
yes,
Mexican.
which
People like Brian Cranston, an extremist left and on. I've said, don't speak for me on the Mexican joke. That was funny. It made sense. There was context. There was buildup. He talked about why. We make a lot of baby. We have a lot of sex. Blah blah blah. Okay, the Puerto Rico joke came out of fucking nowhere.
but it doesn't matter if it came out of nowhere.
I
It
don't
really
see
doesn't.
like I mean, to me, it
Some
kind of
people
does.
got it,
When
some people
everybody
didn't.
else, like
And then he moved on. Nobody got up and left their seats. There wasn't a big mass people of Puerto Ricans that got up and said, well, fuck this.
because there was a bunch of Puerto Ricans there in the first place.
Yes, there was. Why would you expect there not to be? I'm sorry. Do you know that Latinos were trying? Like he's polling higher for Latinos, and he's dude. Every metric he's polling higher than her. Instead of
the MSG Garden, there was a shit ton of Puerto Ricans there compared to the white people and everybody else.
yes, because they roughly. I think there's roughly about 1 million Puerto Ricans.
And I also thought it was funny because I did see the Latinos for Trump in that tiny little corner in the back of the top of the MSG sphere with their little sign. I saw that.
Okay, so let me guess. So because you only saw one sign, that means that there was only one group there. Again, you're running on assumptions that you're making based on people saying that this guy is a racist and all this, and this is the problem, and this is why I'm 100%. No, you're not calling Tony racist, but you're attributing the racism towards Trump, and you're saying, well, no, there can't be there. Sure, there wasn't a bunch of Puerto Ricans there. Well, how do you know? How do you know there wasn't a bunch of Puerto Ricans there? You can't assume that there wasn't. We can assume that there was, seeing that there is a whole population of them, and there's video of them being interviewed afterwards saying, no, we didn't give a fuck about the joke. We don't care.
Right, a couple of them, yeah.
Yeah. So...
But then, at the same time, but they don't speak for everybody. Just like the two of my friends, they don't speak for everybody that switch sides.
Exactly.
But
and I think it's silly for somebody to switch sides because of a joke that the guy who you're trying to run against didn't even say himself.
They get silly, but let me tell you something. When you're born and from that country and all that, and when you're constantly having to deal with people that don't even fucking know that Puerto Rico is...
But let me ask you, do they live here or do they live in Puerto Rico?
They live here.
Okay, why'd they come here?
What do you mean, why did they come here?
Why did they come here? Were they born in Puerto Rico or were they born here?
They were born in Puerto Rico.
Okay, so why did they leave Puerto Rico and come here?
One of them wanted to go to school here, become an Olympian. Mm-hmm. And the other one, kind of same thing. His parents moved here and he was with them. So
okay, could he not have become an Olympian in Puerto Rico?
Sure.
Okay, so again, they left Puerto Rico for a reason. For a reason.
Not
Not
because
because
it's
it's
a shithole. I can tell you that.
well, I'm sure they didn't leave because it was the greatest place to be.
They left because they wanted to go to a school like, for example, my friend Harvard for
Yes.
the Olympic rowing team
Mhm.
that he was on, and so that's why that one left. The other one left because of their parents. But guess what? His parents still have massive ties in Puerto Rico. They go there all the time. They own
Okay.
businesses. They own homes. So it's not
Sure.
like I'm not seeing your point here.
My point is that
They didn't leave
probably
because it was a shithole. That's definitely not it.
well, again, they didn't leave because
They love the place and they go there as constantly as they can.
sure, but are
They
they
have
going to get
careers and lives here at the same time. Like
okay?
so,
But they're honestly going to get offended because they have a trash problem.
no, they're
That's
going
what
to
I
get
mean.
offended when a presidential candidate doesn't take them seriously,
How is he
finds
not
that
taking them seriously when
disrespectful.
he didn't say that?
We could
And
again,
again,
we could
you
again,
said yourself it was off the cuff, so Trump didn't know about it. How
right?
is it his fault? Explain that to me.
Sure, it's not his fault, but again, when you see that those are the type of people that endorse that guy, and
A
again,
comedian?
they kind of
A
woke up. They
comedian.
said
Don't say
they said
that type of people.
they said
Say what he is.
yes.
He's a professional comedian.
No,
You're
no. I'm talking about the people that reacted to his joke. When you see that those types of people, the people that are actually, and like I said, not
so
everybody, but we know in
so
those
okay.
ralees that
So
there were those people
wait a
that
minute.
were like,
You're
yeah,
doing the
fuck
same
those
thing.
Puerto Ricans,
Who said
and all
that?
that type of
Who
stuff.
said that? So
Absolutely, we
people
know
laughing
there
at
are
a
those
joke.
people
Okay,
in those rallies that
so
absolutely
people
found that
laughing at a joke is indication of how people feel about a certain group of people, is what you're saying. That's exactly what you're saying. Because you said you heard them people laugh. We know what these rallies are. Show me one point in a rally where
not
Trump
all of
talks
them.
about anybody in a derogative way. Show me where he's racist against blacks. Show me where he's talking about, and again, we're not talking about legal people, but show me where he's racist to legal immigrants here. Actually real legal ones.
I can see where he's to the blacks.
What?
He's like, I've got them wrapped. They don't even. He literally has said like how much he's manipulated them on
One
live air, and he's like, they love
a guy that was one of the biggest names in black culture up until 2016 is a racist
he was one of the
against black
biggest
people.
names in black culture.
Yes.
The guy that wanted
The,
to
the
that
guy
claimed
wait, the
what was
guy
it
that funded hang on, this is how much of a
the
racist he is. He funded Jesse Jackson's campaign to run for president because he's a racist. He
the
hates
guy that
black people.
also accused the
Oh, wait,
what was it
the
the fucking
guy
five of being all this and all that, and then they were
Oh,
I mean
wait, you're talking about the Central Park 5 who
yes, Central Park.
who who admitted to a crime that they didn't commit, whether it's under coercion or not, but he replied to the news story the day after, which any reasonable person, especially somebody who has a daughter, would probably say the same thing about 5 guys who just admitted to trying to rape a woman or whatever it was they did. Yeah, I'd say the same thing too. Then later all the facts comes out. So again, you can't blame him for that, for having an emotional reaction to something based
It
on
was
something
more than
horrible.
that. He had. I mean,
Oh,
it was
how
more
do you
than an
know?
emotional.
How do you know though
I
that's
do.
what's
I
in
do
his
want
heart? You don't.
because the man is because I've met him. I've been around him. I've been in his
And what did he
circle.
do? Did he drop
And
the M-bomb? Did he say you're a stupid Mexican? Get over the border? No.
no. But I'll tell you what. He thinks anybody lesser than him is not really worth caring about.
Then why
He's
did he
very
house Jennifer Hudson's family in
his whole
Trump Tower for years after her family or whoever got murdered? If he's such a
because
racist,
of
why would he do that? Why?
oh my gosh, because of looks. The
What do you
man
mean of
knows what he's doing.
looks?
Because the man's not stupid. That's the other thing. I don't think
Why
he's
did Whoopi
stupid.
Goldberg and everybody on The View praise him in 2016? Why?
That
Why did
is
they all
utter
love him?
bullshit.
Oh, it is?
That is utter bullshit. They
You
did
don't want
not
to
praise him. No.
pull up the clip.
Whoopi
Pull up the
Goldberg
clip.
did not pull.
Pull
I
up
can
the
pull
clip.
up the clip from
Yes.
today from The View.
No.
When
I don't care about
Whoopi
today.
called him out and said,
I don't care about
"Let's
today."
watch the clip." Yes, Barbara said, "My friend." Whoopi is literally sitting there giving him
Hugging.
side eye, doing things.
Yeah,
She
bullshit.
hugs and kisses him when he comes
Bullshit.
up. She's cordial. That's
Oh, okay.
fucking
Yep.
Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the Snyder people that want me to
Yeah,
go up to Snyder and say you're shit.
it is.
No,
It
that's
is. You're right.
fucking.
It is Hollywood because they're all fake and it's just a big act. It's just a
Yeah.
big act.
Guess what? It's a business. Because guess what? Trump doesn't fucking know when he's going to need Whoopi Goldberg. At least at that time, which, by the way, was 2011, not even when he was running for president, that Joe Rogan decides to bring that up. It was March of 2011 from that clip. That's when that clip was. March 2011, not 2013, not even close to when he was running. So that's the other thing. I mean, let's be honest. Trump was a businessman and a celebrity, and like all businessmen and celebrities, yeah, and everybody else, you keep good relationships, even if you don't like them. That's fucking Hollywood. That's That's any business. That's Trump in today with his businesses. He doesn't like
again,
people. But he knows he
everyone
needs
loved
their
him
money to
pre-election
make
until he
or
ran for
whatever.
president. Then he was the worst person in the world. And again, I don't think you can attribute what he thinks and believes truly, because whether you met him for 5 seconds, that doesn't do anything. There's no proof in there. There's nothing. The guy has done. He
The dude's,
employs
I didn't meet
probably
him for
the
5 seconds.
biggest.
He spent a week at our church in Las Vegas, and I was around him.
Okay. And who
It
did
was
he
more than 5
disparage in that week? Who? Who
Oh
was he
God!
racist towards? Who?
Every Democrat, every Hillary supporter, I mean, obviously, we
Okay,
had
I'm
people
not
leave our
talking about
church for
people
it.
that are political opponents that he's going to say, well, they're stupid and I don't like them. I'm talking about, you said he's a racist, this, he's Hitler. I want to know who in that week did he target any social group or any sort of ethnic group and say these people are bad? And I'm not
Now,
talking about illegal immigrants, so don't even go there and say, well, yeah, he said these people. No, I'm talking about real people. People here in America. When has he ever said anything bad about Americans of any color, race, or creed? Ever. Ever. They have him on tape saying he'll grab a chick by the pussy, but they don't have him on tape calling a black guy the N-word.
he's called Latino. Again,
He's
now I'm
called
not saying
Latinos what? What does he call
he's not.
Latinos?
He is not. And I'm not saying that he is officially racist or anything, but I think he's just completely ignorant. That's
Let him
one
be
thing for
ignorant.
sure.
I
I think
don't.
he's
That's
completely
fine. Then
ignorant.
he's ignorant.
And I think, yeah, that's fine. But at the same time too, that doesn't make it right or okay. Like, yeah, when you come out and act like all Latinos are fucking the worst thing ever and they're stealing
But
from the
if
country, doing this
okay,
and all that.
but if
But at
he
the same time,
says all
you got a
Latinos
bunch
are
of
doing that, why does he employ a lot of
exactly.
Latinos?
But at the same time, you're employing a bunch of them and you're doing all that.
Yeah.
Like, again, it's a very weird tactic of like, obviously, you're trying to get those people's votes. At the same time, you still manage to manipulate some Latinos into thinking that you're for them, which is wild to me.
So
Oh,
is he only
Latinos for
manipulating, or is she pandering to everybody as well?
how is she? Okay, there's a
What? So changing
where
accents based on where she's at.
she's not
Latin,
fucking changed. Oh my god. Okay,
she
so when I
changed.
go to Texas and I'm with my family and I'm going, you know what, y'all? I'll go ahead and take a country fried steak and some pancake. It's not a fucking shit. That's just how I am when I'm
Yeah,
around those
but
people.
you're
When
not
I'm with my
running for
Mexican
an office
family, and I'm
and making promises, though. That's the
okay,
difference.
so she's a normal person that does it, but because she's running
Nobody
for
does that,
office,
dude. Nobody fucking
I
does
just
that.
told you I did. So is that like
Oh my god. So that means everybody does that?
I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people that absolutely yes
That
have been around other
that start
ethnic
faking
groups or these
accents.
types of things, and when
That's
they're
stupid.
around them,
Yeah,
that's how they act. When I'm around
and
my
that's
Mexican family and stuff, I have a little bit of an accent. I talk a little bit differently. I do that.
you're
When I'm around my
Mexican.
fucking white family, I'm fucking white as fuck and all this other shit. Like again, when I'm with, like, I'm sorry, that's
Oh
just how it
god.
is. I mean, like, I don't
That is a
see the
horrible
issue.
defense. That's just
How is that a horrible
because
defense?
that's pandering. There's a
That's the
difference between
truth.
Trump going out and saying, I'm going to do
No,
this
it's
for you. I'm
called
going to lower your
creating
taxes.
an
I'm going to get you better
environment.
jobs. And her going, you better thank a union worker, y'all, for the 5-day work week. When she's in Pennsylvania, then when she goes in Detroit, puts her hood voice on, y'all better thank a union worker for your
Okay, so
5-day work
shocking
week.
that she's been around both. And can it,
Um,
like, I'm sorry, I don't
Dude,
see
it's
the big issue.
pathetic that she
Like,
has to resort to that because the point is she has
I
nothing.
think you're making it pathetic, and I think
No,
you're
I think it is
stretching it
pathetic.
into making this something that it's not. I'm
You're
sorry
telling me you're telling me if
if
she came
you've
to
been
Vegas
and
and she
you
started putting on a
know
Spanish accent, you'd be okay with that. You'd be fine
if she had some
because
Spanish roots, why the fuck not?
but
I'm
she
not
doesn't.
saying
We
that.
know
I'm
she's an
not saying,
Irish,
like,
Indian, fucking
okay,
Jamaican.
but
So what
again,
are we
we
doing?
know that she has roots in the South. We know she's had roots in Jamaica and all these other things. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's got a lot of diversity around her when she's around certain groups. That's who she is. I'm not
Yeah.
seeing the big issue here. Again,
I'm seeing the
I
big
do
issue
it.
because
I know a ton of
it's
other people
fake.
that do it.
It's
I mean,
fake.
maybe it's fake to you, but I think again, that's something
It's
that
fake
you're
to a lot of people, not just to
and
me.
that's
It's
something
fake to a
that
lot of people,
just like you're
even
saying
people
that
on the left.
I'm claiming that I know what some people like. You're claiming that you know what she's doing. That what I'm sorry, I don't think that's
Yes,
true.
because you could if you don't want to believe your own ears, I don't know what to tell you about that. That's on you. If you're going to listen to her and say, "Well, yeah, that's just how she talks," that's on you. If you can't hear
That's
the
how she
difference
talks
in
when she's
inflection,
around certain people. No, I hear it.
exactly.
But again,
And that's
when
stupid.
I'm in Texas and I'm around my certain
But
group
see,
of family where I'm ordering at a Texas
yes.
restaurant, doing
But
these types of
again,
things.
that's an example that makes no sense because you're not running and trying to get votes of certain people. You're not trying to get a certain group
I
to
think
like
the
you.
hyper fixation on not just her race, but on this stuff too it's just very weird. You don't see anybody like.
Well, here's the thing. You want to know why it's
criticizing
hyperfixated on stuff
Trump
like this?
for
Because
doing the same thing. I don't
nobody knows anything about this woman. Prior to this year of her being
know.
put, yes,
No, we know
nobody liked
plenty
her
about
prior
her.
to
We've got a bunch
what?
of Republican conspiracy theories now.
What Republican
That just like the
conspiracy
Obama
theories?
thing happened when
What?
he was doing that. Like,
What conspiracy theory is out there?
the fucking what's her face? Don't even make me bring it. Candace and the fucking grandma shit. I'm not even gonna fucking go there. Like all this other. She's not black. She's not Jamaican. She's not this. She's not that. It's who fucking cares?
People care.
Like,
People can spot. This is the thing, and you know this, and you can't even deny this. But people can recognize when people aren't being authentic, and when people are being pandering or fake or trying to
so where was
appease.
any of this stuff when she was running back in 2020 or in her years before as counselors and doing this and all that?
I'll tell you where it
Where
was.
was any of this?
What do you mean? It was up there. That's why she got 0 votes. 0.
It was
0.
up there. We were talking about all this.
Everybody talked about it. Yes, everybody talked
That,
about her
that
switching
she's a fake
positions,
black,
how
and
she's
she's this
extreme left.
extreme left.
Well,
And
here's
she
the
has
thing.
moderated. She has moderated herself, admittedly.
Well, she
and a
says
lot of
she had. No, she says she has. She
and a
hasn't
lot
shown
of
anything. She hasn't
a
shown
lot
anything
of
to prove
Dems
that.
have. A lot of Dems have. A
I
lot
think
of
that
Dems have. You still have an extremist group to worry
she
about.
was just asked. Hang on.
A
She
lot
was
of
just
Dems
asked
have.
about. She was just asked about abortion. Okay, the other day it was either with Anderson Cooper, or it was with, I believe it was the Anderson Cooper interview where she's asked about abortion, and she says she wants to reinstate Roe, and then she gets asked about abortion limits. What should be limits? And she can't answer the question. Doesn't give an answer. This is why people don't trust
The
her.
limits should be up to the fucking doctor. That's what the limit should be. Because guess what? If
Not
you're
really,
7
because
months into a pregnancy and your child starts to bleed out and die within you and all these other things, and you're going to die too, guess what you need? An abortion.
Yes, but that's
And
different.
that's what a lot of
But
people
that's
don't
different than
realize.
somebody going in late term and getting one.
This this whole thing that you're saying, the going in late term, maybe happens once in a blue moon.
How do we know?
But because we fucking know there are statistics and everything behind it. They don't have you coming in and getting an abortion every 7 months after you get pregnant, waiting that fucking long. Also, how many mothers do you actually think are waiting 7 to 9 months for their baby to go through all of that? 9 months of literal pregnancy, the pain, the nausea, all of these things are sitting there waiting to have their baby aborted until then. You really think that that's what they got pregnant for and all that? No, some sort of serious medical issue has happened.
Yeah,
and it's a devastating loss to the family.
It's not because of that. A lot of the medical issues too you contribute is
it is
on the
a lot.
baby itself. On the baby itself. People find out that, oh, I'm going to have a son with Down syndrome, or I'm going to have a son born with a disability, and that's why they end up having late-term abortions too. It's not always just cause, okay, well, I'm bleeding inside, I need it.
But at the same time, it's not always the other one either. And I would say it's more of the other case than it is the other. I really would.
If that's the case, then I don't think then the abortion issue shouldn't be an issue when it's up to the states.
It should be because it's a medical decision. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have to go to another fucking state if I'm a woman.
If they want to mandate something,
I'm at 7 months pregnant and I need to have an abortion to save my life, and the state goes, no, never mind. No, not in certain states, and not with Roe v. Wade, not installed. It's up to the states. With Roe v. Wade, and say it's a national decision. If your medical doctor says you need an abortion or any of those types of things, you can get a fucking abortion.
There is no law. There is no law that prevents a doctor from giving life-saving medical care.
There is. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
I believe there is not.
There is.
I don't believe so.
I can tell you in Arkansas and a couple other states there are. And it's shown. Women have almost lost their lives or have lost their lives because of it.
I don't think so.
That's that's the story. Those are the facts. Those are like I've heard the stories, I've watched, I've done the research, I've looked into it because I want to know how legitimate is that. It doesn't make sense to me that you can go to a doctor, and just get an
Here we
abortion
go.
every
Are you
3
ready?
months.
Arkansas law allows abortion in only one exception when it is necessary to save the life of the pregnant person. This is known as a medical emergency, which can include physical illness, injury, or disorder that endangers the pregnant person's life. Here are some other things about the abortion law. Doctors will perform abortions in Arkansas can face up to 10 years in prison and fines up to $100,000.
Yes, that's a big one.
Yes,
So you can
yes,
so okay, so you can save the mother and all that,
yes.
but you may lose your license. You may go to jail.
No, you
You may
don't.
fucking do that. So
No,
what
if you
kind of
just.
law is that when
Well,
one law
wait a minute.
literally
Hang on.
contradicts the other?
It doesn't contradict the other. I
It
can get
does.
no, their law is very specific. If it will save the life of the mother, you can do it. But if you're just committing abortions, then it's against their law. You're not unprotected from doing something that's allowed by law. Based on the other half are just performing abortions. If you're just going out there and the girl comes in, I'm 5 weeks pregnant, whatever the case, and I want an abortion, okay, I'll do it. Then you're subject to fines and penalties.
Texas as well has very strict abortion laws.
Yes, they're
Um,
strict, but that doesn't mean they're not going to save the life of a mother. That is absurd. And this is what I mean. Information like this that's being spouted out by her. If he could spout out information that affects people and makes people think certain things, so are hers. And if a girl in a state hears this, oh, my state won't allow me to get an abortion, they're not going to go seek help, and that's terrible.
okay, so Alabama, same thing, accepting
We went way
cases.
off of the.
We did.
But we'll get back to we'll circle back. We'll weave back, as Trump would say. We're doing the weave. It's all gonna tie in. Let me tell you about the weave. You gotta be a really smart guy to do the weave. Okay, you can't be stupid because if you try and weave and you're not a smart guy, you're gonna get lost. You're gonna be in no man's land. But a really smart person like me, because I know how to do the weave real well. I was taught really well about it. When I do the weave, I bring it. You always bring it back to where we started.
Indiana limited exceptions for rape, incest, and the health of the mother.
Which is perfectly. I'm all for that, and I
Um,
think most common sense people are. But I don't think there is a
but
state in the nation.
mainly banned.
Sure, because
Let's
they
see.
voted on it, which is about as much democratic process as you can get. I don't know why the party that's screaming about saving democracy gets pissed when democracy doesn't work for them. That kind of really makes no sense.
See, I just think this is this is not like a state type thing.
It is.
It's
It is. It should be up
a
to the people
national
because
thing.
it's not a
It's up
right.
to the
Abortion is not a right.
your medical health is though.
We're not
And
talking about
unfortunately,
exceptions. We're talking
it
about
falls
straight
into that.
abortions here, sir. We're not talking about the exceptions. We're talking about straight abortions and having an abortion for the sake of having one because of whatever the issue is, not because you were raped, not because of incest, and not because you're going to die if you don't get the baby out,
I mean,
but because
it's
of the
still
fact that
your
you
right.
it is not.
Before a lot of
Nope.
that's the other thing too. Yeah, and a lot of I'm sorry.
The government's sole
I
purpose is to protect our rights, which are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
right.
Life
The
being the
baby's
primary
hasn't
one.
started yet. It hasn't up until 6 weeks and so yeah, I do think an abortion up to a certain amount. I think it's like what 12.
Listen,
Whatever
if it wasn't a life, there wouldn't be certain states that allow a murderer who kills a pregnant person to be charged with double homicide.
That's the same. But unfortunately, science says different, and also that also depends.
What does science say?
When the mother is murdered at the state of the pregnancy, if she's murdered 9 months in, then yeah, you killed two people.
No, it doesn't have to be 9 months in.
8 months in, 6 months. Yeah, the baby is developing.
Once again, by all means, fact check me, but I'm pretty sure it's lower than that, sir. When they consider it to be double homicide,
it could
so
be.
Again,
but I'm saying like 3 months in, that baby's still developing. It's not, like. It's still an embryo, all these other things. So yeah, I think there's.
And what would be so
there's
again?
rights
What
that's
is
part of America?
why is it a right? Why is it a right for somebody to get pregnant and then be like, okay, well, I'm 3 months in and I don't want it no more? What right is that? What right is that?
It's her body. she's the one in charge of. She's the one
But
giving birth. She's the one
did
doing
she
it.
allow herself to get
Baby ha-
pregnant though?
The
Did she
baby
tell
has
the
not
guy that it's
developed.
okay not to use a condom?
Not
Again,
always.
it's not it is not an option for making dumb decisions. It is a medical procedure that is necessary in certain instances, not because you let Johnny be anybody come inside you. I'm sorry.
Sure. At the same time, Johnny be anybody didn't necessarily have to don't like that's the thing. There are exceptions. There are a lot of
And guess what?
situations
Then make
where
a penalty for him. I could care less. But again, I'm not. I
that would be
can't.
great. But what's the penalty? I mean, okay, so then he goes to jail, and fatherless child is left to, with mom to carry all the
There is
expenses.
there
She's
is no child because the point is he'd
like,
be fined because he allowed the abortion to happen or wanted it. There is no child. They're not having the child. That's why there would be a penalty.
okay.
I'm not saying she has
I
to.
see what you're saying.
I would listen.
Yeah.
I'm never saying, and I want to make this clear. I'm never saying that a woman who's raped or who has incest issues with their family or who has a medical emergency.
I'm not even saying rape. We have people that just guys them. Oh, okay. Shit.
Yes, but
You
again,
know, like,
that's not an excuse, though. They're really, to me, anyways. I know people are different on this subject, and it's a touchy subject because I understand. Yes, a woman's body is a thing. At the same time, if you're going to sit here and say my body, my choice, okay, well, you made the choice to let the guy do whatever inside you, but you also want to make the choice not to accept the consequences. And it all leads into there's just no
but again, if
responsibility
that
taken.
choice was consensually before, you're not going to
Wait, say that
come.
again because
You're not.
you broke up on
Yeah.
the last part.
Was if that choice was you're not going to come in me, and then homeboy decides to come in her, and it's not even like a rape thing or anything because they consensualized to having sex in the first place.
Still her fault.
It's her fault.
Yeah, it's both of their faults, but she's still an idiot for believing him. I'm not gonna listen. You can't just brush off blame because I'm a girl and he said he wouldn't. Like fucking idiot. Come on. It's 2024. This isn't 1806, and we're learning this for the first time. Oh shit, he lied. He told me he was gonna pull out, and he didn't. Like, dude, please. With the way kids are today, I don't want to hear that. Everybody's an OnlyFan model. We know people know what's going on. That's not an excuse to do that. And I'm not even that much of a religious person, and I don't even base this off a religious thing. I just think it's a common sense thing, to be honest.
I don't think it's her fault if that mutual consent is there and all that, and then homeboy just decides to come in her anyways and go. How is that her fault? How is she gonna push him off while he's fucking thrusting?
She doesn't need to push him off. Like, she should have said no to begin with.
Why, if it was consensualized, they both went, yeah, I'm not going to do. I'm going to do this or blah blah blah, or I'll pull out.
Because if you're somebody who's extremely fertile, either tell him to wrap it up or tell him not today or fucking swallow. I don't know what to tell you, because
wrap it up.
Just because you make bad decisions doesn't mean you just really get to erase the board and start all over again and do the same thing over and over and over.
I do get real quick. I do want to acknowledge the chat.
Please acknowledge the chat. I know we've both been rambling, going off here. We're about to hit our 3-hour mark. We got way.
I didn't even realize we're at the 3-hour mark, and we barely tapped the ramble.
Well, I mean, we got. I think we got good conversation and debates going here. I know we're kind of all over the place, but
that's all right. That's what I like.
But you know what? That's kind of how the last 2 weeks of the news cycle has been. We're all over the place here. There's so many different stories that we're all getting hit with that it's crazy.
All right, the name from Glendor, the name of the trash pile in the ocean is Puerto Rico.
Thank you.
I mean, yes. Again, there's no kind. You didn't mention anything about recycling and all these other things. Like, again, we know there are actual piles. I went and looked at the pictures today just because I thought, am I crazy? There are literal island-sized piles of trash in the ocean. Nowhere near Puerto Rico.
Yeah, but if somebody said there's a landfill continent floating that's stuck in the middle of the ocean with two continents stuck on top and bottom, and it's called the United States, nobody here is going to be offended.
But at the same time, well, I'm sure. First of all, I'm sure some people would know in America, but at the same time, with context and some other things, sure. But again, this just came out of nowhere. Now you come in and go Man, Americans, we've gotten a lot better in recycling in the last few years. But let me tell you who hasn't. Puerto Rico. And then pull up just a picture of the fucking. Literally do something like that. There's
Come on,
context there.
you
There's
know
a thing.
that's
Now it's
comedy
just
works best when you don't have to explain it.
not always. No, it doesn't.
Yes.
No, it does not. It
The
does
joke,
not.
the joke, I don't think would have had any flow if he was like, if he did that. If you have to
Why?
tell
He did
people,
it with every other joke. He does it with every other joke. That's what I'm saying. It was off for Tony, and that I'm not sure if it wasn't scripted or whatever the hell was happening there, but it didn't feel even a part of the set. Everything else had context and story and build up and all these other things, and this was
Well-
just kind of like, okay.
well, what context did the Palestinian and Israel joke have?
The hilarity behind what Republicans and lefts will make out of it. His whole thing
Well,
was
no, I'm just saying he
the-
didn't have a setup to that. He just said we need to tell them to stop. Best out of
right,
3, rock paper scissors.
and that wasn't the
Palestinians
okay,
are just
that
we know they're
was
just going
funny.
to throw rocks.
That was funny because
And
Palestinians
Israelis don't like to throw money. So I mean, like, what's
Again,
what's the difference?
there's some
There's no difference.
setup there at least.
What's setup?
Literally, you just said it, or not even setup, but context. There's context there. At least he says it. Palestinians, they're used to throwing rock. Okay, that's funny. They don't have the regular Palestinian people not very technologically advanced compared to Israel and stuff. And then Israel is just going to worry about the money. A Jew joke. Okay, context there and everything behind that issue and everything. Again, who the fuck was talking about Puerto Rico before any of this?
Listen, I think and this is what I'm going to say because I think that's the point. Nobody was talking about Puerto Rico prior to this. Nobody's been talking about Puerto Rico since Hurricane Maria. Okay, I think we could agree on that part. Nobody's mentioned Puerto Rico. Nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit about Puerto Rico, to be honest with you, until yesterday. Then now everybody cares about it because, oh my God, somebody said something about it. But again, I don't think even if the joke bombs, it's fine. But all the other jokes are just as bad, whether they have context or not. They're still in line with that. And just because he called Puerto Rico a floating island of trash, which again, they do have a trash problem. Do we? Yes, but you know what? They've been having a trash problem for the last 8 years, and it's been a big deal because it's weighing down, literally weighing down, not weighing down by sinking their island, but weighing them down economically as far as hurting them, and it's hurting their people.
It's not okay. You're saying that though, okay. That's the other thing. Talking to my Puerto Rican friends, it's not. This whole thing that this is this over exaggerated Republican thing.
It's not over exaggerated.
People act like my Puerto Rican friends are really going. Puerto Rico is a beautiful place. We go there all the time.
Sure.
We love our country. All these other things.
So it's New York City, but
are
it's also a
there
shithole.
issues? Sure, but at the same time, the way that you're making it out to be, this island of trash, stay away, blah blah blah. It's
he didn't say that. He didn't say stay away, did he?
No, but I mean, come on.
Exactly.
The way they say there's a floating island of trash. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay, and then you come out an hour later and go, "I love Puerto Rico. I have vacation there." And the fuck? Why did you say that?
I don't think he should have said that. That's his fault. I disagree with him on that because that's a really bitch move, and he should. That's what he said. He 100% should know better as well. He should know better.
That's what.
So I'll get pissed at him. I'll get pissed at him for that all day, but I'm not going to be upset because he told a Puerto Rico joke. Not even about Puerto Ricans, but just about the island and the trash itself.
He's about 50-50 with Latinos.
I would say no. Don't say 50-50.
Yeah, I would say there's a bit more for Harris. I would say there's a bit more.
No.
Absolutely.
No.
Absolutely. You have his Trumpers and Latinos that have been with Trump for literally past 8 years. And those guys aren't going away. They're not going to shake or do any of those types of things and blah blah blah. But you have a ton of Latinos for Harris as well.
Not as many as he's got, I'm telling you. Listen,
if you're looking at honest polling, then you're saying
yes, honest polling. They're not tied when he is leading her in every demographic except one, which is women. He's also leading her on every issue except one, which is abortion. Hard facts. Those come from CNN. CNN will tell you that. CNN, like they said, they told you that her
I
interview
know
was.
she's having an issue with blacks.
She's
I
having a
know that.
lot of issues, sir. A lot. That is the problem. And it's frustrating, even on my end, to watch it because it all goes back to people not knowing her not answering direct fucking questions about the economy, about immigration, about anything. People are seeing past it. You know, her the joy in that party is absolutely gone, by the way. I don't know where that went, but that's gone. Okay. She wants to talk about him being unhinged. Her last 5 rallies that I watched, she's standing behind the podium doing the Hillary thing, screaming and yelling, he shouldn't be allowed behind this podium ever again. Nobody likes that. And you know who it turns off, especially when people do that? Men. Nobody wants to get berated. Nobody wants to hear that shit, especially men. Unless you're a white dude for Harris who's watching his girlfriend get screwed. Then
So
you'll take
again,
that
it's
abuse.
pretty okay. Okay, so again, it's pretty tied. Trump's
Who
at
do we got?
44%
Where are you looking at?
with Latino men. Reuters. It's a non-biased,
Routers?
not yeah. Um, so Trump is at 44% with Latinos. I'm sorry, she's at 44% with Latinos.
Mm-hmm.
He's at
Okay.
46.
Okay, so he's leading in that,
It's at 2%. Yeah, 2% lead.
which is a big lead, sure.
2%'s a big lead.
Yes, compare it to 2020. That's why. At this time,
Uh,
2020, he was down in all of these polls.
Glinder, if their country is so good, why do they immigrate?
Hey, I
Why
made
do
that.
us?
You're
Why
late. I
do?
tried making that argument
But
already.
also, okay, why do Australians come here? Why do Canadians come here? Why do people from all over the world come here? So is Australia shit too? Like, I don't get. Like, no,
Well,
people.
wait.
There are reasons, whether
Well,
it's
wait.
business opportunity, whether it's all these things. But that doesn't mean that their country is shit and that they don't want to be there or they don't have pride or that like.
True, but that could be
I
their
just don't.
perception, though. They could perceive their country in certain aspects as being bad, which is why they come here. Which is why a lot of
For
Indian
certain
people
reasons,
immigrate
again,
over here to be medical doctors here because you get better money here than you do
for
there.
certain reasons, but again, too, like again, the only reason my friend immigrated here is to join the Olympic rowing team at Harvard
Exactly,
because
because they
that's
don't
the big
have that
team
there.
that goes to the Olympics and all that type of stuff.
Yes,
Exactly, yeah. Okay, yeah. Just like I would leave Las Vegas if given the opportunity to go to
sure.
some LA or New York Film School or Academy or any of those types of things because that's where I'm going to
Absolutely.
get
Because
the
they don't
opportunity.
have that in Las Vegas. And in that aspect, it's a little bit shittier than New York when it comes to the fact of
But that
having
doesn't
better film
no.
schools.
But let me tell you something. I would much rather live in Las Vegas, where it's
Well,
cheaper,
sure.
where things are open
Yeah.
24/7, and all these other things.
Sure.
Like that doesn't
Wait,
mean I'm gonna have to
because
not
New
have to
York
make
is
it.
shittier when it comes to economic policy.
Guess what?
It
These
goes
people
both
didn't
ways.
always like leaving Puerto Rico and adjusting to coming here and do, but they came here for one specific or whatever. Like I'm not seeing like that as the reason of like, oh yeah, your country's shit. They had to leave. Like I don't. That's not. They
Technically,
have
I
plenty
don't
of
think it's fair to
businesses
say
there.
that
They
they
have
emigrate since they are in American territory, to be honest. They don't get
true.
any
Yeah, they don't even immigrate.
electoral votes. They can't vote in Puerto Rico for the presidency. But obviously, Puerto Ricans in the country can vote. Um, so I think it might be unfair to call them to say they emigrate. I think it
Yeah, they just move. They
yeah
just move to a
they
different
they
state.
move for a vast variety of reasons, and I will say that they move because the reasons are that a certain aspect of life in that country is shit compared to what they could get here. Same thing here. There's certain
It isn't
aspects of
as
my
good.
state that are shit that I would have better with in other like yours. Again, it's
But it isn't
financially
as
crippling
good
for me
in
to be here.
one area. Like it isn't as good in one area, but that doesn't mean like again, you guys are assuming that like they just left because it's shit and they knew it was better. And like that's not the case. This isn't a fucking Mexico, Mexicans coming to America type situation. It's not that. It's not that at all.
No, it's not
Or
that, and
other countries like
that's why I say I don't think immigrate is the proper term because now that it is a U.S. territory, they just kind of come in. They can come and go as they please. They're not even coming in. They're just doing whatever and come and go as they please. It don't matter.
Bradley says, if you lived in a country with an issue and some edgy comedian says a cringy joke in front of a shit ton of people, meanwhile doing nothing to spread awareness about it other than making fun of it, you'd probably get upset if it directly affected you or it felt it was incentive and did nothing to spread actual information. That's not
I
wrong.
can
And
I
that's
can
where my
understand
Puerto
that.
Ricans are coming from, where it
Okay,
was kind of like,
okay.
okay, there are issues, but like, why not? Like, and again, no like lead up, no. There was no set like on Puerto Rico or the other issues going on there or anything. Like, it was just that. And then move on. And it was like, okay, I guess. I don't see. And the audience obviously responded. Even Vivek, it was funny, even seeing Vivek Ramaswamy come out today and go like, yeah, no, it wasn't funny. It didn't work and all that type of stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Like, you know, so even the Trump campaign distanced themselves from it. Like, it was not a good look for him to do that at a campaign rally. Again, if this is his Kill Tony event at the MSG, you know, a little bit of a different circumstance and different thing. This is not that. Let's see. That's not what he said at Monica's that day. He literally said everyone in America is important. Right, like he believes that.
You can't say that he doesn't, though. How can you say
proven.
that? How is he?
He's
proven?
literally by literally telling his richest friends and all these other people, I'm going to give you guys tax cuts. Yeah, you guys are the hard work. You guys are the fucking like.
What are you talking about? We're all getting tax cuts, sir.
Not care. We're getting taxed. Oh no!
Yes,
you are
every
not
tax.
getting taxed, buddy.
Yes, we are. Every tax bracket is getting lowered.
With those tariffs, we ain't getting any tariffs.
Yes,
okay.
with those tariffs. Yes,
we'll
even
be
with
paying.
Tariffs, it doesn't matter.
No, not with those tariffs. There is
with
nothing
tariffs.
good about those tariffs. I can literally tell you almost every accountant, a person that has gone to school for accounting, can look at those tariffs, and go, bad.
It's not bad.
Bad.
It's not
all
bad.
Not Send bad. Us down the fucking drain, bad.
Not bad like, at all. Nope, not bad at all.
Very bad.
Not
and
bad
these are people that, have gone to, I know quite a few accountants that have gone, that have asked them.
That's fine.
Like,
an accountant. I don't know how an accountant, why that translates into tariff, learning about tariffs. How many accountants are out there putting tariffs on things? None. I don't see how an accountant's opinion on a tariff even comes into play here. I don't want to hear an accountant's opinion who works on somebody's checking book and makes sure they have money.
To school for math and to look at other things. And by the way, it's not just, these are not, let's say that you think an accountant going to school is just for a regular accountant firm. No. They learn a lot. They learn to work in government. They learn to work in all of these things. So absolutely, accounting has a massive, and people in accounting have massive knowledge of what this is. 100%.
I don't think it's 100%. I don't think every accountant studies
I can ask my brother, who's been going to school for the past 5 years on accounting, has
so for
looked
5
at these
years he's been learning about,
and has also been asked by the government to work for them, because the government is looking for college students in accounting to work for them.
So did he say yes? Did he jump ship? Did he go?
No, he's not. Well, first of all, he wasn't voting in the first place.
No, I don't mean voting. Did he take the offer?
No, he didn't take the offer.
Why?
Because he's got a family and he doesn't. There are details I can't give out.
Sure.
But he's got a family. He doesn't want to be away from them. He's got two girls and all that. He's got his own business and other things, and he wants to do something where he's around for them. He wants to be their parent, father.
And working at a federal government job wouldn't be securing your family's future?
Nope. He wouldn't be. Okay, sure, he'd secure it. Yeah, great money. Absolutely. Phenomenal money. He wouldn't be there. You never see his kids. And for him, that's
why
not...
the accountants have to work 100 hours a week? Like it really doesn't make any sense here.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you should maybe look into some more of what accountants do for the government, because it's a lot. It's not...
A government accountant is different than a civilian accountant who is just keeping books for people. And I highly doubt that every accountant has to go through learning about tariffs that they're never going to fucking
You do have to go through learning a lot. And also, he's gone through extra schooling. So at the same time...
Okay, so he went through extra schooling. But again, if I go for a business degree, nobody's going to say, okay, now here comes the time where we study
No, but you have a basic understanding of that if you're an accountant. Even you don't have to go to the fucking schooling. You know that when you fucking tax people and tax other countries and raise it to a price where it's unfucking deniable, it's going to affect us. You really don't think that the other countries aren't going to take offense to it and not do shit? They're just going to sit there and take it? I mean, come on.
What are they going to tax us?
There's a lot of common sense here, too, that needs to be just put together. Like, these accountants are also in business, and they understand business. So they know you go and tax China 200% tariffs, all these other fucking ridiculous... People like Mark Cuban, who fucking deals with this every day, are coming out.
He already came out and said he's trying to get a seat on the SEC.
Just like Elon.
He says he looks like Rachel Maddow.
Where's the double standard? Because Elon's saying the same thing. I'm out here trying to get on the fucking cabinet and get his economy, whatever fucking like watchdog tower of the economy or whatever he wants type thing.
Yes,
so he's in it for a
needs to be done.
position too. There's so you cannot call out Mark Cuban
Absolutely
for doing
can.
that when Elon Musk is doing the same exact thing.
He's not doing. He's not trying to get on the.
He's
not trying to run the SEC.
No,
That's a
he is
big
trying
difference.
to. Are you kidding me?
He's trying to make a government oversight.
He wants to be appointed by Trump. He has said it over and
For
over.
what though?
Trump
For what? For what position?
For the fucking fixing or watchdog. I can't remember.
For government oversight and spending, which is a big difference than somebody saying, if I thumb for you, I'm going to be the head of the SEC.
That is a government position. He is
not
doing this
you know what? It's not, because that position doesn't exist yet.
Exactly, and Trump has said several times, I'm going to make it one.
Yes.
That's what he's going to do. I'm going to make another one for RFK. I'm sorry, why are we giving shit to Mark Cuban, who's coming out with facts as a businessman, telling us, hey, here's what happens with tariffs and in business and all these other things. By the way, I'll help. And also, funny enough, we can call out Mark Cuban all we want, but he has sat down and said, yeah, if Trump gets elected, I'll help him too when he calls. I did it before, I'll do it again.
But
you
Trump
don't hear
won't
that shit from Elon Musk. You hear him going like, oh, fuck them. Stay away, blah, blah, blah. He's awesome. So I'm sorry,
he didn't help Buttigieg?
Cannot compare the two.
Wait, he didn't work with Buttigieg during the floods?
Oh, yeah, he worked with Buttigieg. You think he's going to fucking work with Kamala? Are you crazy?
Why would he work with Kamala when she has no intent on putting Elon Musk anywhere in her case? Why would she do that?
Why would Mark Cuban work with Donald Trump when they fucking hate each other? But when Donald Trump called him in 2020 and said, help me with this, Cuban was there because America first. That's the fucking point. Is those people on the left give them all the shit they want? They're America first. The people on the right aren't. Elon doesn't give a fuck what happens to America
first. America first. How much money have we sent to Ukraine? How much of our tax dollars have gone?
You think
How
Elon
many
Musk
homeless do we
cares
have?
what happens to America if Kamala Harris gets president? You think he would step in and go, hey, Kamala, I'll help you with this? You really think he would step up to that? He's shown that. He's shown that in this past year. That he would help people? Yeah. He's helped anybody help the other side like that while he's calling the other side this and that. He's saying all these wild things. I mean, I'm not even going to go through Elon's Twitter because the man is actually mentally has some mental issues. Okay, yeah, he's got smartest and one of the most wealthiest people. Oh, congratulations! You parallel parked a rocket. Good fucking job. Are you kidding me? And you didn't even fucking come up with the idea that have done nothing besides strand two people on a space station. He didn't even come up with how to do it. He hired the people who came up with how to do it. So did Bill. So he's got no fucking smarts in the first place. Okay, he just knows how to hire the right people. So then Steve Jobs is a complete fucking idiot. So then Steve Jobs is a complete fucking idiot because he didn't build anything himself. Steve Jobs actually sat in his garage building something. Elon Musk didn't build anything. He built nothing. No. He sat in his garage. Steve Wozniak built the board. Steve Wozniak built the board, not him. Yeah, he built nothing. Guess he was an idea guy, just like Elon. Same thing. It's still more than Elon. No, it's not. It's still more than Elon. How is that Steve Jobs still did more with his hands than Elon has ever done in his entire life. No, he didn't. Absolutely. That is 100% a lie, sir. That is a lie. How so? Where did Elon start? Because he was an idea guy. Elon literally came here. First of all, illegally. Then he got his permit while he was already working illegally. Hey, but you don't care about... Wait, I thought you didn't care. We're a country of immigrants, though, right? So again, you're only saying this because he's just sided with Trump. I am saying it... Yes, you're saying it because he's siding with Trump. I'm saying it because he decided to go after all these things. But guess what? I still agree with my thing. And Elon has contributed a lot to our economy. We wouldn't be where we are without Elon Musk and all that stuff. So I give him that. The only space program we actually have really going is with him. Fuck is he out NASA hasn't done anything in decades. All these other people when he was in the same boat. He wasn't a criminal. He wasn't the worst of the worst. He came here seeking asylum. This is what I mean. Nobody is talking about those people.
Nobody is except you guys. You guys want to bring these people into the conversation when nobody's talking about the contributors. We're talking about the people who aren't contributing, the people who are criminals, the people who are
Yeah.
leeching off the system, the
And
people
guess
who are
what?
taking away
Those
shit from
people
other
are
people that
lesser
deserve
than the
it.
people that are contributing. It's still a problem, but you guys on the right want to make it exaggeration and make it like they're taking over our country. We're losing all this fucking this and this and that. What?
When 20,000
When you have
immigrants
more
get dumped in a
immigrants that
fucking
are
city
contributing
of
to
50
our
or
country,
60,000, that is an issue, sir. Legal
and
or
yet
not.
you have more of them contributing to our country and economy than some of our own Americans, it's a double like
No, I'm
we've got to
sorry, but
look at it
no.
a lot
No.
deeper than this
Immigrants
just kind
coming
of
over
they're
here
all
and
bad.
taking benefits from people like Medicare and food stamps and cash, that isn't contributing. That's not a contributing factor. Being given the handouts and the
Yes, I
entitlements that
agree.
people
Yeah,
of
they
this
should
country have actually deserve and earn.
exactly.
There's a
We need
big
to look
difference
out
there.
exactly. We need
So,
to look out
and
for our
again,
own and do all that first. But at the same time, again, that's not what I'm talking about. I do agree that yeah, we have to look out for our own first and do all that. It's the idea that these people are coming here and they're just taking and taking. They're not giving anything. They're just the worst of the worst. They're all of this and blah blah. It's this rhetoric.
well, they certainly haven't been sending the best of the best.
I agree. They haven't been sending all their worst either.
Yes, they
Because if
have.
they had, we'd be
A lot of
fucked
countries have
by
been
now.
dumping their worst people here. Okay, when military-aged men are the ones that are coming over, and not women, children, and a whole fucking bunch of families, that is an issue. That is an issue.
Is it?
Yes, that is a big issue. Because if you
Sometimes, but
honestly believe,
what if
if
those
you honestly
military-aged
believe,
men are coming here to work, get their money, and send it back to their families where they're at? So it's
again,
not always.
you're
Again,
talking about them. We're
we
not
are
talking about
now.
them. We are focused on the people who aren't doing that. That's what the conversation is
We
about. The people who
already
aren't
we're
doing that.
we can't have this conversation
We
without
can.
going into the deeper parts of
The deep,
all of that.
but
Like
the
we
people who
can't
are
bunch them
contributing,
all
who are
together.
here legally and who went through the proper legal vetting process to become citizens of this country, nobody's talking about them. Nobody. We're talking about the people who are coming over here, either sneaking over the border. Okay, are you going to deny that Venezuela gangs have taken over 5 apartment complexes in Aurora, Colorado? And you're going to sit here and tell me that they're sending their best? I don't think so.
Yeah,
Sir.
I will deny that. Yep.
What do you mean? How would you deny
5
that when the
Venezuelan
mayor even
gangs
said?
have not taken over 5 apartment complexes.
Yes, they have. In
A
Aurora, Colorado.
couple of them have, yes, but 5 and all that. Again,
So now you're. It's
exaggerated.
5. It's 5. It's not a couple. It's 5. So you're okay with that. You're okay with that. Whether it's 5 or a couple, you're okay because it's not 5.
No,
If it was 5, you'd be
I'm not
upset with
okay
it. But
with any
because
of
it's only 2, it's okay. That is such a wacky argument to make. We're gonna look away from the bad shit that these people are doing because there's a few good ones coming in and contributing.
No, they
But
need to be dealt with as well. But at the same time, I'm sorry, I don't. And in fact, a lot of the statistics show that majority are coming here and doing good things. We do have a problem with bad people and all those types of things. And yes, they need to be taken care of. Our immigration system needs to be reworked to look at that and all those types of things. But the majority
nobody's talking
are
about
coming
throwing
here
out the good people. Nobody.
and helping out and contributing.
Good.
And
That's great.
statistics
But
show
then
that.
they're the ones that aren't. They're the ones that are taking over apartment complexes.
Sure,
They're the
they
ones
give
that
a
are
bad name to
terrorizing
the rest.
communities.
But
and
I can't
doing
sit
shit.
here and then go, yeah, they're all this and they're all that.
Nobody's
they're all
telling
doing
you to
this.
say that.
Like,
That's the thing. You keep jumping to
no,
that. You
the
keep making
right
a
is
blanket that
saying
it's got to be. No, they're not.
they
The right has
are.
been
They
saying
say
the same
all
thing
the
for the last 4
time. They're
years.
sending their worst. They're doing
Yes.
this. They're a bunch of thieves and rapists and this
Yes.
and that. Like, I mean, that like, okay,
Yes,
so are a bunch
because-
of white people. So are a bunch
Because
of
that's
this and
yes,
that. Like,
because
why
that's
are
the
we being
problem, though,
singled
Austin.
at? Like,
You don't need to talk about the good ones because they're not doing anything bad. And he's not.
no, I'm
And,
saying,
and
yeah,
nobody's
I'm
saying
that,
all
but
these
I'm
people are
saying,
the
why
worst,
are
but
we
they're saying.
singling? But why are we singling this group out when we know it's the same pretty much amongst all the groups? Like we're trying to blame one as being worse
Because
than the
these
other
are
when we all
non-citizens coming over and
got bad
causing
seeds
issues
and
for
bad
American
apples.
people. That's why it's an issue. If every single one was coming over here and contributing, nobody would have a damn thing to say.
Sure,
Nobody.
but that was
If
never
peop-
going to happen in the first place.
Exactly. So when somebody says we need to get rid of these immigrants that are coming over illegally because they're sending us our worst, you're just saying, well, that's everybody. He's talking about everybody. No, they're being very specific on who they want out and who can stay in. And to make it seem like it's more than what it is, it's dishonest.
I
It
would say
is.
so because Trump's rhetoric about Mexico and everything in general has not been like the best, unless he's
I'm
around a
sorry.
bunch of
Are there
Latinos.
not cartels currently in Mexico that are causing absolute fucking
Sure,
havoc? Okay.
absolutely.
That's who he's talking about. Did he say the nice Mexican guy who will come up and be a farmer is a fucking asshole and needs to go? No.
No, but
No.
let's be
You're
honest. Do
making
you
it
really think
blanket.
he
You
thinks?
guys on the left like to make everything he says a blanket statement towards everything. He said this guy was an idiot, so he thinks all these people are stupid. He said Mexico's not sending us their best, so he thinks every Mexican is horrible. Like, you can't just do that. You
Well, when
can't.
you put it that way, you're not being specific. Going like, "Hey, we've got a lot of great Mexicans here. We've got a lot of people that work for a country that are great people, but we've also got an issue with it." He doesn't say those things. He
Oh, but
decides
if you
to
can't
fall into
infer that,
to
if you need
fall
somebody to
over the
take your hand and walk you through their entire thought process of, well, this is why I'm saying this and this, come on, we're all adults. We all can make up our own mind, and we can listen to something and go, okay, I think he's talking
Sure,
about this.
I
But to just
can,
be
but at
like,
the same
well, he
time, why
said
doesn't
that,
he
so
do
it
it with
means
white
this.
people and go, "We've got a lot of we got a lot of bad white people. They're racist and they're rapists and they're killers and school
Which
shooters and this
he
and that."
literally,
And
he
he never
literally has
does.
said. What do
Never
you mean
hear
he
him say
doesn't?
it.
What do
When
you
have you
mean?
heard him say? I would when.
When he literally got on TV and said that he condemned white nationalists and the fucking neo-Nazis at the fucking rally in wherever the fuck that was. I can't even think right now because we're
4
3 hours
years
in.
into his presidency, at the
What
like,
do you mean? That was
dude,
the day
like
it happened. What are you talking about?
again, yeah, at the insurrection with the fucking January
Not,
6th. Yeah, he's
no,
like,
not
I
the
just let
January
him off
6th. I'm
the
not talking
like,
about January 6th. He condemned the white nationalists that were the Tiki Torch people, wherever the fuck that was. The one where everybody tries to make the claim he said white nationalists, they had good people on both sides. That
that
bullshit.
was I thought that was 6th. Yeah, that was January
That
6th.
wasn't January 6th. That was why do I keep wanting to say Scottsville? Not
Oh,
Scottsville.
okay, yeah, you're right. It was a press conference where he said there were. It
Yes.
was after. Was it after January 6th?
No, that was his first year. That was way before. I think that was in his first or coming to the last. That was before J6. That was way before J6, I think. What fucking sense
I
is
do
this?
know, I do know what you're talking about. I do know because I
Yes.
remember him saying, "Yeah, I know what you're talking about." I'm
Yeah.
just trying to
So he
put the
has
time.
said that. He has condemned people that need to be condemned, and he has given credit to people that need to be given credit. But to just be like, well, because he said these Mexicans are bad, he must mean all of them. That's just propaganda bullshit that the news spits out. And it's no different when Kamala or Joe Biden said, well, I'm not going to use him as an example. But when she says something in the right, and Fox News, well, she means this. You could say that, fine, but it's not. You can't attribute it to be 100% fact. And again, a lot of people listen to him, and a lot of people appreciate the fact that he's just direct and that he will say some wild shit
Right.
because it's not politically correct, and it's not might not be scripted or a soundbite. He's saying these things crazy as they could be, and like Joe Rogan said, that's why people hopped on his train
Sure.
because he will say this crazy shit. And you know what? It works. And I think specifically with to get back to the fucking topic that we originally started on here, which was Tony Hinchcliffe.
Yeah.
I think that is, I think in a way, and I can't fully say this because I don't know, but in my mind, anyways, in my delusion, I feel that this was purposely done for the fact that this is literally going to be the only thing they talk about between now and election day. They're not
No,
going to
I
hit
think that.
policy.
No, I think
They're
they'll definitely talk about it. But at the same time,
And I think that's going to turn off a lot of people because when you keep saying this guy's Hitler, they're having a Hitler rally, it tends to turn people off. It really does. The
yeah,
only
but
people
well,
that are going to
also
jump for it are
when the
people
guy
on the
is
left.
saying he admires Hitler for the
He never said
loyalty
that was
that
already
people had.
disproved. That was
No,
disproved.
he
Yes, it
said he
was.
admired Hitler for the loyalty that he didn't disagree with it, but he
That was
admired
disproved.
for the
Same
way
thing with
people.
the story last week where they said he admired the generals. That was disproved.
Right? Yeah.
Same with the story last week where they said he disparaged a Latino family by saying it doesn't cost 60 grand to bury a fucking Mexican, and the family immediately came out and said, yeah, he didn't say that. And he paid for everything
Right.
and treated us great. So again, he can't be racist. You can't call the guy racist and all this when he's doing stuff like that. Not to mention today it was just released. He didn't even say this. The person interviewing had to say this at his town hall, that he actually himself invested $7 million into a charity for hurricane relief. Now that's
No.
not being printed in the news. What do you mean? This is what I'm saying. This is. Listen, I hope people are paying attention to this when they watch this, because this is the thing. When the guy does something great, it's a whatever, fuck him. When he does one thing that people disagree with, it's the biggest news story of the year. When this bitch, who has fucked up the economy and the fucking border and pretty much everything right now, does anything, they suck her asshole. But when she does the bad shit, you're not allowed to talk about it. It's not good. But this guy can't do anything good because he's just trying to get attention, or it's just to feed his ego. It's such
the same
bullshit.
could be.
It really is.
Republicans do the same thing with her. Anytime she does something good or tries to be normal, it's just for an act or it's this or that. Like,
because here's the thing. Because
they do
people
the same
can see
thing,
through that.
like,
You can see through her
I can see through his. That's why.
What do you see through with him donating $7 million to hurricane relief as opposed to the $750 our federal government has given these people?
It's a look. He's obviously trying to say, "Hey,
how
look,
is it a look
I
if it was
care
if he
before
did
the
that, if it was unreported? It's not like he came out and said this. He didn't come
Yeah,
out boosting. I raised $7 million. He
really?
didn't even
Oh
boost
my
about the
gosh.
GoFundMe that he did.
He doesn't need to. You think reporters aren't going to look for that and do that type of thing? He already knows. He's not stupid. Like, that's the other thing. People tend to think that, like,
So have you
okay,
seen that
because
story
I
going
don't
around
like
today?
Trump.
Because I haven't, other than I had to watch the town hall to hear it. Because it
No,
wasn't
and
a
I
story
don't
printed
fucking-
anywhere.
And I'll be honest, I don't care. It doesn't do anything for me. Anybody, you know how many rich people donate to something when a tragedy happens? Like,
Okay.
okay,
How much did Kamala donate?
cool. Like, I don't know. She's part of the. I don't care. I don't care how much either of them donated. That doesn't. Their donations don't prove to me that they care.
So then she doesn't care about the American people.
I never said that. Okay.
No, I'm saying that. I'm saying that. Because if you could say that he doesn't care and he's only doing, I'm going to say that she does. She obviously doesn't care. She gave him $750 and just ran the fuck away. Hasn't been back since. Hasn't been back since.
I agree.
Had a chance in Texas when she was down there to apologize for the open border policies that allowed the 12-year-old to get killed by 2 illegal immigrants. Never mentioned it. Never said a thing. Not a fucking thing. Disgraceful. Disgraceful this lady is. Yet he was able to have the family at his rally. Fucking funny how that is. And again, he gets no credit when he does good, but he gets all the shit when he does bad.
Shit that you call out Kamala for. It's all a political stunt.
No, I don't think a lot of these things. There's something.
I see it on the left.
McDonald's is a political stunt. Him going to McDonald's, which absolutely melted down the left. Absolutely. To the point where papers were having to come out to tell lefties that, he didn't actually get hired at McDonald's and work there. He had to he closed it down to do his little thing. As if people didn't know that. That's how stupid people on the left are.
Well, the campaign surely didn't say it. They surely wanted you to believe something else. Trump's campaign.
They wanted you to believe that the guy literally worked at McDonald's. That's what you think.
Yeah, that he'd been hired from McDonald's for a day to fucking.
He didn't get hired. Nobody believed that he. Nobody actually believed.
Come on, I can go on. Come on.
How dumb do you have to be to actually believe that this? What do you think he did? He filled out an application? Are you kidding me?
No, it's McDonald's. No, but I can tell you right now, people absolutely are going like, "Oh, it's the Kamala campaign has come up with this conspiracy that." It was all staged and stuff, which we all know it was. But even his fucking supporters don't believe that it was. That's how bad it is. I mean, this dude is so fucking deranged that, the common sense people like me and everybody else. And
that was purposely done.
It was staged. Yeah, absolutely. But guess what?
Let's call it what it is. It was the biggest troll that you could possibly do.
Into that, like, it wasn't staged. Those were real people. Blah blah.
Nobody said that. Not one person.
There are a bunch of people.
Show me one who said that was actually real.
Bunch.
If you could find somebody, I'll believe you then. You can search while we're talking about it.
I've seen it on Twitter.
There's nobody saying that was 100% real. If they are, then they're a fucking bot, and they're not to even be listened to.
They do.
Nobody's
They
saying
believe
that.
it's the same people that are indoctrinated by Trump. It's the same people that go, he won in 2020. It's the same people that go, he's fucking not a convicted criminal. It's the same
No,
people that go like all
no.
these other. Yes, absolutely. They
I am
are.
vigorously disagreeing with you.
I
Nobody
see them
believes that this guy worked
every
at McDonald's.
day.
Nobody. Nobody.
Absolutely, there.
I'll tell you what nobody believes. Nobody believes that she worked at McDonald's. That's what it is.
Which again is like fucking ridiculous to me. Like we're bringing
How
this
is that
the most
ridiculous?
ridiculous
Somebody
shit.
is trying to
Why are-
use, because that's all they're doing is trying to seem relatable. I worked the fries at McDonald's. No, dude, no, no, please. It's the same with the collard green story. I'm making collard greens in my bathtub. Nobody
Okay.
gives a shit, and
No,
people see
that's just
through
something
that.
disgusting that black people do. And no offense to black people, this I don't cook in the
Wow.
bathtub.
Wow. Hang on
I,
now. You're
listen,
making disparaging remarks here. You must think all black people are disgusting and cook their collard greens in the
no, they
bathtub.
don't. But
I
I
think
do
you
know.
just fell out of a
There's
coconut tree.
I know there's a
Yeah.
very specific group of Southern that that does what they
Yeah.
do. That's all fine.
Listen,
I wouldn't eat it, but
listen, the first couple weeks people bought her middle class bullshit. Nobody is buying it now except for the people that are already voting for her. There's no undecided that's listening to her talk
I
about
think no. I
how do
think
you
she was a
plan to
part
fix
of the middle class. She's
Kamala. No,
obviously
she isn't.
changed. Now,
No, she isn't.
now
She
this
never
is what
was.
you can't. She was a part of the middle class. You
No, she
can't tell
wasn't.
me that you haven't changed from becoming part of the higher class. I'm
No, I'm
sorry,
not saying
everybody
that.
does.
But I'm saying she definitely
You
was not
know,
a middle class person. Both of her
yeah, she
parents
was
were like fucking doctors. They were very well off. That's not middle class. It's
in
not.
California. That doesn't say much. I'm
It
not
doesn't
sorry.
matter if
I'm
it's in
not kidding.
California or anything, but that's still not middle class. That is not middle
In
class.
in
Nobody
California,
cares
that
about that.
actually could make you middle class, even
Kamala,
if
how
you're a
are you going to
doctor.
fix the economy and get people to have more money every week? Well, I grew up in the middle class, and my mother taught me that you gotta have a front lawn, and front lawns are great because we mow them, and people are able to do things like that. And
I do
sorry,
want to.
nobody buys that.
I do want to go through Bradley's comments here since
Let's
he's
go
the
through
only one
Bradley. I know. I see
commenting.
him
I
over
want to
here.
show. I want to show him some love. We got one
He's been
commentator.
over here spamming
He's
comments
he's
for
a
like 10
dedicated
minutes.
viewer. God bless you, Bradley. Thank you. I love you, baby. Uh, let's see here. Trump has done nothing but go on a tirade on the left ever since he lost the election. That alone has turned people off to him.
If
I
that's
think
the
that's what
case,
he said.
then why is he doing so good, and why is this race so close?
I don't
That would be my answer to that. If
see.
people are getting turned,
This is
like
the
there are
other thing.
people that'll get turned off, but then this race shouldn't be close.
If
She should be
the
leading by 20 points.
If the 2016 election taught me anything, I will never trust the polls again. All of these
Not even the polls.
I
Just
don't
looking at common
believe.
consensus from regular people talking. I mean,
I don't believe it's as close as it is. I think Kamala has a pretty strong.
I'll just say white case.
I was about to be. I'll just say white case. I see how it is. Listen, I'm sorry. I had to. But yeah, I think I think Kamala is. I mean, look, I see the Trump supporters. Obviously, you see the Madison Square Garden thing last night. You see certain things. At the same time, I don't see this. I see way much more for Kamala. I'm just, and I'm seeing more.
I don't see how
Right
you're seeing that, sir.
for Kamala. I'm seeing more. Like it's
No, you're seeing every old warmongering Republican run over and say I'm supporting her. Yes.
No,
Yes.
even
Cheney's.
though
Tell me how we're moving forward when you
the fact
got the
that now we're
Cheneys
at a
back in.
point- No, even
Bill
the
Clinton.
fact that we're now at a point that you have evangelicals for Kamala, right? I know Trump made a joke about it, his little thing, but this is not. It's not like you don't realize.
I do realize.
Coming
I
from
look
the-
at all of
the
them.
Christian community, how serious that is, and that it took 8 years to get here. But the fact that you have that is a massive, massive thing, and it's not small either. It's
okay.
all of a sudden, a lot of people. Because here's the thing: for a lot of these 8 years, right, Christians felt that they had to vote this morality and core value things, and it was hard because Trump was just such an asshole, and he's such a user, and he's such and and even Christians that I know see right through it. The using of Christians and the religion, all that type of stuff, and but they still make that excuse that he's better on this and better on that, and now they're starting to go no, honestly, I'll take a shit policy over a guy like this. I'll
Like,
take a
what
policy
the?
I may not agree with, a guy that is manipulative, a guy that has no foundation as a man or morally. He's a wishy-washy, whatever gets me the vote, whatever does all that, I'm sorry.
So
And
I would ask
Christian,
you this then.
I saw a good thing too. Like somebody posted, if last night wasn't a clear statement, the Trump rally wasn't a clear statement as a Christian of either, okay, don't vote at all, or you shouldn't be voting for this guy. I don't know what is. There's nothing about loving your neighbor.
Conservative Christians don't have a sense of humor?
Absolutely, they do. At the same time, where was any of the Christianity last night? Where was any of the loving your neighbor? Where was any of the kindness and respect and morality? And
wait a minute. So the 20,000 people that filled Madison Square Garden for a Republican candidate, which hasn't been done in I don't know, 40 years. That's not showing togetherness, loving thy neighbor when you have a whole mix of people there. Are you under the assumption that it was 100% white there?
Other ethnicities, and
they laughed at
every
and whatever they made fun of,
other beliefs and doing all that.
Yes.
No,
what's wrong with that? How is it?
I'll be honest. And every single Democratic thing has been more loving and more together and more than all of that. Even with their little jabs at Trump here and there, they've still been. Let's get together. Don't
the lady last night at her rally who's yelling at a toddler. That's Joy.
Okay, so that's one person that represented. Okay, so the Trump supporter that's doing the same thing or yelling or making a big deal in the streets.
There's zero videos of Trump supporters attacking children. I'll tell you that much.
The Trump supporters being annoying and going around on YouTube, fucking sticking the yard signs in people's yards and people telling them to get off the yard, and they're going, "Oh, move it to the left. Oh, do this, okay,
wait,
it's annoying on both
you're
sides.
You're talking about the guy that was going around putting Harris wall signs on Trump supporters' lawns.
You have trolls on both sides, and it's dumb.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not supporting her. I'm not supporting the people on the right that are doing the same exact fucking thing.
Again, you're making this grand assumption that it's just a place that was filled with disparageable people who hate
not. I have said
yes, you are.
Yes, you are. Again,
because you said on the stream you said that the half of the people that laughed at the Puerto Rico joke feel that way about Puerto Ricans. That was your assessment.
Yes, a part. Okay, and that's my bad. Not a half. A part of those people do actually feel those.
How do you know?
Feel that way.
I
don't know what portion. I don't know what majority of the people.
We agreed on the fact that nobody even knew about this until it was brought up yesterday. So if that's how they feel, how could they feel about that if they didn't even know about it?
Absolutely, a portion of those people. Now, and I'm not talking about the campaign. A portion of the audience.
Yeah.
Maybe not half of the people that laughed or that entire half, but a portion of that people that laughed. They took that seriously.
In Blue New York, you're telling me that a portion of the people feel that way. It makes no sense. No, it makes no sense.
Absolutely.
You can't say that.
I do want to bring up Rosales too, because Rosales is commenting.
That's fine. So while you're bringing it up, let me ask: is it fair to say
do you care that Beyonce? Oh, okay. He's got another one. Do you care that the dossier was all BS? Dossier. Which dossier? Dossier.
Steele dossier. Russia.
What are you referring to in dossier?
He's referring to the Russia. The Steele dossier was the Democrats saying that the Russian had information on him. That was like remember the piss tape when they said that they had a tape of Donald Trump getting peed on, and it went on for 2 months. Yeah. So that was bullshit. The fact that he was a Russian asset was bullshit. That's what the Steele dossier was. They had a dossier about all these things that he has committed with Russia.
Yes, I said that earlier. That got
he did say it was bullshit.
Yeah. That was all that. Yeah, that was. I don't go for any of that stuff. Let's see. Do you care that Beyonce didn't sing?
I care
I'm
that
not-
she didn't sing. I absolutely do. That's twice
I'm-
that they've done that, and that's fucking horrible. And that's why people definitely
Well-
walked out of that show when she got on stage, because listen, people do get pissed about that, and that
I'll
will
say
turn
this.
people off for you. And guess what?
Hey, Bruce Springsteen's saying, all right, if that's not enough for you,
And that was terrible. Oh, he. I don't know
stop
why.
it.
Why it was. I don't care that he's the boss. He sounded like shit. You
Now
watch
this is
that.
getting pretty-
Wait, you're gonna tell me he sounded good?
Now you're just. This
She
is
might
all
she might
because
as
of
well have got
Kamala.
fucking Frankie
I don't
Valli
wanna
up there
hear
at
it.
98 years old to
I-
fucking sing.
We're ending this, ladies and gentlemen. That's the end of it. No, I'm kidding.
Listen, it was a bad performance by
It
him.
was,
I don't think
you know
that
what
was
I
his
loved?
best there.
It wasn't the politics that took it too far in our friendship.
Yeah,
It
it's
was
really
what
this fucking
you
Bruce
said
Springsteen.
about Bruce Springsteen.
Look, even Obama snubbed Bruce Springsteen. Okay, to the point where people on Twitter were like, "Come on, dude, how are you not going to shake this man's hand?"
Listen, Bruce Springsteen is the boss. He's the GOAT. I don't care who he supports. I don't care what he does. The man is.
He must have went to a Diddy party or two. That's why. He's
Oh,
coming out.
stop it!
Just wait for these lists to come out. We'll see all these celebrities that.
You're just trying to rile me up.
Why do you think De Niro's always talking about the fact that Trump's going to put him away if he wins? That's because he went to the Diddy parties in Epstein's Island and he knows it.
See, okay, and then when Tony made his little Diddy joke, everybody went wild for the Diddy joke. So
Yeah.
I mean, okay. So I did want to let's see,
Because that was a good joke and it was very true.
Do you care the Beyonce? First of all, I don't really like Beyonce that much, so yeah. The second thing is
touch on that a little bit.
Absolutely hate on both sides. Both sides. The whole bringing celebrities to the things, like sure the Democrats have the bigger ones. I hate it on that side. I criticize it on them. I hate it on the Republican side that fucking Hulk Hogan and Dr. Phil and all these fucking other idiots are coming out there talking out of their asses.
Yeah, but you know what? You know what the big difference is? None of them were fucking. I believe none of them were promoed for this event. I believe these were all surprises. Dana White, Hulk Hogan, whoever else showed up to speak were all surprises. I think the only person that was billed was him, and I don't think Tucker was billed.
Well, nobody was billed at the Dems besides I think Bruce and a couple others. But listen,
and
at the same time,
Beyonce.
this was both of theirs. It was Kamala's and Trump's. It was these are kind of.
They call this like the closing statement.
Yeah, the last remarks, your final remarks. The week out, and all these
your final remarks. Yep.
Yeah, your final remark. So you're gonna pull out all this stuff. I didn't have to see the fucking sign to tell you. Yeah, Tucker's gonna be there. Dana's gonna be there. Now Phil was a little bit of a surprise.
Yeah,
but and he was.
My
point
point being this: he didn't need to advertise them to fill 20,000 seats plus the thousands more that waited outside and watched outside like it was a fucking hockey playoff game that people couldn't
What
get
Trump
into.
claims was 200,000.
I'm not. Listen,
mind
tickets.
You, MSG
I'm not going to say that.
20,000. So that means 180,000 people were waiting outside.
No. He said, I believe he said that 200,000 people tried to get tickets. Which that's fine. I'm not going to go with that. I will give him half of that. I'll believe half. I'll say 100. Now, if that's the case, and I said this when into our Discord, if that is the actual case, if 100,000 people came out to try and get tickets to this event, 20,000 were in, X amount of thousand were outside in Blue, New York, a Republican would never do this, and a Republican has never done this. You have to. This is what really should be the talk about of the news cycle today. That a Republican has gone into a Democratic place like that to the biggest stage in that city, and filled it with no problem, without an issue. That is a tremendous achievement, and that's really what the news cycle should have been about today. Is that holy shit? Look at what he did, because that is unheard of. I told you this before when he announced that he was going here, and when he announced that he was going to fucking California. I'm not going to sit here and say that New York is going to flip red. I'm definitely not going to say California is. But there is a movement.
that blocked residents of my county on the highway, preventing them from voting. Any of the cars threatening them represent all of those people. No, look. I missed the context of that. It was kind of a earlier comment. My bad.
Yeah, go back. I didn't understand that.
There's a lot of stuff I missed. Babe, if you want to give some context to that.
I know, everybody's blasting us. We're just in our own world.
Let's see. Celebs endorsements are so cringe. Agreed.
I agree with that. Yeah, we agree with that. And I even said that they should technically be like somewhat illegal,
right?
In a sense, because I think that it does have influence on people. Because if Taylor Swift says, "Well, you need to vote for,"
same with Elon Musk. That's a lot of influence.
Sure, it is. It is a lot of influence, and I think that. I mean, I'd say the same thing for him if he's not officially a part.
That was in context to the dumb bitch screaming at the kid.
Oh. She screamed at him, "I don't give a fuck if your dad is so and so." Like, the stroller was literally just sitting there. I doubt he was blocking her from anything. It was so bad that even another Democrat had to tell her not to do that. That's how bad it was.
Fuck
That's
those
how
kids.
bad it was. It was a 2-year-old kid. It was a kid sitting in a stroller, and instead of yelling at the guy that she's arguing with,
you know what? The kid deserved it. The kid deserved it.
I guess.
He was crying. It was at a rally.
I don't even think he was crying. He was just kind of sitting there minding his own business.
You know what? Maybe it was giving her the stink eye or some shit. I would have done the same shit. Let me tell you something. I'm with Bill Maher. I hate kids. But I do want to answer this real quick.
Yes.
Austin, if they don't speak for you, then why does Kill Tony speak for Trump? Look, I'm not saying he does, and all that. But again, when you have him come out at a political rally, this isn't the Kill Tony show or anything like that. This is a political rally. You have them come out, make these types of jokes. Don't be surprised when some of your voters or audience may back away after that. And that's why I made a comment in our Discord today where it's like, if he loses because a bunch of Puerto Ricans got pissed off because of this, I'm gonna die laughing. If Tony Hinchcliffe was the guy that fucked up the Trump election, I will lose my fucking shit on the floor. Even though that's a big stretch, it's probably not gonna. But I just, it was a small thought I had in my head for a second. But no, so he doesn't necessarily speak for Trump. And as we saw this morning, the Trump campaign, Vivek Ramaswamy, several people there, said we don't agree with that. We're not with that. Blah blah blah.
And be honest, they also said that it's just a joke and to get the fuck over and stop.
No, Vivek didn't. Vivek straight up said it was a bad joke, and the audience responded in that way. So he straight up said it was a bad joke.
Yeah, and people tell bad jokes, and then you just move on from it. It doesn't mean that it's a real thing.
The Trump campaign had a response that said we don't necessarily agree with the views expressed by the community. And all that. Tony himself had to come out and say, "I love Puerto Rico and vacation there." This was bad all the way around. Not just.
But you yourself said that it was a spur of the moment thing. If it's a spur of the moment thing, you can't.
Bad, dude. It was bad. It was bad.
So it was bad, but it had nothing to do with Trump.
It had nothing to do with him, but you said it at a Trump rally representing Trump to a bunch of Trump supporters.
Okay. Which no one in that crowd got up and left.
Pushback.
You're getting pushback more from the left.
But half the crowd groaned and said, So obviously they weren't happy. Like, I mean,
they
didn't have.
And then the next joke they laughed.
Like you said, he doesn't speak for Trump. But when you're at that campaign, that rally, yeah, I would be surprised too if I were a Trump supporter. I go, why would Trump have him here? Why would he do that? Maybe I won't leave or anything. But again. Now, if I'm Puerto Rican, different story.
See, this is the thing. We're the party of fun. We can take jokes, which is why the dude went to McDonald's to work in the first place, because it's a fucking joke. We get that it's a joke. By the way, you still haven't brought up anybody saying that they believed it on my side. But it's a joke.
Believe what?
We didn't bring up anybody on Twitter saying that they actually believe this dude filled out an application and got a job at fucking McDonald's.
No, I didn't go that far.
I know you didn't say he filled out an app, but you're saying they actually thought, like, oh, he's working there. Everybody knows he didn't.
Once
again, I'm going to attribute Tony's joke to the same thing as I'm going to attribute to McDonald's. It was a stunt to get them on the left talking about that and nothing else. And that's what they're going to do for the rest of the week.
There'll be something else, I promise. They'll get over
I
it.
doubt it. They got nothing else to run on right now, man. She's got nothing. And up until, I'll give it to you, up until that point yesterday, all the momentum's been in his corner.
This is how far it's gone. Let's see. Donald Trump's campaign and followers claim that he was really working at McDonald's and served food.
Who said
The
that?
McDonald's was closed. First of all, the campaign started by never saying that we closed it down and did this for a stunt. They made it look really like, oh, this is real.
So does Kamala when she goes to buy her bag of Doritos. We already talked about it. It's the same thing.
Right, same thing. Yeah, but at the same time, even that was like, okay, she closed the bag, buy a bag of Doritos, not to fucking work there, and make it look like she's serving customers and do all this. Like,
Look,
this is funny. This is off topic, but there was an E. coli outbreak at McDonald's.
yes, I saw that after. See
And
what I
somebody
mean?
said Trump works one day at McDonald's and this happens. Coincidence?
Yeah, that was Pete Buttigieg, I believe, or that was Rachel Maddow there, that Rachel Maddow looking guy, Mark Cuban.
Oh, stop it. See, all right.
Yeah. You're telling me he doesn't look like Rachel Maddow now? The guy
He
looked like a
doesn't
normal person as soon as he comes out for Kamala. Now he's got these Rachel Maddow glasses and her butch
Doesn't
fucking
look
haircuts. Yeah, he does.
He's always had the glasses. He always
Not
wore the glasses off of fucking Shark Tank.
Not that I have a mental illness, fucking Democratic, fucking liberal glasses like Rachel Maddow wears. Yeah, they all look the same. We all know them.
Oh my
Look,
god.
we're at 3:40.
We're going to hit the
12
4 hour.
Oh, God.
Kill Tony opens the door to guilt by association by the left. Yet no one on the left will associate Kamala with her own term as VP.
Exactly. She won't even put herself in that. She doesn't even contribute herself in that. You would have thought she wasn't the VP.
And I agree. Like, she's got to either take some stance there. I've said that before, or either I agree or disagree, blah, blah, blah. I think we more know so based off of, history and stuff that she doesn't agree and stuff. But I think she's trying to remain respectful and do all that type of things. Well, and they're not trying to show the divide, that the Republican Party has. There is a divide in the Republican Party right now. You have your stick with Trump supporters and all that, but you have a lot that at this 8-year mark have gone like, we're not supporting him the second time.
Yeah, because they don't want to lose their jobs.
Not just that. I'm talking normal people, just normal, regular civilians that are going, whether it was January 6th, whether it was other things.
Trump supporters are over the January 6th thing. There's not one that actually really cares. If they do care, they were more Democratic than they were Republican.
There will be die-hard Trump supporters. I mean, you see the interviews. Like, the show does a great job of doing those things of, like, you can ask them anything. If Trump killed somebody, and they're like, yeah. I mean, I believe he did it for the right reasons and all these other things, and you're like, okay.
Yes, because again, I don't need a friend at the White House. I need somebody who's going to be tough on.
I don't need a killer either.
Yes, you do.
I need somebody. No, we don't.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
No.
We need somebody.
Ronald Reagan, JFK. Let's see, Abraham Lincoln.
Mm-hmm. How do you think
Washington, Adams? All these people were.
Don't even bring up the forefathers because those were killers.
Yeah, I should.
Yeah, exactly. Bad example that I'm going to help you out with there.
We're going to pretend that never happened. Continue.
Right now, with the wars going on, I want a fucking killer. I want somebody who's going to tell Putin and put him in his place and say, "Look, I don't know what you're thinking, but time to stop this bullshit." He's going to tell fucking them over in Israel and Palestine, "Look, knock off the fucking bullshit." And I'm telling you, they will, because whether we like him or not, he does project strength, whether it be strength through some sort of, whether it be a threat of force to keep the peace or whatever the fact may be. He was able to do it for 4 years.
Yes, he's talked about that strategy, and we've talked a little bit about on here stuff, but I don't think that is necessarily the right way to do things, to threaten other countries to do that. Certain times, yes, and all that type of thing. But
Hey,
he just
worked with
comes
the
off as
Taliban
doing the
or
yeah,
ISIS.
it worked then and it worked for the time period. But is
Yes,
it going to
until
work
Biden
again?
came in and
It's gonna
fucked
be
up the
like, I'm
pullouts.
sorry, I don't see. I don't know. I don't see this being the right way of doing things.
It is
Sure,
right
it's
now. It is in
tough,
this climate
so
right now.
that,
Yes, we need it. We
but
need
I
it.
don't. I think there's better ways.
There isn't, because she's even said herself that she won't have the sit down with Putin and Zelensky. She's going to see this war through to make sure Ukraine wins. So here we go. Here's another endless war. She already said that she told her and Biden both told Netanyahu not to go into the region that they went into to kill the Hamas leader, which they did, because according to her, she studied the maps and that wouldn't be a good thing for the people around there. Okay? Like it's headbangingly infuriating because she has no idea. She's whether if she wins, it's not going to be her running anything. Nothing. She has no clue what she's doing.
Well, at the same time, neither of them have any proof that they're gonna. I'll take that, because to be
I,
honest,
I got 4 years of proof with
that's
him with
more
his
that's
track
more
record.
honest to me than Trump going. A, first of all, if I were in office, this never would have happened, and
Because
B,
it
when I'm
wouldn't.
in office, I'm gonna fix everything. You're not
We had
telling me
4.
how. You really think you're gonna stop Putin from? He's
Yes,
already in. Okay, he's
he
already in
will.
the middle of this.
He
He's
will.
already has a lot at stake, invested a lot of money, his troops,
Yes,
all these types
and
of things.
not only
What
that,
the
he just
fuck
joined
is Trump
forces
going
with.
to do and come
You
in
know,
and say, hey, pull out, stop, enough? What
he
is he
better
going to
do.
do?
He better do something, because I'll tell you what.
What?
Putin, along with leaders of a lot of other countries, including China and Saudis, just formed a pact together. Now, let's go back to the 3 years where this war has been, or however long this war has been going on, where Biden came out acting all tough, saying we're sanctioning them, they have no allies, nothing's going to happen, they're going to lose. Now we're years later, and these guys are forming a pact with other adversaries of ours. This is an issue that our current government and our current administration isn't taking fucking seriously, because it's all about whatever they're laundering the money for over there. I couldn't tell you, but this is one of the biggest wealth transfers and money laundering schemes probably in the history of our country being around. It is appalling, and she has no clue what to do with that. All she's going to have is she's basically an empty suit. And that's the thing. And that's why people, I think, are so on the fence with her,
Yeah, I think
because they
Biden
know that
is.
she's not.
I think she's not being clear because her policies say different. Her website says different. And
Yes, but
again,
she
I think
doesn't
she's
know
playing
them
the
though,
nice
Austin. That's
game
what's
and all
crazy.
that. No, I think she does. I think she's playing the nice game. Like I said, she doesn't want to make it look
Playing the
like
nice game.
there's
Okay,
in the Democratic Party and all these
but
types
see,
of
that's
things.
that's the thing. People see it though. She doesn't need to
Sure,
say it for people to
sure.
see that there's a rift there. You can tell when Obama's scolding people, when Michelle's scolding people, when Biden and if the lip readings too are talking about how well this isn't having the intended effect we wanted. People could see that shit.
Yeah,
Nobody needs to be, and nobody cares about her being cordial. She doesn't have to throw the guy under the bus and say he was the worst fucking president we ever had. At the same time, she should own up to the mistakes that the administration made.
I do agree.
Period.
Absolutely.
And when she gets posed with questions like, if you could talk to your younger self and give yourself some advice, what it would be, and she just sucks her own dick worse than Trump would, because she has no flaws, she has no problems, she's such a boss, she just keeps going for it, and you're going to change things and you're going to be the first of this kind. Like, dude, be fucking human. When somebody asks you what is one mistake you made in your administration that you would change? Well, not really anything. Are you fucking kidding me? You're just
Yeah,
spitting in the faces of the
I
13
agree.
soldiers that died on your pullout,
Yeah,
the
you need to
illegal
do something
immigrants that have
right.
killed American citizens. This is why she's going to lose, because the undecided voters are seeing that she does not fucking know
Okay.
what
Oh,
she's
this is a
doing or talking about.
good place to end it on. Actually.
Yes, it is, because
What,
I'm getting
so
tired.
before we leave here, all right, official election predictions. Who do you think is going to officially win the election? I know you just said kind of she's going to lose, but I want to hear.
Yes. So my prediction is I think he's going to hit the two. I think actually he's going to get over 300, to be honest. I
Electoral.
think, yes, electoral. I also think that he has right now, as I see it, about a 75% chance of winning both the popular and electoral. He's got a really good chance right now of winning the popular vote because he's polling higher than any Republican has as far as popular vote, which is insane. And again, when you have people telling you to go to these certain territories that you really shouldn't be going to and wasting, which essentially would be a waste of campaign dollars, especially New York City.
He's got Elon's money now. He's good.
Still, but somebody has to be telling him you either have a shot here or you can take a couple points out of an electoral here. I mean, obviously I'm hoping he wins, but I think he will. And I think he's going to win by a bigger margin than people think. I think we're actually closer to 2016 than we are to 2020. Because I see the news cycle flipping that way again. Because everyone wants to say it's such a close race, it's such a close race, and they're also hitting him as hard as they can with they're throwing everything. When you get to the Hitler and we're holding Nazi rallies, this is the last ditch attempt to try and win. And I think it's going to be their downfall because this was the same thing.
He's
that
doing the
happened
same
in
thing.
2016.
She's the end of democracy, and she's.
But here's the thing, though, Austin, that's him, and we know that. We know nothing about her, and you can say she's got her policies on her website, but I'm telling you, she definitely doesn't know them, because if she did, when Anderson Cooper asked her about one, she would have just named one instead of saying, well, I have an 86-page PDF on my website, go look at it. You fucking asshole. It's a direct question. Answer it. How come this guy, you can ask him a direct question, he'll answer it, whether it's bullshit or not, he's still going to give you the answer, and he's going to not sugarcoat it, he's not going to bullshit you, he's just going to tell you flat out.
But you
People
just said
respect
bullshit.
that.
He does bullshit. He does bullshit.
Yeah, sure.
People respect.
And you know what his bullshit is? His bullshit is always an exaggeration, and people don't care that he exaggerates. People don't. People don't. Because you know what? A lot of times, like this Kill Tony joke, it does bring somewhat of an awareness. People are saying, oh, Puerto Rico's full of trash? No, that's not true. And then they look it up and they start reading articles and seeing that, yeah, the fucking island's kind of fucked right now with the position they're in since Hurricane Maria. Okay. People thought there was nothing going on in Springfield, Ohio. This asshole had to stand up on stage and say there's people eating dogs and cats and the pets there. Everybody thought it was crazy.
Yeah,
what happened? Wait, hang on. It brought it. Yes.
Ricans now are saying, like, yeah, okay, sure, we've got this problem, but Trump didn't do anything to help. You guys aren't doing anything to help us. You're fucking, we're doing in this weird situation. Like,
and the people,
it wasn't
think about
the right
the people most
attention
outraged did nothing either. The people who are most outraged about the joke, which is the left.
Sure, well, yes, because of that, and also because, again, kind of like I said, the context, the just weirdness of it. Like, I've seen a lot of people to say, like, the other jokes that agree with me, the other jokes were funny. This one just felt off, weird, out of nowhere. Like,
not every joke is going to hit, and not everybody has to agree with it.
Yeah.
Okay, I think this is a good ending point, to be honest.
This is it.
I'm getting tired.
yeah, I know it's late for you.
This is the longest episode we've ever done.
We have full almost a 4 hour. 350. I'll take 350.
I'll take. I mean, because we're going to be doing the live stream on election night. So if you still hung with us for the 3 hours and 50 minutes,
you better sleep all day for that.
I'll be up all night about that, because I'm telling you, I'll pull an all nighter for that if I have to, because I'm going to watch that so closely, and believe me, the first second any kind of goofy shit goes on, I'm gonna be yelling all over the stream about cease and desist. And here's the thing: he said that, so I'm gonna hold him to that too. If it comes out that he sends some fake electors, or there's a Republican, somebody he knows that was running away with ballot boxes, I'm gonna say, okay, yeah, arrest him and arrest that guy too. I understand it, but I'm all for fair and in whatever elections. But holy shit, I'm babbling. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming. I'm gonna leave it to Austin now because I'm just done.
Yes, again, thank you everybody for watching, for tuning in. To everybody in the comics, Rosales. We might have Rosales back on for election night. Who knows? Who knows what could happen on election night? Anything could happen here.
Yeah. All I know is it's going to be fun. We'll have a good time.
It's going to be a good time. Just like tonight was a good time. Like, even though we disagree and stuff, I love you, bro. And I said,
this is always good. It really is.
I want to understand where you're coming from and stuff, and we may not agree at the end of the day, but we're still cool. We're still bros.
Yes.
There ain't no fucking. We're not gonna let this bullshit.
No, this changes nothing.
If anything, though, you speak bad about Bruce Springsteen on this goddamn podcast again, we'll have submission. No, I'm kidding. But with that, everybody, make sure to tune in next week. State of the Election, live on election night with some special guests, and we'll be having a lot of fun. Check out all the other things on the channel. Check out Stab over on Barris Films. You can find that on YouTube. Barris Films, Barris. Our little short film, again, help us reach 3,000 views. I'm trying to think what else I need to promote or say, but that's all I can think of. We'll close it out with, of course, my favorite clip of the season. With that, everybody, we will see y'all next time. Thank you so much for watching, commenting. Bradley, Cole, Joker, everybody. Appreciate you. Paul, Lindor. We'll see y'all next week.
You call that human rights, China? I call it human wrongs. Kamala, Sundays on TNT.
It's a pick in the studio alone in my feelings again. I swear this microphone know every one of my secrets. I'm speaking too much. Yeah, everybody cope different. Yeah. Maybe I'm doing too much, but I don't give a fuck.